This bishop is one of the most influential figures around. Powerful holy figures in the empire. He reports directly to the Pope and leads exorcism squads. So, how did he just lose a tooth to a milk bottle? He got smacked by a baby, a literal sack of trouble who can barely keep his head up. This kid just smashed a glowing bottle into the bishop's face hard enough to draw blood. 5 minutes later, his crimson eyes light up. He pours everything he's got into a single burst. A blinding column of pure white light suddenly appears, shoots out from his tiny body, hitting the lich with such force that it disintegrates on the spot. Everyone is stunned. A newborn baby just took down a dark lich solo. The onlookers think it's a miracle, holy power awakening in a newborn saint. And the wildest part? This kid was meant to be something special, dead before he even opened his eyes, because just 5 minutes earlier, when this child was born, 2 nannies were assigned to him. Except they're not nannies, they're assassins, and the milk they keep shoving it into his mouth is actually holy poison, a venom meant to destroy divine power and quietly eliminate saint candidates before nobody even notices. They're expecting convulsions and a quiet death to be reported, as if it were natural causes. But instead, the baby downs 1 bottle, then another, and another, 15 bottles in total. This kid isn't dying, just like me if Makema fed me directly. If Makema fed me straight from the source. He's not even uncomfortable. The baby lifts a finger, grins, and demands something stronger, something with more kick. Because this baby isn't just surviving the poison, he's thriving on it. Every drop is turning into raw mana inside him. Instead of killing him, these fools just supercharged him. And the reason this newborn can handle lethal poison and ask for more is simple. The soul inside that baby isn't human. It's the immortal skeleton king, the most feared demon king in history. A legend who waged a one-man war against the gods. He started from the lowest point possible, just a nameless skeleton summoned to a battlefield. No rank, no power. Literally, my guy had no skin in the game. Just bones, a sword, and an endless war. Nobody asked him to fight. Every demon stronger than him tried to take him down, but he evolved from a throwaway soldier into an immortal lich of immense power. An immortal lich with insane power. The heavens tried everything to stop him. It's like something straight out of Clash Royale lore. But when the gods who summoned him backed out on their promise to make him human again, he didn't plead. He declared war on heaven. In a panic, they used a holy relic to trap his soul. His response? He gathered every bit of destructive energy he had and blew himself up inside their temple. Classic Middle East move, pure Osama vibes. His last words to the gods? Eat shit, you bastards. The explosion wiped out a whole section of the divine realm. The gods were too stunned and terrified when they tried sealing him, and my guy's soul slipped right through and ended up in a newborn body. But that fierce, his unbreakable will to survive didn't just start yesterday. Clash Royale Arena. Before towers and zaps, Kin was just a dude, a regular, worn-out human who spent his whole life grinding like a machine with nothing to show for it. Kind of like me writing this recap right now. But then one day, 2 things happened. He won the lottery, and on the same day, a doctor told him he had just a few days left to live. There's this disease so rare, they were thinking of naming it after him. Imagine your neck swelling up like a mushroom, but it never gets any tougher. Just a total waste of potential. He stood in the rain, clutching a jackpot ticket that was worthless. He pleaded with the universe to save him. The universe responded by turning him into a skeleton on a demon battlefield. And all that anger, all that experience, all that power now resides in a newborn baby. And guess what? The only family in the world that trains daily to kill him. Meet the Ashwa family, the saintist bloodline. He's their heir, their prized saint candidate in a mansion where knights practice by stabbing skeleton king dummies every morning. He's surrounded by people who would burn him alive if they knew his true identity. Meanwhile, the bishop is bleeding and humiliated. Emperor Alexander is impressed by the boy's platinum hair, just like the empire's legendary founder. This baby is starting to look like a genuine saint. That's precisely what the bishop can't let happen. He was sent by the Barrett family, who have controlled the papacy for generations. They've already chosen their own saint, so every other candidate needs to disappear. Every other candidate has to disappear. Isaac was supposed to be the easiest target. So, the bishop goes all out. He declares he senses demonic energy from the kid and demands an exorcist. And he's not totally off. Isaac leaked a tiny bit of undigested mana. Just a small slip, but the bishop caught it. The emperor shuts him down, refusing to investigate a saint candidate from an allied house. But then Isaac does the unthinkable. His tiny hand reaches out, touches the bishop's chest, and pulls out something for all to see. A bandage-wrapped demonic hand with a golden rosary. It's the bishop's totem, a sealed high-level demon corpse. He's been secretly using it to absorb dark energy. A holy man of the empire walking around with a demon artifact on him. The bishop turns pale, sweating bullets. How does a baby know about my totem? Isaac doesn't give him a chance to think. He snaps his tiny fingers, and pitch-black energy bursts out. The sealed demon roars to life, as a colossal shadow lich appears in the middle of the holy temple. Guards scramble, priests scream. Emperor Alexander turns on the bishop with murder in his eyes. The bishop screams that the child is the one who threw it. But no one pays attention. A guard grabs Isaac. He starts running, but the lich locks eyes on the baby. With terrifying focus, it charges forward. It blasts right through the defensive line. Not to attack, but to save him. This lich knows its master. Knights are tossed aside like ragdolls. The lich is yelling about rescuing the imprisoned king. The guard dashes through the temple, with a demon missile on his tail. Isaac's mana is almost depleted from the totem trick. He's got one move left. His crimson eyes light up. He pours everything into one massive burst and a blinding column of pure white light erupts. It shoots from his tiny body, slamming into the lich. The force is enough to disintegrate it instantly. The shadow creature screams and burns away in what looks like divine light. Everyone is stunned. A newborn just took down a dark lich solo. Whispers spread through the crowd. They say he really is a saint, but Isaac, he's staring at his hands in shock. That wasn't demonic energy. His body turned his mana into real holy power. The white core he formed is an anomaly he can't explain. Suddenly, he had a chilling realization. Oh no, I'm out of mana! A terrifying thought crossed his mind. Is this body turning my mana into holy power? Meanwhile, the captured bishop was freaking out, yelling in panic. Let me go, you idiots! He pointed at the child, accusing. That baby is a heretic! How dare you bring him into the holy nation? He pleaded with the emperor. Your Majesty, I can prove it. I'll expose him with an exorcism. Emperor Alexander cut him off sharply. Enough, bishop. You dare accuse a saint candidate? His gaze was as sharp as a blade. I won't let this slide, even if you're from the Holy See. Trapped, the bishop gritted his teeth. If the emperor suspects something, they'll soon find the intruder. Kneeling, he thought desperately. Even if I die, I must save my family. The bishop's eyes gleamed with malice. At the very least, I have to eliminate the Ashwa family's saint candidate. Suddenly, a massive golden wolf spirit beast appeared with a roar. It charged directly at the emperor and the baby. Emperor Alexander growled. This bastard's finally showing his true colors. Does he really think he can take me down with this? Isaac thought to himself, scoffing. He geared up for a counterattack, but then reality hit him hard. He was completely out of mana. Out of nowhere, a surge of icy blue energy sliced through the air. The wolf beast let out a painful roar before being instantly subdued by this mysterious force. An icy voice rang out, demanding, "Who dares to harm a direct descendant of Ashwa?" A dignified figure emerged from the mist, robes billowing around them. Blue faith? The emperor exclaimed. It's the Ashwa Knights! A silver-haired man stepped forward. His aura was overpowering. It was Relai Ashwa, the seventh son of the Ashwa family. Without missing a beat, he pointed at the attacker and ordered, "Execute the bishop immediately." A soldier grabbed Isaac from the bishop. The baby struggled, protesting. "Let me go! Don't touch me with Ashwa's filthy hands!" Then he paused, realizing who it was. Relai Ashwa took the child and sternly said, "Behave yourself." The Ashwa Knights knelt in unison, shouting, "Greetings, young master!" Relai turned to Isaac, his expression softening a bit. "Sorry for being late, Isaac," he smiled and said. "It's not much, but we brought you a little gift." A knight eagerly presented something, saying, "This is..." It was a model of the beheaded skeleton king. Isaac was left speechless as more surprises followed. The skeleton king was burned alive. Then, the saintess crushed him. The knight, thinking the baby's shocked expression was delight, gushed. "So cute! He loves it so much he's crying," the knight said, while Isaac internally screamed. "How am I going to survive this?" In the adult's arms, Isaac sighed. "How will I survive this crazy family?" Then it hit him. Wait, Ashwa? Memories came rushing back. The 45th generation saintess, no Ashwa. The 61st ox, Ashwa. Every sworn enemy had that name. Damn it, did I reincarnate into the saintess family? What kind of karma is this? While Isaac cursed his fate, the cornered bishop shouted, "Heretics! Where did you get that creature?" He pointed at Isaac. "I'll reveal its identity. The Ashwa family is insane. It will be their end." Relia's sword gleamed. A swift, cold stroke silenced the bishop for good. Relia sheathed his blade, looking at the body. "Be thankful for Ashwa's mercy that I left your head attached," Isaac thought. "This guy's got guts." A knight quickly covered Isaac's ears. "Young master should only hear good things," he began. Humming a creepy nursery rhyme to calm the kid, Isaac glanced at the skeleton toy. The Ashwa family might be a bunch of lunatics, but they're seriously powerful. Meanwhile, Emperor Alexander walked over, saying he owed the boy a favor and looked straight at Relai. "Tell your family head that the Imperial Palace wants to raise this child," he declared. Relai was shocked. "Your Majesty, you must be joking," he stammered. Isaac, on the other hand, was thrilled. "Am I really being recruited by the Imperial Palace?" he thought. Alexander explained. "The Holy Nation will target the boy. Can the current blue faith protect him? The Pope will be against him just because of his hair color." The Emperor's face turned serious. "Plus, the Skeleton King seems to be after him." Isaac was stunned. "Wait, I'm the Skeleton King? Why would I be hunting myself?" An official cut in. "Your Majesty, the child has Ashwa blood. He should be raised by the Ashwa family." Relai took Isaac and said, "Whether it's the Pope or the Skeleton King, Ashwa can handle it." The Emperor smirked. Saintess Melissa would love to meet the Skeleton King again. Isaac froze. The name Melissa hit him like a ton of bricks. She was the craziest and most formidable enemy he'd ever faced. The harsh truth hit like a ton of bricks. "I'm Melissa's direct descendant. Why is my life such a mess?" Saintesses were like divine weapons meant to destroy him. He never harmed them, but killing one just brought forth a stronger successor. And now, the worst of them all was his ancestor. Relai smiled, clueless that the child he held was the sworn enemy of his family. Emperor Alexander observed quietly as Relai vouched for the Ashwa family's prowess. A young knight chimed in, talking about the martyred saintesses. Isaac internally screamed, denying the baseless rumors. "It's all right." Relai reassured him gently. But Isaac was far from all right. Relai lifted the boy high, saying, "We're grateful you were born. We have just one wish. Don't grow up to be like that awful Skeleton King." A blessing that felt more like a dagger. Memories of his brutal past haunted him. "I'm sorry for being a bad person," he thought. Alexander pushed the negotiation forward. The boy is a valuable asset against the rising demon threat. Plus, Ashwa has no saintess. He delivered the final blow. The boy's mother vanished a year ago. It hit Isaac like lightning. My mother is a saintess. Relai countered, saying the matriarch is still alive and Lady Melissa will be back soon. Isaac was shocked. She survived. His worst enemy was still alive. Fear gripped him. He knew better than anyone how dangerous Melissa could be. To survive, the little hand made a bold move and grabbed the Emperor's finger. Isaac put on his best act, blinking adorably. Please take me with you, he pleaded. Alexander was charmed. See? The boy wants to go to the Imperial Palace. He's just latching onto people. Relai argued. House Ashwa produces saintesses. Alexander shot back. But you're newbies at raising a saint. He's the first saint. You guys don't have any experience either. The debate turned into a childish tug-of-war. The young master will be torn in half. The subordinates cried. I want to go to the palace. Isaac panicked. I don't want to die. Then, he sensed it. A warm light flowed from the Emperor, the essence of life. This was the true path to survival. The Emperor smiled, saying, a wise choice. But suddenly, a chill crept into Isaac's heart. Meanwhile, a disgraced bishop knelt, pleading, I'm innocent. That thing used mana. It's a demonic creation. An icy voice rang out, questioning if the gods really gave divine power to a demon. But it was mana, the Holy Sea's language. The mysterious leader's sword gleamed in the light. Blood sprayed everywhere. What blasphemy. The cardinal cleaned his blade, saying there's no need for a new squad. The Emperor will take the child, and they plan to strike the Imperial Palace. Back in his crib, Isaac felt a chill, sensing danger. He thought, I won't make it in the palace. He remembered a negotiation from a few days ago. Relai had played his ace against the Emperor. The most valuable thing they had was the Skeleton King's body. My body? You have it? Relai reached out his hand. Isaac pointed firmly at him, babbling, Jiega, let's head to Ashwa. The iron-willed man softened. In the carriage, Isaac came to terms with his situation. He thought, I left the palace behind. But he knew he needed to get back his old body, one strong enough to challenge the gods. Why is the Holy See after him? A knight asked, and Relai spilled the beans. A prophecy said the saint would be adopted as a god's child, leaving Isaac stunned. What the heck? If the saint became the Pope King of Priests, he'd be a match for the Emperor. The Barrett family, who had a tight grip on the papacy, found themselves in danger. Out of nowhere, the carriage came to a halt. Young Master Relai, we've got a situation, someone announced. Guards were blocking the city gate, refusing entry into the duchy. Relai was furious, demanding, don't you recognize the Ashwa emblem? The guard just smirked as darkness began to swirl around. Suddenly, demons appeared out of nowhere. Isaac was shocked, exclaiming, demons? I specifically banned attacks on human lands. A demon general bellowed. Our king has decreed the death of all saints, under the command of the great skeleton king, Lord Isaac. Isaac was outraged. When did I ever say that, you idiots? A bolt of blue lightning struck and destroyed a demon. The general shouted back, you vile holy knight! Relai's gaze was as sharp as daggers. How dare you spout such lies in front of Ashwa, the exorcist? Holy light gathered on his sword, declaring that Ashwa would wipe out all evil. He scoffed. A cowardly skeleton king, sending minions to their doom. Don't you dare insult Lord Isaac, someone warned. The demons shrieked. For the resurrection! An explosion sent a knight flying backward. Clutching Isaac tightly, he whispered, forgive me. He dashed into the forest, placing Isaac inside a glowing magic circle. A protective barrier? He wondered. Isaac touched it, realizing, this is high-level magic. But he knew, if nothing can enter, nothing can leave either. He shut his eyes and invoked, unlock magic, answer my call. Whisper of the observer. A shadowy figure with glowing red eyes appeared. Ah, great lord, it said. In a hushed tone, it continued, it's been a while. I never thought I'd see you again, it admitted. Congrats on taking over a baby's body. That's pretty dark, it added. Enough talk. Find 88. The command was given. Demons, Whisper reported, but the message was jumbled. But their numbers are dropping fast. Down to 51, then 31. Relai and his knights were taking them out one by one. Suddenly, a burst of purple energy wiped out the rest of the demons. No more enemies, Whisper confirmed. Detected. A shadow lich, it announced. A massive shadow appeared, roaring. You dare threaten my king? Prepare to pay with your lives. What's up with this guy? Isaac thought, panicking. My king, my only master, trapped in a mere child? The lich lamented. The lich's loyalty was seriously twisted. Don't you dare look at him with those filthy eyes, it warned. Damn, it recognized me, Isaac realized. Relai gave the order. Prepare for battle. Isaac, in a panic, tried to command the lich. Gaga, don't touch my food. The knight misread the situation, sensing the baby's mana. Please be patient, young master. We'll handle this. The lich, thrilled to be acknowledged, roared. I will come to your side, my master. It zipped past the knights. Relai froze, realizing its target. That creature is heading straight for Isaac. The lich yelled at the knights. You filthy holy knights! How dare you imprison my master? Kim Yusak smirked, knowing he had its full attention. I can't let my mana reserve be destroyed, he muttered, then commanded. Break it. The lich instantly obeyed, replying, Yes, master. It swung its shadowy scythe, and with a mighty roar, shattered the magical barrier. The knights cried out in despair as their young master's protective shield crumbled. Kim Yusak patted his subordinate, saying, Well done. Now stop causing trouble and take a break. The lich froze, utterly baffled. And master? Yusak unleashed his power, forcing the lich to shrink. It screamed in desperation. Why? Before disappearing. Relai stood there, completely stunned. Did the boy just turn a demon into a totem? He wondered, looking at the infant next to the petrified demonic hand. A knight exclaimed. He neutralized the demon instantly. Isn't the boy incredible? The entire Azure Knight squad burst into cheers. Yusak thought. I didn't use holy magic. That was just regular magic. Relai remained doubtful, but the knight commander picked up the child, saying, in times of crisis, true nature reveals itself. The demon felt threatened by the young master. He is definitely a Relai. He concluded. I had to admit, whether he's a saint or not, this guy is something else. Truly special. He gritted his teeth, thinking, why does it have to be a boy? The curse of the Skeleton King loomed in his thoughts. Relai clenched his fist. I've made my choice, he declared. The commander saluted, pledging, as the leader of the Azure Knights, I vow to protect young Master Isaac, the future of the Ashwa family. I get it now, Relai murmured. I've been foolish, letting fear of the curse control me. This kid is going to elevate our family. He picked up Yusak with a bright smile. Let's head home, Isaac. As your uncle, I'll make sure you become a great holy knight. Just give me back my body, Yusak thought. Relai, excited, added, once we're home, the first thing I'll teach you is how to curse the Skeleton King. Yusak stiffened. Screw this family. The carriage rolled into the Ashwa ducal manor. Lavish statues and perfectly manicured gardens flaunted immense wealth. Even Yusak, a former king, was impressed. Wow. Anger bubbled up as he remembered his own rough past, starving to keep his people fed. Whisper appeared, gawking at the luxury. Yusak grumbled for it to shut up. Relai carried the boy inside the mansion. This was the birthplace of continental exorcism magic. He pointed over to the training ground. Knights were going wild, attacking a Skeleton King dummy like their lives depended on it. They were yelling with pure rage, stabbing it with their spears. Relai looked pretty pleased, but Yusak was freaked out. It's like some kind of crazy cult. Whisper couldn't resist teasing him, but Yusak just told it to go scout with a cold tone. The shadowy figure disappeared and came back looking shocked. The mansion was decked out with thousands of mana cores. The carriage came to a halt. The butler stepped up, blocking the path. Young Master Isaac was to head to the annex, as per Master Goel's orders. He wasn't allowed in the main building. Relai held the child even closer. You really want to send him to that creepy old place? Whisper pointed out the mana cores were in that annex. Isaac was internally screaming. No, I have to go there. Move aside. Relai growled. I'm not letting my nephew stay in that place. Isaac wondered if they were trying to exorcise him, as Relai promised to read him stories about the Saintess defeating the Skeleton King. You picked up a dirty bug, and now it's causing chaos? Goel Ashwa, the fifth son, sneered down from the balcony. Long time no see. Already going against your older brother? What a jerk. Isaac thought. Put that thing down. Goel commanded. Send it to the annex. Are you serious? Relai snapped. He's direct lineage. Sending him there is basically exile. Ha, you brought back something dirtier than the Skeleton King, and you talk about lineage? Goel pinched Isaac's cheek. Isaac wondered. Is this guy a priest or a thug? Relai pulled Isaac back. You just want him out of the succession race. Out? Isaac gritted his teeth. That's it. I need to drain this mansion dry. He's already cursed. Goel chuckled. Demons show up just to take him. A knight retorted. That's because he has the divine power of a saint. Touching. Goel scoffed. If he's a saint, let him prove it. He pointed to a distant, withered gray tree. Save the family symbol. That divine tree died from demonic infection. If he has the aptitude, he can revive it. Are you insane? Relai shouted. That tree's been dead for 70 years. Good heavens, Melissa. Goel thought. Your descendants are. Isaac flinched hearing the thought. He sensed the demonic residue at the tree's roots. Can't you see it? He mentally screamed at Whisper. Go grab it. He hurled Whisper at the tree. Relai kept on arguing. He paused, considering asking a kid to do it. The dead branches started turning green. A brilliant light burst forth as the divine tree sprang back to life. It was revived. Relai gasped, and Goel was stunned. No way, he thought. Even top-tier purification didn't work. No big deal, Isaac thought with a smirk. I just got rid of the demonic residue. Whisper let out a satisfied burp. The knights were curious. Young Master Relai, what happened? One asked. I didn't do anything, Relai replied. Relai glanced at the baby in his arms. Ugh, that was perfectly good mana wasted, Isaac lamented. Incredible. Young Master Isaac pulled it off. The knights cheered while Goel regained his composure. Don't be absurd. Relai, you must have done something, Goel insisted. You're using the Saintess's power to support that failure. What? Relai's anger hit its peak. This family is falling apart, Isaac observed. Goel doesn't resemble Melissa, but Relai is like a male version of her. Half-brothers? Hold on. Goel looks like the Pope. Do you think I don't know you brought him here as a Saintess candidate? Goel challenged. He's just a half-breed brought in by a deserter. Wait. Goel looks like the Pope. Do you think I don't know you brought him here as a Saintess candidate? Goel pressed. He's just a half-breed brought in by a deserter. He leaned in and whispered to Relai, questioning if the guy was really one of them. Relai snapped back, not having it. Then, he threw a brutal punch right at his brother's face. Isaac watched the chaos unfold, amused. A divided family is easier to take down. The meeting hall was filled with tension and bad vibes. Isaac sat on the table, thinking how annoying this all was. Hina Ashwa, the temporary leader, shot a fierce look at Relai. She demanded to know why Relai brought him here. Goel, rubbing his sore jaw, stood up for his mom, saying the guy had no right to be there. Relai cut in coldly. asking where the family head was. Hina simply replied that he was out. Suddenly, an old butler rushed in, announcing that young Master Isaac had revived the divine tree. Goel shouted that it was just a coincidence. He claimed it was the result of the family's prayers finally being answered. Hina smirked, saying there was no proof. Did they really want proof? Isaac stretched out his small hand. Boom! A whirlwind of raw power blasted through the room, pushing the elders back. An elder gasped, recognizing the energy. Yesek internally roared, masking the demonic power as divine light, saying it was the energy of the divine tree. It looked like Isaac had tapped into the tree's power instinctively, Relai announced. He did what the family hadn't managed in 70 years. Goel slammed the table, calling it nonsense. He warned that if this got out, they'd be ridiculed. After all, Isaac was just the son of a beggar. Yesek absent-mindedly picked at his ear, looking bored out of his mind. Relai placed a hand on his chest and declared, "Elders, this kid is destined to be a saint. He might even rise to become the Pope," he added. Then, lifting Yesek high, he proclaimed, "And one day, he'll defeat the Skeleton King." Yesek froze, panicked. "I take it back. Put me down." Henna's eyes sparkled with mischief. "You're digging your own grave, Relai. If you're so confident, let's put the boy to the test," she challenged. "I request access to the Vault of Holy Artifacts," she demanded. Meanwhile, in the Black Forest, Eliashua slid his sword back into its sheath. "Family head," a knight reported. "The vice family head is asking for access to the vault. She wants to see if the boy is truly a saint." "Why is there talk of a saint in my house?" Eli frowned. "Denied. That place is deadly for anyone who isn't a candidate. Let them try." A commanding voice resonated. Matriarch Melissa Ashwa appeared. "It's Isaac, right? To save the divine tree? A promising young one," she mused. "Madam, open it for all the candidates." Melissa smiled with a hint of danger. "With the greatest holy artifact, we can finally take down the Skeleton King. Whoever retrieves it gets everything. I'll personally teach them the secret techniques. The Ashwa Vault, a treasure trove of ancient power and a resting place for those who failed. Think you can make it back in one piece?" Whisper teased him. Yusak felt a rush of excitement. "They say my old body is in there," he thought. "I'm getting it back." "The matriarch has opened the vault to everyone," a young knight informed Yusak. "But I believe you'll come out on top, young master," he added. "The more, the merrier." Yusak grinned. "Chaos is the perfect distraction." Relai showed up with a serious look. "Be careful, Isaac. Demons captured during the war guard the vault." "Demons? Rank 6 at most?" Yusak calculated quickly. A little intimidation should work, he thought. But Relai added, "There's a rank 8 demon, and a rank 9 dragon." Relai continued. Yusak was stunned. "The Ishwa family is nuts. Who puts a dragon in a nursery?" Whisper tried to reassure him. "With your dragon knowledge." But then Whisper stopped abruptly. Kim Yusak shivered. Damn it. Dragons are a whole different beast. He remembered tricking 70 fierce dragons once. Now, he feared his soul might be recognized, but Whisper saw a chance. Yusak needed to act fast. He calculated his options. The vault has rank 8 demons and a rank 9 dragon. I can only handle rank 6. A daring plan took shape. Sneak into the Ashwa Annex vault and swipe the mana cores. The vault's got rank 8 demons and a rank 9 dragon. I can only handle rank 6. A daring plan emerged. Sneak into the Ashwa Annex vault and swipe the mana cores. The imposing door to the repository loomed in front of him. Yusak and Whisper snuck in, snagging an ancient book. Whisper asked, "Master, are you okay?" Yusak was stunned, eyes locked on the title, Holy Arts. 10 Ways to Disintegrate the Skeleton King. He looked like he was about to be exorcised. "Damn it, you should have taught me holy power first," he screamed internally, thinking of mind control, but Whisper shot it down. "Do you want to ruin the family?" Yusak sighed. "I can't get this just from theory." Suddenly, a warm hand lifted him up. "You look exhausted." Relly Ashwa was holding the kid. As Relly carried him off, a knight picked up the book they left behind. Relly placed a hand on Yusak's forehead, just a simple touch, but a rush of holy power flowed out. "Oh, a holy art." From his crib, Yusak cheered. "Amazing. Do a few more attack moves, uncle." He quickly calculated. He couldn't let them linger. The vault was still the goal. He flopped down, pretending to be asleep. "What a wonderful child." Relly praised, totally fooled. As they turned to leave, Whisper scoffed at their gullibility. But then, Relly commanded, "This totem is dangerous. You keep it." Yusak froze in place. He watched in despair as the knight took his prized creation. His mana source was gone, but he quickly regrouped. Time to focus on those mana cores instead. Ignoring Whisper's complaints about his slow pace, he started his escape from the crib. "I've got a plan. Just open the door," Yusak instructed. The door slammed shut, sending Yusak tumbling off the railing and sprawling onto the floor. His uncle had sealed it with holy magic. He wanted to break through, but Whisper warned it would draw unwanted attention. Frustrated, Yusak punched the door in a fit of rage. Magic was too risky, so brute force was his only option. He pushed with all his strength, but nothing happened. "How am I supposed to get out of here?" Suddenly, the door swung open, and Yusak stumbled forward. A boy with a bandaged hand looked down at him with disdain. "Just a kid who can't even walk yet. Is this my competition?" Yusak wondered. Whisper growled, offended. "How dare he insult my master?" Shuri clenched his bandaged hand, thinking there's no way that kid made a totem even a genius like him couldn't create. He remembered Goelishwa testing Yusak with a holy light orb. Shuri was bursting with holy energy, declaring, "I'm going to be the saint. How dare you try to take my spot?" He shouted as Yusak clung to his leg, causing a milk bottle to roll away. Shuri stumbled over it and landed face first on the ground. Yasak chuckled, saying, "Looks like I found my ride. Do you even know who I am?" Shuri yelled, and Yasak suddenly noticed the resemblance. "He's the uncle's kid, and you're using holy power against a baby, you jerk." Yasak lifted the milk bottle. "You deserve a good smack." He hurled it right at Shuri. "Nice throw, master," Whisper praised. "You cocky kid, be my ride," Yasak commanded. Shuri, feeling humiliated, clutched his head and unleashed more power. "You little punk," he said, creating a shield of holy light to block the bottle. Yasak watched with a smirk as Shuri's arrogant voice filled his mind. "Surprised? I'm the only one my age who can pull off level 3 defensive holy magic." Shuri grinned wickedly. "Don't be shocked yet. Holy light!" A massive magic circle lit up beneath him. "Take this." Shuri fired off 2 blinding beams, but Yasak just casually evaluated the attack. "Looks delicious. Thanks for the snack," he said as the light hit an energy wall and disappeared. Shuri stood frozen. His most powerful attack just got absorbed like it was nothing. "What kind of insane defensive magic is this?" he shouted. Yasak just smirked. "Thanks for the entertainment," he said. "No way." Shuri was in disbelief as his energy vanished into thin air. A whisper emerged from Yasak's shadow. "Should I kill him?" the servant asked. "Kill what?" Yasak wondered, realizing he was perfectly fine. Shuri blinked in confusion. "What just happened?" Feeling embarrassed, he snapped back. "If you can't hit me, don't scare me like that." He tried to act cool, but a chilling voice stopped him cold. "You dare?" Shuri's eyes went wide, and he broke out in a cold sweat. A massive shadow creature appeared, roaring, "Attack my king." As Shuri tried to run, it grabbed his leg. "Do you have a death wish?" Shuri fell to the ground, stuttering in fear. Yasak gently patted the monster's hand, then he climbed onto Shuri's shoulder. "What are you doing?" Yasak grinned. "You're my ride now, you fool." "My name is Shuriashwa," he thought, his mind firm even as tears fell. He was meant to be a saint. He had promised himself he'd escape this twisted family and become but that whole plan fell apart when a demon baby turned him into a reluctant ride. Yasak shouted, "To the annex! Move it, or I'll tear you apart!" The shadow warned the human. Trapped and sobbing, Shuri complied. "Just survive for now. Someone, please save me," she thought. Bathed in moonlight, Shuri carried Yasak through the garden, following the baby's wild instructions. "Left! I said left!" Yasak screamed, pointing with authority. "Do you want to die? Go!" To the right spot. He looked up, pale. "Wait, this is the second annex? The haunted house?" Shuri panicked, remembering the master's warnings. "Why here?" Yasak smirked slyly. "Oh my, there must be thousands of spirits here." The old building was thick with magic, built up from years of resentment. "Let's go," Yasak urged. "No, we can't go in there." The shadow reappeared. "Shut up and go, dog." Inside, the abandoned annex was dark and eerie. Shuri's heavy footsteps and sniffles echoed down the corridor. "Messier than I thought," Yasak mused, his crimson eyes scanning for dark energy. He noticed a large sealed door. Whisper appeared. "Master, the entire building is sealed." "Hey, let's go back." Shuri panted, terrified. Yasak responded by yanking his hair. "What now?" Shuri yelled. He stopped in front of a row of old portraits. "Former family heads," Yasak sneered. "You think you can become the family head too? Don't even think about it." "That spot's mine," he declared, smashing something nearby. Yasak smashed his milk bottle right into a portrait, breaking the magical barrier. Shuri cried out as the force of the blast sent him flying back. "The ancestral paintings," Yasak thought. "Then maybe don't put barriers on the paintings." "The barrier's down, master," Whisper confirmed. "I did it," Yasak celebrated, pushing Shuri toward the open passage without letting him catch his breath. "You maniac! You can't just break stuff and run," Shuri shouted as he was pulled toward the Kim. Yasak, full of excitement, dashed into the secret passage and found a room buzzing with magical energy, cheering with delight. Whisper, shut the door. Yasak commanded, ready to claim the room for himself. Shuri hurried after him. "Hey, hold up, what are you doing?" Yasak just smirked. "A kid like you doesn't need to know." And the door slammed shut. Inside, Yasak sat calmly, blue energy swirling around him, ready to start. Outside, Shuri banged on the door. "Come out, or I'll tell the adults and get you kicked out." Suddenly, a cold voice stopped Shuri in his tracks. A white-haired guy suddenly showed up, lifting Shuri into the air. "Why are you here?" he demanded. Shuri tried to speak, but an old woman interrupted with a roar. "We told you not to enter the annex." "Huh?" Shuri replied, looking confused. People had seen Shuri bringing Yasak to this place. He stumbled over his words, admitting he used holy magic to carry the baby, which just made them more suspicious. The white-haired man sighed and said, "Shuri, you've really crossed the line this time." He grabbed Shuri's shoulder and asked, "Where did you lock up Isaac?" Shuri yelled back, denying it. He was about to explain that Isaac had locked himself in when loud noises came from behind the door. The man rushed over and called, "Isaac, are you in there?" pressing his ear against the door. Inside, the chaos unfolded. Yasak's cries echoed, sounding so sad. The door swung open, and the old lady hurried in. "Oh dear, look how scared he is," she said. The man picked up the crying child. "He's in shock but seems okay," he noted, looking at the baby with relief and concern. Then he turned to Shuri and said, "You should be." I. As he was being taken away, Yasak mouthed a sarcastic, "Thank you," to the stunned crowd. His innocent look disappeared, replaced by a wicked grin. "Thanks for the meal," he thought. Shuri grabbed his head in pain while the adults around him wondered why his blood pressure was skyrocketing. Safe in their arms, Yasak evaluated his gains. I've just scored a century's worth of mana in one go, he mused. Energy shimmered in his tiny hand. With this, I can finally execute that plan, he thought, while the man mistook his sinister expression for shock. Sunlight poured over the grand mansion. Yasak sat calmly with a book, until Rila's voice interrupted. Isaac, I've got someone for you to meet. Ashwa walked in with a woman in uniform. This is Ashley. She'll be looking after you. Ashley Larch, Ashwa's holy knight. She knelt before the baby. I will serve you until my last breath, young Master Isaac. Yasak squinted suspiciously. Did they send someone to keep tabs on me? He babbled to catch her attention. Hey you. Then he threw a fit yelling. I don't need you. Go away. A terrifying dark aura burst from the child, freezing the adults in their tracks. As Ashley freaks out, Yasak is thinking, why is this family full of lunatics? Meanwhile, Rila just smiles. And then Rila says, Isaac, this is my gift to you. He opens a box, and inside is a simple ring. Yasak thinks to himself, has the Ashwa family really sunk to giving out cheap jewelry? Ashley gasps. Oh my gosh! Is this the Holy Maiden's treasure? Rila pats the child's head, confirming it's indeed a gift from her. Yasak's eyes flash red, realizing, oh, so it's legit. Memories rush back to him. It's the Elder's ring that the Holy Maidens once used against him. In his small hand, the ancient power starts to hum, and the holy artifact begins to glow warmly. Kim Yasak smirks, thinking, it might only have a charge or two left, but I can work with that. He suddenly senses a presence nearby. Gol Ashwa is standing at a distance, arms crossed, teeth clenched, eyes filled with hatred. Yasak glances over and thinks, that thug look confirms it's the real deal. Rila turns with a cheerful smile, saying, ah, my nephew Isaac. Gol instantly changes his demeanor, flashing a smile that's both dazzling and terrifying. He says, you're as adorable as ever. Then he leans down to whisper in the child's ear. Yasak flinches, silently screaming at Gol's madness. Gol is fuming inside. He had secretly messed with the blessing device, only to see the treasure end up with Isaac again. He remembered pleading with the matriarch, asking her to let his son have it too, but she just brushed him off. She said, Shuri already got the blessing. Don't be greedy. Frustrated that a kid ruined his plan, Gol went over to Rila. He mocked Rila's gift, calling it worthless. Then he turned to Isaac with a sly grin, asking how he could accept such a useless item. Gol opened a box to show off a stunning ring, claiming it had countless blessings from the Holy See. Rila froze, realizing Gol was trying to undermine him. Isaac reached out. Gol was grinning until a small hand smacked him right across the face. Isaac thought, get lost. He was disgusted by the pompous object. Isaac grabbed the box and tossed the pricey gift away. It flew high and splashed into the fountain while Gol yelled. Rila was shocked that such a valuable treasure was thrown away, but Isaac stood there, feeling proud. The boy happily held up the simple ring Rila had given him. Overwhelmed, Rila burst into tears of joy, cheering for his nephew who chose him. While Rila was having a blast, Gol's crew was desperately floundering in the icy water. Yasak was secretly smug, knowing he'd used magic to make the ring weigh a ton. He quietly told his shadow guard to snag it that night, planning to sell the dirty thing for some cash. Later, in his office, Gol was losing it. He slumped over his desk, yelling about the lost treasure, then forced to sneer. Whatever. He can't even use the Elder's ring right. A knight had mentioned that the ring needed the divine power of 20 people to work. Gol schemed, thinking, let's see, maybe only 10 people will show up for his first birthday. The next day, the Ashwa mansion was a madhouse. Carriages and people were everywhere. Ashley Larch reported, it's unbelievable, young master. 148 saint candidates and 4,000 nobles are here. She rattled off names like dukes and even the emperor, but Yasak was irritated. Are the gods so lazy they've got saints everywhere? Relly was just as shocked. I thought everyone would see this as a trap and steer clear. No way they think that, buddy. Count Simon Regis, head of a merchant guild, showed up with a chuckle. He was just as shocked. I thought everyone would see this as a trap and steer clear. No way they think that, my friend. Count Simon Regis, head of a merchant guild, appeared with a laugh. Every family in the empire is buzzing. They heard the Ashwa family's so-called weaklings were attending, so they figured it couldn't be a trap, Simon added. Plus, the lady of the Ashwa family is offering a prize. How could they resist? Yasak looked up, curious about what the prize might be. Relly had a hunch that even the arrogant Barrett family would show up. Simon, ignoring Relly's attempts to quiet him, loudly declared his son was also a saint candidate. Watch your mouth, he warned. Relly whispered, gripping the doorknob tightly. Simon kept rambling behind him. Seems like those old sayings are always spot on. A voice interrupted them. Cardinal Barrett? Relly gasped. The cardinal gave a sinister smile. He thought, the weakling Ashwa is throwing a birthday party to save face. I wanted to see their candidate, he mused. His eyes settled on the child in Ashley's arms. What a stroke of luck. He placed a hand over his heart, pretending to be sincere. I pray the Ashwa saint candidate brings glory to the family. Relly had a bad feeling. A trap? He realized the number of candidates had jumped to 148 last week. The Holy See let the riffraff in. If they cause chaos in the treasure vault, they'll tear the weak apart. A wave of horror hit him. Isaac's in danger. Ashwa's sons were famous for their looks and lack of skills, making them easy targets for those trying to win the church's favor. A secret order was out. Mess with the Ashwa kid. Slip some holy poison in his drink. Make him a joke. But Kim Isaac chugged the poisoned water, looking pretty pleased. Wow, this stuff is awesome. The other candidates gawked. How many bottles is that now? Kim Isaac was thrilled inside. Bring more. This little bit won't take me down. He tossed the empty bottle at Shuri-Ashwa. The plotter started to freak out. He should have been sick by now. Did we mess up? Shuri hid his face in embarrassment. Why does he keep drinking it? Trying to save face, he kicked the bottle out of Kim Isaac's hand. Stop drinking! Are you out of your mind? Kim Isaac handed over a clean bottle. Shuri slapped it away, not realizing the kid was thinking. No poison in that one. The kid clung to Shuri's leg, crying for the toxic water. Mine had holy poison, a blonde boy admitted in a panic. Give it back to me. Kim Isaac let out a roar. His eyes lit up as he floated, dark energy swirling around him. Has he really mastered self-detoxification? The kids whispered in awe. Shuri was completely taken aback. Out of nowhere, a white-haired guy showed up. Kinna Barrett? What's he doing here? Shuri blurted out, while Kim Isaac casually drank the fresh poison, thinking, wow, so he's gonna win? The room was buzzing. Why is the pontiff's house involved? Despite Kinna's white hair, everyone remembered the brown hair of past pontiffs. Kinna smirked. It's not weird. The Saintess's treasure vault belongs to the pontiff's house, so I'm just claiming what's mine. Kinna turned and walked off, leaving everyone in shock. Kim just grinned. Yep, he's definitely from the pontiff's house. Suddenly, Kinna unleashed a brilliant golden holy power, stronger than even the bishops. Guess that's why you're Saint Candidate Zero, Kim muttered, unimpressed by the theatrics. Kinna spun around, scolding the crowd. You guys are really pathetic. What do you gain from scaring a little kid? He stepped up, thinking no kid could possibly control toxin immunity. Kneeling in front of Kim, Kinna thought. This whole family must be genetically clueless. He forced a kind smile, summoning his power. Poor kid, don't worry. I'll heal you. While the other candidates whispered about Kinna's power, Kim just watched unfazed. Kinna, feeling smug, wrapped the boy in light, thinking, this kid's got brains. Out of nowhere, Kim blew a puff of air right into Kinna's face. The golden holy power disappeared instantly. Wait, it's gone? Kinna was stunned, staring at the grinning kid. The boy had just shattered his holy power. A chilling thought hit Kinna. Could this kid actually be stronger than me? Shuri-Ashwa hurried over to Kim's side. Kinna was furious, insulted that an Ashwa would dare protect his target. Kim stood his ground, holding a bottle, eyes full of defiance. How dare you look at me like that? Kinna grabbed Shuri by the collar, lifting him off the ground, shocking everyone. You think you can protect him? If it weren't for me, you'd have been hit by that bottle. He let go, pretending to be generous. It's fine. He was just startled. After all, he's just a kid. Kinna turned away, waving mockingly. Good luck, you Ashwa kids. Anyway, the greatest treasure is mine. The Ashwa family will never get their hands on the Skeleton King's remains. Shuri glared at the unpleasant figure walking away, then grabbed Kim. She shouted desperately. Why are you doing this? The elder has promised that whoever brings back the king's body gets a special ultimate skill. Those words cut through Kim's mind like a knife. Shuri collapsed, whispering a girl's name. Meanwhile, Kim clenched his teeth in anger. What are you people doing with my body? Later, while the other candidates gossiped about the chaos, Kim sat alone, deep in thought. I spent centuries mastering mana. Getting back to rank 10 is no big deal. He frowned. But how do I sneak out with all these kids watching? His crimson eyes burned with determination. Forget it. I'll crush anyone who tries to stop me. Everyone, gather around. An elder called out. We're leaving soon, so pay attention to the history lesson. Another lecture? How dull. Kim quietly slipped away. Ha! Hey you! Shuri shouted. Where do you think you're going? A loud boom echoed, startling Shuri. He pointed, panicking. Elder! Isaac! Kim had taken off like a bolt of lightning, thrilled. Time to test out the new holy art. Not there, Isaac! The elder freaked out, yelling. That area is off limits. Go there, and the traps will go off. Kim kept moving. The elder shouted. Stop that guy! But it was pointless as the kids scattered everywhere. Over in the Ashwa mansion's ballroom, a woman voiced her concern, hoping the young master was okay. Next to her, a silver-haired man kept his cool. A magic orb suddenly lit up. We've tapped into the treasure vault, the narrator said. I'll provide updates through the summoned beast tailing the kid in third place. The silver-haired guy perked up. The first room's door just opened. Right now, Amon Aegis is in third place. That's my boy, a proud dad exclaimed. In second place is Shuri-Ashwa. Shuri's dad blinked, then shouted. Way to go, son! The commentator squinted at the screen, puzzled by the results, and then announced the leader. Whoa, it's Isaac, he said. The silver-haired man and the woman beside him were stunned. Isaac Ashwa. The name echoed as the boy charged ahead like a whirlwind, victorious. Isaac, please, you can't go there, the elder screamed. Too late. The boy's foot set off a thunderbolt. Elder! Shuri-Ashwa yelled as energy struck the old man. Chaos broke out. Kids screamed, filling the air with panic. Shuri shouted at the troublemaker. You lunatic! Why'd you go in there? You're messing everything up. Passing the trial was already tough without dodging traps too. Ignoring him, Kim Yasak thought. This must be the entrance to Chapter 2. He triggered another set of traps. Well done, Master, the shadow entity whispered. Thanks to the mana core you absorbed, I've leveled up. Yasak thought, good. Now I can use you even more. Go catch him. The shadow darted off. In the crowd, a boy muttered. I didn't expect it to be this tough. So this is why the Saintesses are so strong. His friend looked completely baffled. Suddenly, Shuri was lifted into the air. Isn't that the Ashwa kid? Someone asked. Yeah, his name's Shu or something. How's he flying? Must be cheating. Shuri cursed under his breath. That's not it, you idiots. Held by the shadow, he screamed. I'm flying against my will. Put me down. Master, I've caught the informant. The entity tossed Shuri face first in front of Kim Yasak. Groaning, Shuri warned him. Stop it, you lunatic. The second room is dangerous. You could die if you're not careful. Too noisy. Yasak interrupted. He glanced at Shuri and said, I don't need a lecture. Just tell me about the second room. Shuri gasped. When you enter the second room, whatever you do, don't attack. What kind of nonsense is that? Attacking is the only way to get through, he replied. Just wait 3 minutes until they vanish. Someone already died in there. A test of patience? How cliché, Yasak thought. Crawling away, he replied in a childish tone. Alright. Sounds easy enough. Just don't attack, right? Waiting 3 minutes is nothing, he muttered confidently. His tiny hand reached for the gate. Welcome to the Chamber of Silence. Inside, glowing words appeared. Patience is a virtue. Maintain your silence. Yasak sat down, listening to the message. Patience will lead you to the light. While others rushed forward, Kina Barrett and his group stayed back. Will we be okay? A boy asked nervously. We're at the very back, Kina smirked. No need to face danger first. Let the sacrificial lambs go ahead. Those who rush ahead will just get stuck at the entrance anyway, another added. Kina pointed out a dazzling light that erupted, catching a blue black-haired boy off guard. The trial has started, she said. A burst of yellow light marked the first trap. Don't let it sway you, echoed a voice. Kim Yasak and another candidate exchanged nervous glances. A blonde figure appeared, spreading his arms wide. Patience will guide you to the light, he said. You bastard, shouted a candidate charging at him. The entity was destroyed instantly, but the attacker turned to dust, leaving everyone in shock. Another boy fell to the ground, cursing. Damn it! Massive, bloody tentacles erupted from the ground. You fool! Someone yelled. Yasak grimaced. How can I hold back when they flaunt the gods' hideous faces? You have failed. The system's voice declared coldly. Those who lack patience. Yasak clenched his fist, ready to defy the rules. Will face divine punishment, the golem's supervisor roared. We're screwed. A boy trembled. We're dead. As Kim Yasak gathered magic power, a violent red energy surged around him. Lightning exploded, striking the giant gatekeeper. A brown-haired boy gasped. What was that? The bolt pierced the stone golem's core. Kim Yasak frowned. Why him again? To everyone's shock, the supervisor crumbled into rubble. Yasak scoffed at the idea. Rank 8? Seriously? He was sure of himself. This golem was crafted by his own subordinates, the 14 demon generals. Was it ignoring the boy's calls? The boy shouted. Hey, where are you going? He hadn't expected those Ashwa kids to be so handy. The foliage parted, revealing a group led by Nigel Seffett. See? I told you an Ashwa kid would know the way. Nigel sneered. Thanks for dealing with the gatekeeper. Now scram. We're taking the second room. Yasak eyed them coldly. Still so many left standing. Nigel pointed at Yesak's companion. Didn't know the Ashwa family was full of cowards. Me? With him? The boy stammered, confused. Ignoring him, Nigel turned to his crew. You saw this kid dodge the traps, right? He noticed the ring on Yesak's neck. A relic. He grabbed it. This must be the key. We'll dodge every trap with this. Yesak's companion thought. Big mistake. He eyed Yesak's eerie calm, knowing he never let anyone steal from him without a fight. We don't need you anymore, Ashwa. Step aside, Nigel commanded. He grinned wickedly. The Skeleton King's corpse is the Seffett family's prize. I'm claiming it, he declared, charging forward. Suddenly, a blinding light burst from the ground. Flames swept over the vanguard, filling the air with screams. The brown-haired boy, Isaac, stood frozen. That sneaky brat, Yeziak, grinned through the flames. He had set them up. As the fire faded into ash and smoke, Yeziak slung his companion over his shoulder and stepped over the bodies to enter the next room. He glanced back at the charred remains. Thanks for the sacrifice, kid. Yeziak's face twisted in confusion. Another group was on his tail. Why are they still following me? He's definitely got divine power, whispered a purple-eyed boy. He's from the Saintess's house. Yeziak scowled. I don't need their reverence. From his shoulder, Shuri Ashwa thought. Run, guys. The monster I'm riding is scarier than any demon. Shuri tried to flatter him. If there's a saint here, it's you. A blonde boy stepped forward. Pleased to meet the Ashwa master. I'm Paris Julius, second prince of the Julius kingdom. Yeziak's interest piqued. Useful. Hey, Isaac, Shuri asked. Have we arrived? Yeziak announced. We have. A massive gate loomed ahead. An orb of light pulsed, and a winged figure appeared. Welcome, candidates. The third room is the Chamber of Contemplation. Show your courage and determination. The crowd erupted in cheers, saying they should have followed this guy instead of Nigel. The prize is theirs now. The supervisor laid it out clearly. Beat them, and the glory is yours. Yasak squinted at the gatekeeper, wondering if it was who he thought. He couldn't help but grin. He was spot on. This was going to be a blast. Yasak let out a loud shout, startling everyone around him. Shuri froze, then it hit him. Isaac was right. The gatekeepers were lying. The first stop was the Chamber of Selection, where Yasak charged in without hesitation. Next up was the Chamber of Silence, and he didn't hold back there either. Now they were in the Chamber of Contemplation. Yasak figured it out. The clue was in the past. Shuri Ashwa cautioned them not to attack, but Kim Yasak pointed at the statues, giving orders ahead of time. Shuri tried to reassure himself. Maybe. Shuri realized he had underestimated him, missing the sly grin and the energy orb in Kim's hand. Kim launched the orb straight at a gatekeeper. Shuri was paralyzed with shock. The gatekeeper, now engulfed in dark energy, let out a fierce roar. You've failed, it declared, tightening its grip on the staff. It then unleashed a massive red slash. Screams echoed as the explosion hit several kids. Kim sat calmly on another boy's back, ignoring the cries for help. Shuri turned pale as the realization hit him. "Hey, you crazy bastard!" he shouted. Kim just gave a sly smile, closing his eyes. What a familiar sight, he thought. The gatekeepers revealed their true forms as demonic puppets, mocking the students. "Teach these brats a lesson," they sneered. Kim laughed maniacally while his human mount cursed in despair. An explosion erupted, engulfing the area in flames. 2 survivors frantically searched, asking, "Where are the Asuras?" Kim sat gleefully on Shuri's head, both concealed by a 6th-level invisibility spell. Second Prince Paris Julius knew who they were. "Thanks for making me invisible too," Kim thought. He had used the blessing at just the right moment, but only replied with a casual, "Whatever." Grateful, the prince offered him a silver ring. "Take this," Paris said, wondering. "Is it because I'm not used to fighting demons?" Kim watched him with calculating eyes. Believing he'd received a holy artifact, Paris said, "Thank you. I won't forget this." The ring glowed gold, then brutally drained his divine power, making Paris scream in agony. Kim laughed, thrilled to have found the perfect prey. His subordinate flattered him, saying, "Of course, master." Shuri looked up in horror at the monster on his back. "Uncle, where did you find that?" he asked. Somewhere else, a candidate yelled out, asking if anyone could use defensive holy magic. A young guy stepped up, creating a glowing sphere. He told everyone to get behind him. The supervisor, now transformed into a demon wielding a massive scythe, bellowed for them to accept their punishment. Another voice commanded them to attack. The young man responded by unleashing a stream of holy light. He shouted, "Take this!" But the attack got deflected, sending him flying backward and leaving his team in shock. As he lay there, not moving, his friend shouted in panic, asking what was happening. Above them, a ring hovered, glowing with an ominous red light. The supervisor sent another candidate flying through the air. Suddenly, a skeletal puppet stopped, tilting its head in confusion. It wondered where all the tricky kids had disappeared to. A shadowy subordinate reported that they had absorbed the holy power in the area and were moving to the other side. Kim watched the chaos unfold, telling the others not to feel bad for being weak. He explained that the puppet stops when they fall and that it's better he takes the power than they get hurt. The master was almost done with whatever they were planning. The shadow paused as a golden sphere appeared out of nowhere. It wondered what it was. Suddenly, a brilliant pillar of light shot up, blasting the shadow creatures away. Through the light, a figure emerged. Kim whispered that he had found it. A white-haired, golden-eyed boy, surrounded by holy fire, introduced himself as Isaac Ashwa. Kina Barrett stepped forward. She remarked that she had been wondering where he had gone. Nigel Siffett was sweating bullets. He always knew Isaac was smart, but this was on another level. Isaac had these massive, glowing wings spread out behind him, and he was summoning a holy spirit. At his age? Insane, Nigel shouted. Kina Barrett was facing off with Kim Yasak, who was back to his usual self. She couldn't believe someone actually took down a demon, and she mocked him for it. "Or did you just trick the kids again, like in the first room?" Kim Yasak grinned slyly. The kids shouted, "No way. That baby did everything for us," one candidate insisted. "He even guided us." "Are these kids seriously falling for this?" Kim Yasak wondered. Kina laughed. "Saved? You call yourselves saint candidates? What right do you have?" A black-haired boy snapped back. "You just hid in the background. Isaac should be the saint, not you." The group rallied around Kim Yasak. "Yeah, exactly." Shuri Ashwa was desperate as she realized the truth. "No, everyone. This demon kid is draining you." But nearby, other survivors whispered if it weren't for them, we'd be doomed. Suddenly, they all looked up in horror. A gigantic fireball was coming down, shaking the ground like crazy. The survivors gathered in front of a massive gate. "Is that the entrance to the third room?" A fireball exploded. "Congrats on clearing the second room. I'm the last guardian of the treasure vault. Here's the deal. You can take the treasure and end the trial right here." A boy tried to speak, but the guardian interrupted. "Or do you want to face the challenge to enter the third room? Choose wisely." Kina Barrett stayed calm. "If you take on the challenge," the guardian added, "you'll find the treasure in the third room. But fail, and it's game over." The candidates were frozen with fear. Only Kim Yasak kept his cool. "Master, this voice is Mana," his shadow spirit whispered. "Yep, it's a dragon," Yasak noted sharply. "The danger is real." "I'm still going," one candidate shouted. "If I get the treasure, I could become a saint." "Me too," others chimed in. "I'm going to the third room, and I'll face the trial." An unseen force pushed them forward as a blinding light surrounded the group. When the light disappeared, a boy grimaced, feeling dizzy. Kim Yasak chuckled. "The final trial is straightforward," the guardian declared. A gigantic stone statue appeared. "Worship the Lord." Another statue appeared, and one of the candidates cried out, "It's the cardinal!" A voice echoed, saying only those who show reverence can enter. The candidates whispered among themselves, thinking it was too easy, just kneel and pray. But Kim Yasak wasn't having it. He thought, what kind of nonsense is this? Memories of his nemesis flooded his mind. He couldn't believe he was expected to kneel before this guy. "It's just a prayer," another boy pointed out. He knelt, clasped his hands and said, "Your servant worships you, my lord." The statue responded, "You have learned well. You may pass." It continued, and the boy leapt up, sparking hopeful whispers. Shuri froze at the sight of Isaac, feeling a chilling intent from the boy perched on his shoulder. "Guys, you need to pray," Kim Yasak said, kicking Shuri in the stomach. As Shuri stumbled, Yasak clung to his leg, dragging himself forward with determination. Meanwhile, Kina Barrett approached the statue, telling everyone to watch closely. He knelt with perfect form, radiating a holy light. That's how you worship properly. The others cheered, eager to try it themselves. A boy clasped his hands, trembling, and declared, "You are worthy of all glory." Suddenly an invisible force crushed him down. "No, let me do it," others cried, rushing to clasp their hands before the statue. The stone statue seemed to react, as if saying, Someone called out to Kim Yusak, asking why he wasn't kneeling. Yusak just scoffed to himself, thinking only a fool would do that. Whispers spread through the room. People wondered why he was acting like that. Was there something wrong with his faith? Shuriashwa's voice echoed in Yusak's mind, urging him to pray and not disgrace their family. Kina Barrett watched with a smirk, calculating her next move. She thought to herself, this is going on record. Is he trying to get disqualified? No faith means he's done for, no matter how skilled. One less competitor. Yusak glared at the statue defiantly, thinking he'd rather die than kneel to it. The statue stayed silent but exuded a terrifying pressure. Yusak shook but stood his ground. He thought, then just kill me. Suddenly, dark energy burst from the statue, filling the room. A shadowy figure within the statue roared, declaring that those who disrespect it will die. Yusak shouted back, just do it already. He cursed the statue, vowing to destroy it. His shadowy ally appeared, warning him of the danger. In a fit of rage, Yusak obliterated the shadow, commanding it to die. Out of nowhere, a brilliant light cut through the darkness, and a solemn voice praised him, saying, excellent. Yusak stood frozen, looking at the charred remains in his hand. The voice continued, you've passed, young candidate. Kina Barrett was stunned. She exclaimed, wait, what? You told us we had to show reverence. He pointed at the kid, accusing him. How can he just walk by without praying? That's ridiculous. The statue responded, saying that the child was the only one who truly believed in God. Yusak was left speechless. Don't you get it? The statue asked. You didn't bow to God, just to a statue. Does your faith really tell you to worship idols? Everyone froze in place. A statue, someone whispered, realizing they'd fallen into a doctrinal trap. Look at that child, the statue proclaimed. Even when facing death, he kept his faith. Yusak muttered, then stood taller. Shut up, Kina snapped, gritting his teeth. This is nonsense. He's just a kid. You can't say his refusal was faith. Yusak crossed his arms, nodding along with the accusation. Kina went in for the kill. And if he's so faithful, where's his holy mark? Yusak flinched at that. Ha! The room buzzed. A saint candidate without a mark? Yusak grinned smugly, enjoying the scene. He's the only one without it, Kina insisted. Just give up. A saint candidate without a holy mark? The statue repeated. That's because he's just a child. A little kid doesn't need to have it yet. That excuse left everyone speechless, even Yusak. Ridiculous, Kina shouted. And you could just move his whole team? The others joined in. If he gets in, why can't we? You all want to enter the third chamber? The statue asked. Silence followed. All right then, you may all proceed. Cheers broke out, but Kina wasn't buying it. Why was it so easy to let them in? The statue's voice turned dark. If you want to rush into danger like moths to a flame, go ahead. Dark magic surged. The gate behind the statue creaked open, revealing a pitch-black void. The candidates froze in terror. The magical pressure was suffocating, squeezing the breath out of Kina and the others. Feel that? The statue bellowed. That's the magic from the Skeleton King's body. Candidates dropped to the ground, overwhelmed by the force. What kind of magic was this? Meanwhile, Kim Yusak was grinning. His brooch buzzed, soaking up the energy. He chuckled, recognizing the power he knew so well. That's right, my body. The Skeleton King's body is right there, he thought, staring at the dark gate. I never imagined I'd see it again after I blew myself up in the divine realm. Out of nowhere, mana surged, and the boy's face turned to sheer panic. A white-haired candidate pointed at Kim Yusak, admiring his brave, warrior-like expression. Shuriashwa muttered to herself. Brave? Yeah, right. He's totally lost it. A dazzling fireball appeared above, its voice booming. It's not too late. The entity gestured towards Kim Yusak, saying, if you can't smile in the face of death like him, leave now. Damn it, a candidate yelled. How are we supposed to overcome this magical force? Two boys, terrified, whispered. Let's turn back. We might actually die here. The white-haired boy stepped up, declaring, I don't need the treasures from the second chamber, he announced. We're all heading into the third chamber, and then looked at the fireball, ready to trigger all the traps inside. Shuri was left speechless, thinking, this guy is insane. The fire entity seemed entertained, asking, oh, is that really what you want? The white-haired boy grinned slyly, saying, even the genius Saintess Melissa couldn't retrieve the Skeleton King's corpse. You must be her safeguard. She'd never let kids die. His eyes turned steely. No way I'm letting people think I took the easy road, he grinned. So let's crank up the third chamber to its original difficulty. Off to the side, another kid watched. He's got a few screws loose too. The gatekeeper nodded, saying, if that's what you want, I'll do it. It'll actually help us find the real saint. The white-haired boy wore a smug smile while another candidate yelled, you should have gone solo. Why drag us all into this mess? A massive leg appeared, descending through the dense fog. In the center, a skeletal hand rested on a pedestal, radiating dark magic. The candidates fell, screaming under the intense pressure. Kim Yusak, on the other hand, was thrilled. Wow, it's just like the demon realm. Check it out, master. He stared at the skeletal hand. Whisper shouted, that's the master's noble form. Kim Yusak chuckled. So handsome, my dear. Oh wait, I mean my body. Shuriashwa was stunned. Is that the Skeleton King's corpse? All this power from just one hand? Kim Yusak scoffed to himself. Not from the hand, you idiot. It's all coming from my thumb. He wondered, Is this the only real piece here? The rest are just fakes. The skeletal hand unleashed a terrifying power that overwhelmed everyone. From the shadows, a massive demon resembling a tiger emerged. 2 candidates screamed, thinking, wasn't the guardian of the second chamber supposed to be the only demon here? Kim Yasak looked down unfazed. Didn't you request the removal of all safety measures? The guardian demon stomped, calling them annoying pests. How dare you desire the king's body? Shuri Ashwa pointed at the white-haired boy, blaming him for the chaos. The white-haired boy grabbed Shuri's hand, asking what she planned to do. Just trust me, he assured her with a smirk. I'll make sure everyone leaves with the treasure. He's one of the 14 demon elites, the Skeleton King's most trusted subordinate, personally trained by him, and captured by the Papal Institute. Facing the demon, the boy confidently declared he had prepared a secret art for this moment. The treasure would be his. His eyes shone with holy power. Kneel, he commanded, and the giant demon crumbled under the divine force, the light of the Papal Institute. Candidates cried out while Kim Yasak watched silently. Excellent, it worked, the white-haired boy thought to himself. Then his eyes flashed with determination. All I need now is the Skeleton King's body. Is it you? The demon struggled to stand back up. Bloodshot eyes fixate on the boy. Are you the one eyeing my king's body? Just outside the vault, a group of nobles, led by a blonde guy, waits anxiously. What's going on inside? We've lost contact with the familiars. A breathless messenger rushes in, waving a paper. It's bad news. The demon in the third chamber has been unleashed. Rulaya Shwa and his aides are left speechless. One aide turns to him, horrified. Rulaya, isn't the demon in the third chamber one of the 14 elites? Cold sweat drips down Rulaya's face. What the hell is happening? Everyone in the vault is in danger. A guard bursts in from the surveillance room. The elders bypassed the traps and disappeared. The kids are defenseless. Another guard yells. They can't handle an elite demon. We need to stop the ritual and get them out now. As he charges the gate, a dazzling barrier appears, knocking him back. A blinding flash erupts from the vault. Rulaya is in a panic. Nearby, Goelashwa watches nervously. Is the vault opening? Intense holy light surrounds the stone gate. A knight shouts, "Get back! Demonic energy might leak out." An elder interrupted, pointing ahead. "No, I don't feel any demonic energy," he said, as another elder turned to Cardinal Haribear. They took down the elite. "Great job, Kina," someone remarked. A guard, visibly shaken, grabbed Rulaya. "One of the kids inside must have done it. Could it be you, Rulaya?" The crowd buzzed with whispers. "It must be Kina Barrett, the kid with the papal bloodline." Retainers surrounded Haribear. "Congratulations, Your Eminence. You're clearly the top choice." Harry flashed a well-rehearsed smile. Kina really put in the effort. His eyes sparkled with a thought. "Ashwa, you fools," he mused. "The Skeleton King's body is mine. You'll all submit. Your dignity and honor are gone," he declared. Cheers erupted. "Look, the kids are back." Harry turned with confidence. Goel, however, turned pale, recognizing 2 familiar faces, Isaac and Shuri. Emerging from the dark gate, the children appeared, and an aide let out a sigh of relief. "They're hurt, but it's nothing too serious," someone noted. 2 survivors whispered nervously. "Where are the ones from the third chamber? Do you think something happened?" Rulaya Ashwa stepped forward, his expression serious. More cheers broke out as the last group stumbled out, with Aman and Shuri leading, utterly exhausted. Parents rushed forward to meet them. Aman's father embraced his trembling son. "You did it, Aman," he said. "Are you okay?" the father asked urgently as Goel and Hina Ashwa reached Shuri. In the middle of the reunions, Rulaya just froze. He scanned the crowd, panic rising. "Isaac," he rushed to the kids. "Where's Isaac?" Suddenly, Cardinal Haribear's booming voice echoed. "Kina." Rulaya spun around. Barrett stepped in front of Kina, eyes sharp. "What's that in your hand?" Kina stammered, terrified. "That? Who told you to bring it out?" Hari roared, but a sphere of light flashed above, cutting him off. The crowd froze, eyes glued to the sky. A cleric with glasses pointed. "Look, over there!" A massive golden wolf appeared in midair. Kim Yisak clamped in its jaws. "Wait!" Rulaya lunged forward, but a knight held him back. Isaac wasn't scared. He had a satisfied grin on his face. The wolf landed and took off. Rulaya and the others chased after it, shouting Isaac's name. An aide stammered. "Young Master Rulaya, that wolf is the young sacred dragon. It's the guardian of the Ashwa treasure vault." Rulaya stopped, stunned. "She's right. That energy? It's from a holy dragon." A strange gnawing sound broke the silence. Kim Yisak sat nearby, completely absorbed in sucking on something. A knight turned pale. "Elder, look! Could that really be?" It was the Skeleton King's corpse. An elder shouted. "Why is that in your mouth?" A priest gasped as the boy brought it back. Nearby, Harry Barrett shot a glare at Kina. "Did you give the corpse to that kid?" He hid his panic behind a facade of arrogance. Keeping up appearances is a skill every virtuous saint needs. Rulaya was fuming at the sheer audacity. The dragon let out a roar. "What nonsense are you talking about? This kid brought the corpse out. You're all fools." Harry and Kina were frozen in place. Kina's mind raced back to the treasury, filled with dread. Why did the golden holy art fail? The massive guardian demon loomed over them. Filthy trash. The candidates were paralyzed by its aura as the demon swung. Die. Demonic energy erupted, sending them flying. Kina came to in the rubble, seeing a blue holy barrier protecting them. Blue holy art? It wasn't Kina's doing. It was the power of the Ashwa child. "Filthy priests!" The demon roared, lunging forward. "How dare you go after the Skeleton King's corpse?" A fist engulfed in blue flame stopped the attack. Isaac stood his ground. "You bastard!" Isaac roared, energy bursting around him. "Don't you recognize your master? Isaac roared, energy bursting around him. Can't you see who your master is? Back in the present, the crowd is buzzing with excitement. Relias steps up confidently. 14 elite demons are way too much for kids. Why break the seal? The dragon grins and points a claw at Kina. That white-haired kid asked me to do it. The other candidates burst out. He forced us into the third chamber. He nearly got us all killed. Everyone's eyes turn to Kina, the Pope's child. Hari grits his teeth, defeated by their sworn enemy. Relia beams with pride. You did well, Isaac. Elders gather around Isaac, trying to coax the bone from him. One reaches out, but Isaac swats him away. The elders are shocked. How is he so strong? Isaac thinks, this mana is amazing, absorbing it so fast. Watching this, another elder whispers to Relia. Isaac has really outdone himself. The matriarch will be thrilled. His smile turns sinister. Now that we have that thing, we can track down the Skeleton King. We'll find his soul with a spell. Kim Yusak, still holding the bone in his mouth, is stunned. Ha! The boy realizes in horror. So that's why they wanted my body out so badly. A group of elders reaches out, faces lit up. Hand it over, Isaac. As hands reach for him, Kim Yusak was freaking out inside. Everyone had lost their minds. The lead elder announced he was going to settle a 150-year-old grudge. But then Kim Yusak swallowed the bone right in front of him. Burp. The elders froze. Kim Yusak held his stomach, wincing at the elder's shaky finger. The young holy dragon took the opportunity, grabbed its master, and flew into the sky, leaving the crazies behind. In a quiet, serious hall, a masked elder asked if they had found it. The reply was a disappointed, I don't think it's here. As the mages slumped, Kim Yusak watched calmly. Search all you want, he thought. You won't find it. His mind wandered back to the treasury. The Skeleton Kings were roaring. Don't you recognize your master? The giant guardian demon was screaming under the immense power, then froze in shock. This mana. Master, I thought the world would end when you died, but I knew you'd return. Humbled, it pledged. I must serve my master. As the memory faded, Kina Byright yelled in frustration. Damn it, you should have stayed to talk. I still have so many questions. Yusak thought to himself about the papal palace capturing them. I should check this out later, he mused. The baby suddenly froze mid-drink from his bottle. Isaac Ryashwa was yelling. Please, just poop. The shadowy figure next to the baby burst into laughter. Ignoring the creepy laughter, Raya shouted for stronger laxatives. Kim Yusak clenched his teeth, determined to take down this family. An elder was shaking. If the matriarch finds out, she might even disembowel Isaac, he said. Raya tried to calm him, but the elder was panicking. She once cut open her own son's side, he added, leaving Raya stunned. She disemboweled her own son? Raya thought. Yusak wondered if Melissa was on a pilgrimage. I need to absorb the mana and get out before she comes back, he decided. Suddenly, a man appeared at the door. Raya, come with me. The matriarch wants to see you. Raya turned quickly. Mother's back already? She never returns this fast. Yusak was grinding his teeth. Damn it. Is this because of me? He held his stomach, feeling the unabsorbed energy. Too risky. With Melissa around, he knew she'd definitely cut him open. Oh my god! Someone exclaimed, staring at a mountain of sparkling gifts. All of this is for Isaac? The elder asked, completely baffled. Raya let out a sigh of relief. Phew, I thought the matriarch had returned, he said, laughing. The brown-haired guy teased him, calling him a coward. Relax, it's just a message saying she's on her way. Isaac clenched his jaw, clearly irritated. A knight stepped in and announced, Sir, the papal palace has also sent a tribute. An elder spat on the ground, saying, Sell it off like it's stolen. The envoy is close by, the knight cautioned. But the man had already entered, stating, His Imperial Majesty is very concerned. I bring this tribute as an apology. Seems our previous gift didn't suit the Ashwa family, but I'm sure this one will change your minds. He opened a box, and the room was dazzled by the lights. This will greatly aid young Master Isaac. Is that the Triple Crown? An elder was in shock. Isaac was puzzled, but the shadow spirit whispered that it was just a cheap medal with the Pope's emblem. The room buzzed with whispers. The envoy moved closer to Raya. Please accept it. It's meant for young Master Isaac. Isaac wondered. Why give it to my uncle if it's mine? Just hand it over to me. Raya squinted suspiciously. He really told you to hand it over to me and not Isaac? The envoy gave a sly grin. Yes. Raya clenched his jaw in frustration. The elder couldn't contain himself. He grabbed the envoy by the collar, shouting, How dare you give Isaac's medal to a family member? Are you insane? Do you even know what that means? Kimisak froze, realizing the deadly implications. The envoy kept up his fake smile. Don't misunderstand the Holy Father's intentions, the Ishwa elder yelled. Then what about the ribbon? The sunflower medal, meant for fallen soldiers, Isaac thought. To put in my coffin? This old pope is nuts. You dare mock us about Ishwa's curse? The elder spat. Elder, please calm down. Goel Ishwa stepped in. Calm down? How can I, Goel? Goel tried to reason with him, desperate to prevent a family-ruining conflict. A noble watched, silently enjoying the chaos. A despicable gift to put us in our place. Perfect. Now Raya and the kid can't stir up trouble, Goel said, turning to his brother. Raya, accept the gift. Raya wanted to protest, but Goel was adamant. TSK. This isn't going to work, Isaac decided. Out of nowhere, the box in the envoy's hand started glowing with a weird blue light. Energy burst out, wrapping it in holy flames. The envoy screamed and dropped the box. Goel watched in shock as a massive orb formed in the middle of the hall. Who dares use holy fire on a medal? The envoy, shaking, could barely speak. A tiny, fiery hand appeared out of nowhere. It was Kim Isaac, grinning mischievously as he played with the flames. the envoy shouted, accusing the family of rebellion. A female elder just laughed. That was done by a baby. Are you seriously mad at an infant? Trying to regain his cool, the envoy said. I'll pretend I didn't receive this gift. Do I really have to accept this junk, even from His Holiness? Relia interrupted, holding up the melting, misshapen metal. The envoy turned pale. Give it to me, he stammered, reaching out. I must have brought the wrong item. Too late. Emerald holy fire burst from the metal, swallowing him. Terrifying screams filled the hall. Meanwhile, the elders were happily pinching Isaac's cheeks, clueless that he was the mastermind. Let me go before I burn your butts, he cursed silently. The charred envoy scrambled away, cursing as the elder laughed with delight. Nice job, Isaac, one elder cheered. Get rid of that annoying thing. Then they turned to Relia. And well done to you, Relia. Great use of holy fire. Relia just blinked, confused. The elder patted Relia's shoulder. Don't act surprised. You used the holy art on Isaac. Relia pointed at himself, puzzled. Didn't the elders do that? The three elders froze, exchanging looks as they realized none of them had cast the spell. Slowly, their horrified eyes shifted to Kim Yisak, the baby. The power came from the secret skill record, a mythical artifact that grants instant mastery of secret arts. Good thing I snagged it from the treasure vault, Yisak thought. Not as strong as in the Skeleton King's time, but still works. The elders stared in disbelief. One speculated. Could it be Isaac's? His mother doesn't have fire attributes. A long-bearded elder shouted. This is a whole new level of talent. Even Saintess Melissa had to learn before using holy magic. An assistant chimed in. Elders, the baby dispelling the Pope's magic is even more incredible. Two elders nodded in agreement, acknowledging the keen observation. The bearded elder instructed. Bring the medal here. I need to verify it. A knight opened the box but then froze. It's missing. What happened? I tossed it, Relia said, completely unfazed. The elders told me to get rid of it. That's not acceptable. Find it right away. Relia chuckled to himself. The shocking truth was that the baby had melted the Pope's supposedly fireproof metal. He clenched his fist, thinking, I can't let the family head find out. A sly grin appeared on his face. Without evidence, it's just gossip. A few days later, black cloaks billowed in the wind of the Western Duchy. Family head Eliashua led his troops over the water, saying, The mansion is close. Stay sharp. Yes, family head, they replied. Eli stopped, squinting into the distance. Who is that? The mansion loomed large ahead. Inside, the elders sat in despair. Why? Kim Yusuk was surrounded by a pile of milk bottles, patting his belly. Why won't the Skeleton King's body appear? Thanks for the meal, though. Despite consuming hundreds of bottles of laxatives and sylvan fruits, all he managed was a satisfied burp. He grinned, thinking about how boosting his connection with divine beasts is a win. He'll need them to take down the gods and the Pope. Out of nowhere, a massive energy tail whooshed by. He's convinced the Ashwa family has a divine beast. Kim Yusuk jolted in surprise. The guardian beast, Dareen Bloom, appeared in a burst of holy light. The baby started sweating nervously. Maybe hitting up the party first isn't such a bad idea. Eliashua stormed in, the head of the family. A knight announced his arrival. The elders and Relai bowed in respect. Kim Yusuk observed. So, this is the family head? My grandfather? He felt a familiar energy. Relai stepped in front of his father. Father, please. Cutting open Isaac won't solve anything. Eli brushed past without a glance, pointing at Kim Yusuk with fiery eyes. Burn it. No, father, Relai pleaded. Kim Yusuk froze. Burn it? The baby is way too young to be burned, Relai begged. Another noble chimed in, agreeing. That's too harsh a reward for the baby. Reward? Yusuk blinked in confusion. Burning someone is a reward? Please, just give us more time. Or we could cut him open, Relai panicked. Or drown Isaac instead. This family is insane, Yusuk thought. Just give up already, Goelishwa sneered. No way. The temple's fire and water are sacred techniques meant for training saintesses. We can't waste them on a powerless baby. Oh really? Yusuk realized. That's actually a relief. Sure, he's more deserving of the blessing. Goel continued. Isaac took down the demon. Relai shouted. The holy dragon confirmed it. Relai insisted. The dragon was wrong. Don't be ridiculous. Goel countered. Plus, Isaac burned the Pope's medal with holy fire. Who knows? Maybe you're in on it. Goel shot back. Suddenly, Reliashwa held up a melted golden object. When you say metal, do you mean this? It was the sacred gold, a holy relic blessed by the Pope, directly linked to God. Kim Isaac was shocked. Even as the Skeleton King, melting that was no joke. How is this possible? Did I get stronger after reincarnating? Goel stammered. How did you find it? Relai replied coolly. I picked it up from the bottom of Lake Ilisava. Relai turned to his father. Father, the boy burned the Pope's symbol. This proves the Ashwa family can gain the upper hand. An elder jumped in, all excited. This guy can withstand the Skeleton King's fire. He was born to hunt him down. They were chatting about the recent chaos the Skeleton King caused. Isaac was just standing there, confused. Wait, what? A voice popped into his head. They're at it again. Someone's pretending to be you, master. This all went down 70 years ago. Suddenly, a knight burst in. The Skeleton King showed up at the Ashwa mansion, spreading his curse. Isaac was completely taken aback. The knight continued furious. He attacked us, claiming he'd wipe out the Saintess bloodline. Isaac quickly did the math. If that was 70 years ago, it couldn't have been me. I died 100 years ago. He grinned. A low-level demon like that is child's play. The knight listed the symptoms to the terrified elder. Baldness. Yep, baldness. Isaac was grinding his teeth, furious about the imposter and the ridiculous hair loss curse. Family head Eliashua locked his sharp gaze on the kid. He's got red eyes. He must be affected. Relai dismissed the usual purification methods. Fire and water are just too weak. He shocked everyone with his decision. I'm going to grant him a Holy Spirit. Isaac's eyes widened. A Holy Spirit? It's the ultimate blessing. A fast track to transcendent power, even coveted by the gods. A sly grin creeps onto his face. Jackpot. I'm gonna teach those gods a lesson. Goelashua, the fifth son, charges in. A Holy Spirit? That's overkill, Dad. Those are for the worthy. What has he done to deserve it? He scoffs. Even if he melted the metal, all he did was take off the papal family. Isaac slumps down. Eli cuts in ice cold. So, Goel, what did you do when they sent us that insulting gift? Goel freezes up. The family head erupts, eyes on fire. They caused chaos on Ashwa land, and you just let them walk away and now defend them? Goel is silent. Besides bad-mouthing my nephew, what have you accomplished? You strip him of his lifeline? Eli's gaze sharpens. Even animals protect their young. The Ashwa family guards everything. Isaac feels smug inside. Eli goes on, the youngest one defended our family's honor. Isn't that something to be proud of? Goel crumbles to the floor. The command is given. Gather everyone at the main hall. Facing the family, Eli declares, we're going to bless Isaac. A few days later, Relil chases after his dad. Father, aren't you just giving him a Holy Spirit? What's the deal? Eli halts. Don't you get it? Using the temple's fire or water to purify the skeleton king would totally cripple him. It's just too intense. It would wipe out everything demonic, stopping Isaac from ever mastering exorcism. He'd be stuck at level 4 forever. I'll let Isaac pick between fire, water, and a Holy Spirit. A family member sneered, realizing it was a test. No way he'd give it up that easily. 3 energy orbs floated in front of Isaac. Choose one. Eli commanded. Relil held his breath, waiting. Fire, water, Holy Spirit, please pick the white orb. The room went silent as the kid's tiny hand reached out. To everyone's shock, he grabbed the red fire orb. Isaac lifted it high and cheered. The scoffer turned to his disappointed friend. Don't lose heart. Level 4 is still impressive for an Ashwa kid. A blinding flash interrupted him. The fire orb in Isaac's hand cracked open, unleashing a wild surge of holy flame. What? Is this the temple's flame? The elders shouted in terror. From the blaze, a graceful figure with cracked skin emerged. Relil Ashwa stared in disbelief. No way, that's a powerful Holy Spirit. Even Patriarch Eli Ashwa was pushed back by the force. Father! Goel shouted frantically. Stop overreacting, Goel, Eli said with a chilly tone. I never claimed there was just one spirit, he added with a sly grin. The Ashwa's main element is water, but that kid used fire to melt the papal gold. I laid a trap, and he picked the right option. Shalak's calm demeanor crumbled into rage. Eli Ashwa, have you lost your mind? How dare you summon me, a king, to the mortal world? Her presence forced the elders to their knees. The room filled with a murderous intent, followed by a raging fire that pushed everyone back. Cast a holy defense spell, the elders cried out in panic. Father, are you trying to burn our place down? Goel shouted over the roaring flames. I didn't summon it, Eli said coolly, gesturing toward the table. That boy did. Goel was stunned. Eli chuckled, entertained. That boy. Isaac was drenched in sweat. Me? I might actually die here. The fire spirit floated regally above the chaos. Isaac was freaking out. I only wanted to summon a mid-tier spirit. How did it end up being king-tier? A wild idea popped into his head. What if I unleash all my holy power? The shadowy figure next to him caught on quickly. A flame that resists magic? Yeah, one that turns mana into holy power. Master, this could be a game-changer. Sure, but how do I get something like this to follow orders? Isaac, arms crossed and uneasy, pondered. A king-tier spirit meant connections to the divine realm. Exactly what he wanted to avoid. That's the infamous Holy Spirit the gods cut ties with, an elder shouted. Eli rubbed his chin. They really criticized its hair color? How trivial. Silence, you insignificant humans. Shalak unleashed a firestorm at the elder, then set his sights on Eli. I'm not the one who summoned you, Eli said, pointing at the baby. He did. Isaac forced a shaky smile. Are you out of your mind? Shalak bellowed. You sacrificed a baby to call me here? Your family's on the decline. But how could you do that to a kid? Isaac immediately started waving his tiny hands and babbling, perfectly playing the innocent baby role. But inside, a sneaky plan was brewing. Strong and hates the divine? I'm definitely going to make you mine. Alright, I'll check it out myself. Shalak growled, thinking if this baby is really my summoner, he'll survive this. She hurled a massive fireball right at the little guy. Eli shouted Isaac's name, reaching out desperately. Shalak sneered, saying she'd rather take him out herself. Smoke and scorched earth filled the scene. As the smoke cleared, there was Isaac, sitting happily and completely unharmed. Now you should be convinced, Eli said confidently. Either make a contract or break it and deal with the penalty. Shalak clenched her teeth, her golden eyes blazing. Penalty? I'll use this chance to destroy the Ashwa lands and finally be free. She pointed at the patriarch, taunting him to just sit and watch his lands burn, but her insult got cut off. Isaac had grabbed the fire spirit's leg, which had shrunk to a doll size. Isaac, that's not food, Eli and the others shouted, rushing over in a panic. This time, Shalak was stunned. You crazy fools, how did you even raise this kid? She screamed as Isaac happily chewed on her arm. I'll back off for now, but I'm definitely getting revenge for this embarrassment. Trying to teleport? Isaac wondered, his eyes glowing red. See you later, losers, Shalak shouted, trying to vanish in a burst of light. The room went dead silent. Isaac casually chewed on the fire spirit doll while his inner voice taunted, "Too bad, huh?" Sherlock was freaking out. She hadn't disappeared. The Skeleton King's demonic energy had her locked down, canceling her magic. "What is this madness?" an elder shouted. "Demonic energy? Oh, that's because he swallowed the Skeleton King's finger," Yahello explained calmly, ignoring his son's shock. Sherlock groaned. As a being of holy light, she was in trouble. "My power, it's fading away. Father, please stop this," Goel begged. "Sorry, can't do that," Eli replied. He addressed the spirit. "Stay in my grandson's body and cleanse the Skeleton King's mana. Do that, and I'll set you free. Refuse, and you'll be consumed." "You maniacs!" Sherlock screamed. "I'd have cut ties ages ago if this wasn't the Saintess family." But she was stuck. She gritted her teeth. "Fine. I'll use this kid to mess with that cursed Skeleton King." Out of nowhere, Isaac pulled her close, his voice ringing in her head. "What did you just say?" "Repeat that." Sherlock, scared out of her mind, turned around. 4 days. "Lock me up with him for exactly 4 days." Eli thought to himself, wishing it could be longer. He shouted out orders. "Open the East Castle gates. Escort Isaac and the spirit inside. No one enters until the purification is done." "But father, the East Castle is," Goel began. Eli cut him off with a stern look that shut everyone up. Isaac was having a blast, chomping down on the spirit. Inside, he was thrilled. His exile spot was right next to the huge Manicore storage. Soon enough, a massive explosion of demonic energy rocked the East Castle. Outside, the servants were buzzing. Young Master Isaac's lost his shot at succession. Is he cursed? Definitely. Crazy rumors flew around that Isaac had turned into a bald old man, or a skinless skeleton. Time flew by in a whirlwind of flames and curses. And then, chaos hit again. A manager dashed through the hallway, ignoring the maid's screams, and flung the heavy door open. "Lord Isaac," she panted. "Are you okay?" Isaac was chilling on the floor, licking a lollipop. The manager whispered, "How strong is this curse that you're still so small?" "I'm staying small on purpose," Isaac replied. Isaac figured that a baby's body was the best vessel for absorbing power. It was his only shot at reaching a new realm. Next to him, Sherlock was in agony. "I have to purify that cursed brat," she hissed with determination. She glanced at Isaac in despair, wondering why he had more mana today when she was so close to finishing him off yesterday. She screamed in frustration, unable to comprehend why the demonic energy kept flowing from him. Isaac smirked to himself, knowing the secret. He'd been absorbing mana from the cores beneath the annex for a decade. After 10 years of hard work, he finally had enough power. Sherlock collapsed from exhaustion, while the dark force inside him celebrated. "Even without formal training, I can now wield level 6 holy magic," he thought triumphantly. "Don't worry, master," the manager assured him. "The Pope is also taking action." Isaac spun around in surprise. "The Pope? She's getting involved?" "They're planning to execute the Skeleton King's 14 minions for threatening the Empire." Isaac was internally freaking out. "Are they nuts? I need those guys." Oblivious to Isaac's panic, the manager gently placed him back in his crib. "Damn swindlers," he muttered to himself. "I have to do something." Somewhere else, a proud nobleman congratulated his son. "Great job, Shuri, the youngest priest to be ordained. I heard the princess herself is coming to your ceremony." "Quite impressive," he added. Shuri, humble yet assured, replied, "It's nothing, father. I'm your son, after all." But before the father could finish his thought, Shuri disappeared in a burst of blue light. "What the? Shuri?" The nobleman was stunned as Shuri screamed, hurtling through the air. He landed with a painful thud on the ground. Looking up, Shuri saw a familiar face peering over a railing. "Hey, Shuri," Isaac taunted, his voice full of malice. "Do you want to die? You again? Still clinging to your lies?" Shuri shot back. "You think getting into the academy is a big deal? You're delusional." Isaac sneered. Shuri cursed silently, knowing Isaac was right about one thing. His achievements were thanks to Isaac's training. "I gave it my all, too. Do you think being top of the class is easy?" Shuri countered, then admitted. "But yeah, without you, it wouldn't have happened. Maybe I should get ready for that too." Isaac mused. Shuri explained that most holy magic required ordination. "You're going to help me, Shuri," Isaac ordered, flying straight at him. Shuri felt a surge of danger and immediately became alert. "How can I assist you?" he asked. Isaac gave a wicked grin. "Hand over everything," he demanded. "The quiz prize money, whatever else you got, all of it." Shuri thought, what a devil. To change the subject, he hugged Isaac and asked, "By the way, what's going on with the Skeleton King's subordinates being killed?" "Ever since the Holy Artifact Vault incident, they've stopped following orders," Isaac explained. "They're just waiting for death, so they're going to be executed." Isaac turned away with determination. "There's no other option. I'm doing it this year." "Doing what?" Shuri wondered. "The priestly ordination." "But you're not even in the academy. How's that possible?" Isaac shot him a glare. "Are you mocking me?" "No," Shuri replied quickly. Shuri hurried to clarify. "You can be ordained with a recommendation letter, but you need achievements to prove you're qualified. Like saving a prominent person's life." Isaac realized he only had a month left and grabbed Shuri by the collar. "The princess will be there, right?" Isaac asked. "Yes, but..." Shuri hesitated. "And she's someone of high social status, isn't she?" Isaac's face twisted into a sinister smile. He had a scheme brewing. Meanwhile, at the Joshua Manor training grounds, a silver-haired man stood with his arms crossed. "Leave," he commanded the guests. "Isaac isn't going to the capital. The female teacher insisted he must attend this year's founding festival. That's where all the saint candidates get ordained." The family stayed indifferent. Even after Isaac's 10-year seclusion, the nobility still buzzed about the miracle he pulled off 17 years ago, eager for his return. The teacher pushed further. Teaching him is my lifelong dream. The ceremony lines up with the princess's birthday. She played her ace. Even the Pope will be there. The family head hesitated. The Pope? Hearing that the Pope himself would grant the hero's title, a massive boost in golden chance, left him speechless. He tried to dodge. Isaac's too young for ordination. But talent doesn't care about age, does it? The female teacher shot back. With her relentless persistence, the family head gave in. All right, do as you please. The teacher celebrated, but the head had a knowing grin. Just remember, you'll be accountable for your words. Meanwhile, Isaac sat smugly on the lap of a weary Shuriashwa. Memories of the mansion explosion came rushing back. A stranger had watched that blaze from a distance, murmuring, "So, it's over there." He recognized the terrifying power that had been unleashed. It was a king tier, magic-resistant Holy Spirit, the one that never became king because of a personality disorder. A dark plan started to take shape. The papal family collected Holy Spirits, and if he managed to steal this one, his position would be solidified. He had a secret weapon, a plant that could neutralize holy power. His plan was to suppress Isaac, trigger the Skeleton King's demonic energy, and then reap the rewards. "This is the room, Professor." The door swung open, and eager guests walked in. Finally, they were face to face with young Master Isaac. One guy commented that Isaac hadn't aged a day in 10 years. Isaac looked up with his innocent red eyes and grinned. "Welcome, my letters of recommendation," he said. The teachers clutched their chests, smitten. "Oh, my heart." Only the family head wasn't impressed, glaring at the child. "How dare you try to charm me, you cunning brat," he thought. Isaac decided to make a move. He pushed holy power into the man, hoping to trigger the Skeleton King's energy. "Come on, lose control," he urged. But nothing happened. Isaac rubbed his head against the man's chest, pretending to be innocent, while panic started to creep in. "Why isn't there any reaction? I used enough power." The fire spirit on his head just snapped. "Hey kid, just take out that priest already." The guy grinned, thinking, "A Kingter spirit, this is my shot." He gripped a handkerchief in his pocket that gave off a dark aura. Isaac casually reached for a cloth to wipe his sweat, but froze when he caught a whiff of it. No way. Did he just walk into a trap? Suddenly, the fire spirit started coughing violently. She clutched her neck as her sacred energy went haywire. Dark power burst out from her. Sherlock screamed, totally losing it. "It's out of control. Watch out, Professor." The mastermind shattered a magic ring. Now's the moment. A fireball appeared in his hand, ready for the Sever Pain spell. He hurled the destructive blast at the spirit, pretending it was for containment. Sherlock cried out in pain as the flames consumed her. Isaac just smirked. "You really think that's gonna work?" The butler and manager rushed in. "Isaac, young master!" The audience has gathered. "That's good enough." Isaac glanced at the energy orb in his hand and closed his eyes. The chaotic demonic energy rushed toward the crib, filling the room and making everyone step back in shock. Wait, is young Master Isaac actually absorbing all that demonic energy? Isaac's eyes flew open, glowing with crimson light. With a snap of his fingers, he took control. The demonic energy was handled. He signaled to the spirit, telling her to chill out too. A wave of pure blue sacred energy wrapped around the fire spirit, instantly calming her down. Blue sacred energy? The butler and manager were both stunned. Floating in the air, Sherlock's flames went out as she calmed down. She looked at herself, shocked by the power that had just subdued her. The teachers were thrilled. He managed the Skeleton King's energy and calmed the spirit. The butler looked at Isaac, his voice shaking. "It's a miracle, Isaac." Tears welled up in his eyes. "You've finally spoken. I'm so proud." Inside, Kim Yasak was irritated. "Seriously? That's what they're focused on." The crowd cheered, clueless about the boy's real plans. Meanwhile, the observer collapsed, frustrated. "How did this ever happen?" Sherlock hovered above, dripping with sarcasm. "Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing, loyal minion." Her eyes burned with intensity. "Who's pulling the strings here? Mastermind? No, you've got it wrong. I just came to see young Master Isaac." Decked out in fireproof gear, a necklace, and bracelets, Sherlock finally lost it. "Say misunderstanding one more time," she roared. "From now on, all fire spirits are cutting ties with the papal family." She shot a smirk at the guy. "Don't get it twisted. I just can't stand your face." The observer freaked out. "Wait, how can a spirit just break a divine covenant? Those rules are supposed to be unbreakable." Kim Yasak just grinned. Sherlock dismissed the observer with a crushing blow. "Get lost." She turned to Isaac. "You saved me and managed to control the Skeleton King's energy. I'll stick around and return the favor." Sherlock had walked right into his trap. The teachers nodded in agreement. "We need to head back to the Holy See and report this." The plan was a total success. Kim Yasak couldn't hide his devious grin. Ashwa showed up at the Patriarch's office. Ashwa announced that the Holy See had approved Isaac's ordination. "That quick? Because you saved the Inquisitors?" Raya asked. "No, it's because he has a king-tier Holy Spirit." Eli waved a paper. "More importantly, I tested Isaac. He aced all 1,600 questions." Raya was at a loss for words. Despite his lousy attitude, he sighed. The kid's got no flaws. Eli nodded and said they just needed to check the personality test, the one that forces honesty. Raya read the first response. "Family conquers its mind." They laughed at first, but the second answer killed their humor. "Ambition. Behead all gods." Raya crumpled the paper after reading the last answer. "Goal. Destroy this country." Eli's voice dropped to a serious tone. Only they knew about this. Raya trembled at the thought. If he retakes this test, he'll be executed for heresy. Eli slammed the table in frustration. Accept the ordination in his place. Don't let Isaac leave the house. We need to focus on his education at home. In his room, Isaac clutched his luggage as a shadowy voice asked, Master, have you decided? Of course, he replied. Grinning, he slung his belongings over his shoulder, ready to run away from home. At the Roman Imperial Academy, rumors buzzed in the Holy Magic Department. I heard a 10-year-old is getting ordained, someone whispered. Nigel Seaford, a redhead, sneered at the news. Who does this kid think he is? He can barely walk, he scoffed. Turning to his classmates, he added, he hasn't grown an inch in 10 years, cursed by the Skeleton King. Don't you agree, Shuri? He asked, but Shuri, a blonde, stayed silent. It's probably just for show, another student suggested, trying to calm things down. The brown-haired friend let out a sigh of relief, but inside, he was fuming. That annoying jerk. Nigel sneered. Must be nice living in the Saintess's house. Even an unqualified kid gets to be a priest. His brown-haired friend slammed the table, screaming internally. This guy just won't quit. A cold voice interrupted from the doorway. You're underestimating the Holy See's priests, Nigel Seaford. Keena Barrett emerged from the shadows with a smirk. And by the way, it was your father, Duke Ryan Seaford, who accepted Isaac's nomination. Didn't think you'd be dumb enough to insult your own family. Nigel spun around. Shut up. You're not even a student. Why are you causing trouble? Keena replied calmly. I was invited as an advisor in Holy Magic, for your graduating class. Nigel and his friends froze in shock. Keena turned to Shuri. I'm worried about you too, Shuri. Since Isaac is cursed and can't become a priest, let's hope the Ashwa family holds out until you become patriarch. Shuri stood there, speechless, anger boiling at the thought of being just a placeholder. Keena smiled, trying to hold back. Not yet, he thought. I don't need your help, Shuri growled. He turned away, storming off. Mind your own damn business. In the luxurious dormitory, Shuri slammed a book to the floor. Those bastards! How dare they mock me? He paced the empty room, seething. My family doesn't even care about my ordination because of that runaway, useless punk. He clutched his head in frustration. He should just go bald like the Skeleton King. A small figure emerged from a suitcase, eyes blazing. What did you just say? Shuri panicked. Hair loss? Are you trying to get yourself killed? I came to be ordained, Kim Yusuk explained, brushing himself off. My uncle and the patriarch wouldn't allow it, so I ran away. He held a strange object, his expression changing as he set it aside. Look at you, getting sloppy. Letting that trash from the Pope's family call you a servant. Shuri tried to protest. Shut up. An invisible force knocked Shuri to the ground. Yusuk lunged, unleashing a flurry of punches and kicks. How dare he disrespect the Ashwa family? Ashwa is mine. Only I have the right to insult and destroy them. Standing over his flattened cousin, Yusuk declared, Remember this well. I am the one who will burn Ashwa to ashes. Shuri groaned on the floor, pleading for divine intervention. Please, don't let anything happen to that idiot. Yusuk stepped back and commanded. Get up. Lead the way. We're going to confront the jerk who disrespected you. Shuri stumbled after Yusuk into the fancy dining hall. The unfamiliar kid caught everyone's eye. A red-haired girl exclaimed. Wow, his hair color is stunning. Yusuk chuckled slyly, then yelled. Who dared to mess with Ashwa? The red-haired girl turned around. Shuri froze. That's Naki Sefet, Nigel's sister. Panic hit him hard. I need to stop him before the Inquisitors get involved. Bang. Shuri lunged, but it was too late. Yusuk was already perched on Naki's table. Hey, redhead. He pointed accusingly. You bullied Kim Shuri, didn't you? I never bullied Shuri, Naki replied calmly. Nigel did. Yusuk smirked. So you admit it, he said, while Shuri held his head in despair. Suddenly, a shadow murmured to Yusuk. Master, I sense a familiar energy from this girl. A powerful aura exploded around Naki, the energy of one of the 5 supreme gods. Amidst the tension, a voice spoke to the boy. You must be the famous Isaac. Naki Sefet sneers, taunting the cursed child and the Pope's son sitting across from her. She mocks that the Ashwa family will soon be wiped out from the 5 great faiths. Kim Yusuk thinks. Classic high society snobbery. Shuri Ashwa jumps in, frantic. Isaac, don't mix with that red-haired family. Let's just go home. The blonde boy dismisses him. Shut up. I need to be ordained. Naki coldly retorts. You'll never be. Nigel will appeal to the Holy See and get it cancelled. Shuri grits his teeth, silently cursing Naki's brother. Naki adds. Even if Nigel does nothing, your actions are enough to get you cancelled. Behind her, a red-hooded escort whispers. My lady, should I call an Inquisitor? Don't. Shuri shouts in panic. 70% of the Inquisitors are from that red-haired family. Terrified, he grabs Kim Yusuk. Isaac, let's go. Suddenly, a piercing scream makes everyone jump. A massive beast's foot, surrounded by dark purple demonic energy, crashes onto the floor. A gigantic demon beast appears. It's a demon beast! Amidst the chaos, Kim Yusuk grins. This is my insurance. Naki is frozen in shock. Her escort rushes forward. My lady! Bam! The beast slapped the guard so hard he went flying. Then it roared and leaped right over him, charging straight at Naki. She was frozen in shock. It was way too fast. Kim Yusuk waved a toy in the air. Hey, Tilda, hold up! Just before reaching Naki, the beast skidded to a stop, grabbed the toy, and ran back to Yusuk, licking his face like a happy puppy. Finally! Took you long enough, Yusuk muttered. The beast growled, making its powerful presence known. You monster! Naki yelled. Shuri whimpered as Kim Yusuk's eyes glowed red. Get lost, he commanded. The beast wagged its tail, then bolted away, disappearing in an instant. A shadowy figure whispered to Yusuk, "Master, summoning a demon beast just to pretend to chase it away?" Suddenly, white-armored inquisitors stormed in. "Where's the beast?" they demanded. Naki pointed, and the squad leader immediately ordered them to chase after it. An inquisitor approached her. "Are you all right, my lady?" Shuri was stunned. "An inquisitor?" He picked up Kim Yusuk, chuckling. "We'll be on our way." "Hold it. No one's leaving until we finish the investigation," someone ordered. Shuri thought. "We're so busted." We don't know anything," someone nervously said. "Tahor, stop!" Naki shouted. She pointed at the boy. "He saved my life." Kim Yusuk looked dazed as Shuri held him, his expression changing faster than flipping a rice paper. Naki walked over and asked, "Isaac, right?" She blushed awkwardly and said, "I was too harsh. Sorry about that." Then she quickly added, "But don't think I'm grateful or anything," while Shuri started to sweat. People around were confused by the girl's behavior, while someone in the crowd noted, "The rumors about his skills must be true." Nearby, Princess Charlotte Alex Fakella of the Holy Kingdom wondered if this was the baby her brother had mentioned. Meanwhile, at the Ishwa mansion, a voice came through a communication orb asking, "Why refuse, Blue Cardinal? Wouldn't it be good for your grandson to be ordained?" Eli Ishwa interrupted, saying, "Get lost. That's not my concern. My grandson will stay at the Ishwa mansion until he's of age." Eli gritted his teeth at the warning that the child's personality might change. "That's the issue," he thought. The voice from the orb changed tone, saying, "Have you heard about the platinum-haired infant hanging around the academy?" Eli froze and shouted toward the balcony. "Isaac?" Relai jumped up. "Yes, father?" Eli rushed over, grabbed his son, and said, "We're heading to the capital." Relai looked confused. "But it takes a week to get there." Eli glanced at his watch. "We've got 23 hours and 48 minutes, the Blue Cardinal, with a fierce determination, declared. "We'll run." The following day at the academy, Shuri Ishwa banged on the door. "Hey, Isaac, what are you up to?" he asked, leaning against the door in frustration. "Why would a kid with a head as big as yours want a priest's robe? Come on out. Everyone's already inside. They're going to laugh at us." Shuri slid down to the floor, feeling defeated. "I'm done for. Just give up and go home," he pleaded, turning with hands clasped. "I'm begging you." Shuri froze, turning pale with horror. Kim Yasak grinned playfully. You. Let's go, Kim Shuri." The ordination banquet was a serious affair. Candidates sat at tables, whispers echoing around, until a voice commanded everyone to stand. Shuri jumped up. Heavy footsteps announced the arrival of the 5 patriarchs from the great families. Goel Ishwa, the heir apparent, adjusted his collar. "I will be the next patriarch of Ishwa, Blue Cardinal." Out of nowhere, Cardinal Eli Ishwa burst in, asking if he was late. He grabbed Goel and asked if he'd seen Isaac. Goel blinked, saying Isaac should be at home. Relay Ishwa rushed over, out of breath, saying it was too late. She thought Isaac was with Shuri. Just then, the master of ceremonies announced the Pope's arrival. Pope Julio Barayat walked in, radiating authority. He raised his hand to bless Hela. As the Pope settled into his throne, a silver-haired patriarch noticed Isaac was missing as the ceremony kicked off. Shuri held a wine glass, thinking she should feel relieved. Then Isaac Ishwa's name was called. Eli frowned, wondering why they kept calling him when he wasn't there. Right then, Eli spat out his wine. Goel and Relay turned, jaws dropping in shock. Kim Yasak, now a dashing young man, stepped out smiling. Shuri stared, realizing it was Isaac. The whole hall was stunned. Eli crushed his glass in disbelief, while another patriarch jumped up, demanding to know what was happening. The master of ceremonies asked Isaac Ishwa to step forward. The boy walked confidently. Relay ran to the family table, tears of joy streaming down her face. She marveled at how much Isaac had grown, noticing he was wearing the outfit she made. Whispers filled the room. "Isn't he just a baby? Is the curse broken?" Kim Yasak ignored them, flashing a mysterious smile. A red-haired patriarch angrily crushed his armrest. "Skeleton King, what have you done to Isaac?" Eli shouted, worried his grandson was being controlled. "My son never smiles like that." A silver-haired candidate observed the scene thoughtfully. Could the Ishwa family curse have vanished? He wondered if it might actually be a blessing. Kim Yasak approached the throne where Pope Julio Barayat sat, sizing him up. "Is this guy really the Pope?" The energy coming from him was intense. A wild thought crossed Kim Yasak's mind. Should I just take him out right now? Eli and Relay Ishwa were horrified. Eli panicked, thinking, "I have to stop this." He pushed the red-haired patriarch, causing chaos. "Oops, my hand slipped." Another patriarch jumped up, exclaiming, "Ah, a cockroach!" The brown-haired patriarch looked shocked. "Are you crazy? It was as big as my head," the other insisted. "Silence," the priest commanded, trying to restore order. "Next, Shuri Ishwa stepped forward," he announced. Yasak scratched his head, annoyed by the weight. From his throne, Pope Julio Barayat watched the proceedings in silence. On his throne, Pope Julio Barayat watched in silence. The priest announced the next phase, an audience with the gods. Up on the balcony, Goel Ishwa was all smiles as he looked at his son. As the Holy Grail was brought out, the threat of excommunication loomed over everyone. Eli reassured his son that a supreme blue god would definitely appear. Relay clasped his hands, hoping it wouldn't be an evil god. "If it is, we'll destroy it," Eli said, grabbing Relay's collar as he stammered. "Destroy what exactly, Yasak?" Eli watched as Shuri approached the Grail. Why would they destroy the child? In the hallway, Shuri pricked his finger. A drop of blood fell, stirring the water and releasing a blue stream of power. A brilliant pillar of light surrounded him. Goel Ishwa proudly declared that a blue high god had descended for his son. Yisak watched with a cold expression. So, the Ashwa family gets a god of light. A pathetic god of integrity and purity, he thought, raising his bleeding finger. Any god that meets me will just be a bother. He let his blood fall. The high priest froze. What is this? The water turned murky, then pitch black. A torrent of demonic energy burst forth from the grail. Relay and Eli just stood there, speechless. Well, Eli was stammering a bit. Out of the smoke came this massive skeletal figure. Eli yelled, "Is that the Skeleton King?" The thing towered over the hall, oozing death vibes. It collapsed, eyes blazing red with wild power. Yisak just stared up, totally confused. Eli, eyes bloodshot, started gathering blue energy. "Die!" he shouted, charging forward. But the Skeleton King was quicker. Chains shot out from the shadows, wrapping around Yisak. A dark voice echoed, "I've been waiting for the saint." "What?" Eli shouted. "I'm going to destroy this holy nation." The Skeleton King bellowed, starting with this one. Trapped in chains, Yisak thought, what's his deal? His shadow entity yelled in his head. "He looks just like I used to. How gross. Who is this wannabe?" It glared angrily, thinking, "My master is even more pathetic than this." The High Priest and Red Patriarch teamed up, firing yellow and red magic at the enemy. Eli braced himself against the shockwave. "Stay back." His eyes turned red as he formed a blue orb. A massive serpent of holy power was unleashed, striking at the Skeleton King. The king faced the serpent with total calm. The leader of the blue clan is stuck with a curse that limits his power. It's probably best if he just stays put. Off to the side, the Silver Patriarch let out a sigh. He really didn't want to get involved. The whole place might come crashing down. Suddenly, his eyes glowed with a menacing red. "You talk too much," he growled, releasing a massive wave of blue energy. The Skeleton King just twisted his lips into a creepy grin. He grabbed a terrified Kim Yisak, using him as a human shield. "Want to see this little saint bite the dust?" Kim Yisak screamed in panic. "That's exactly what I'm asking." A bystander screamed as the energy serpent struck. "Your grandson's in danger." Eli Ashwa just gave a cold smile. "A saint won't die from this." Kim Yisak got caught in the whirlwind, screaming, "I'm gonna die." A massive explosion erupted, bathing everything in blue light. Gol Ashwa ducked, covering his head as the chaos unfolded. The Skeleton King was swallowed up by the energy. The sanctuary turned into a wasteland of ruins. Through the haze, Gol Ashwa looked at the blast zone. "Did it get him?" A nobleman gasped in shock. "Oh my god, the Skeleton King is back! He vanished after cursing the Joshua family 70 years ago." "No," a firm voice interrupted the Kim. Yisak, covered in dirt but unharmed, growled, "That guy's a total fake." Eli Ashwa spun around, surprised. "Isaac, are you okay?" Whispers spread. Shuri Ashwa looked at the boy, confused. "Didn't the king call him a saint?" The patriarch knelt to comfort Shuri, while the crowd believed the Skeleton King was gone for good. Kim Yisak looked up with sharp eyes, declaring, "There's no way it's dead." "That was just an illusion," he added. A shadowy figure appeared behind him, whispering, "A shadow clone. Can you feel it?" Kim Yisak clenched his fist, thinking, "It used my mana. Did my mana core drop somewhere?" He smirked darkly. "If that fake has it, even better. I'll just kill it and take it back." Eli Ashwa stood there, lost in thought, remembering his battle with the Skeleton King years ago. Nearby, Pope Julio Berra thought, "If I hadn't attacked, he would have killed Isaac too." In the memory, the Pope comforted a crying Shuri Ashwa. "But why?" the child sobbed. The Pope's mind wandered further back, to the greatest god his family had served for millennia, the one above the 5 supreme gods. Shuri grabbed him just in time. He almost picked that kid from the Joshua family. The memory faded as the Pope watched Eli Ashwa walk away. In the ruins, Eli Ashwa made his way to Kim Yisak. "Isaac, let's head home," Eli said, reaching out his hand. Out of nowhere, he clutched Kim's head with a creepy smile. "My grandson beat the curse like a champ. Grandpa's getting you candy?" Eli leaned in close, making Kim flinch inside. "Feels like he's leading me to my doom," he thought. "Duke," a chilling voice interrupted. The silver-haired guy stepped up. "I don't think Isaac should leave just yet." The ground trembled as dark energy burst forth. Terrifying monsters roared from the ruins. Surrounded, Eli Ashwa calmly remarked, "We've still got some business here." Nearby priests looked on in despair. "There's nothing we can do now, Patriarch." Kim Yisak smirked. "I don't think we should hurry back," he said, moving toward the shocked youth. The youth snarled, "Arrogant jerk. You think you're a saint just because I'll show you who the real saint is." Holy energy gathered in Kim's hand. He thrust his hand forward. Purification. Divine light engulfed them, incinerating the beasts. The Patriarch was amazed, saying it had been a century since he'd seen such pure light. But a priest with glasses questioned why a cleansing spell was used instead of an attack. The beasts weren't dead. They were just knocked out. Kim Yisak thought back to the woman who taught him, realizing Selak was his only source for learning holy arts. Once the purification holy art hits level 6 though, a sly grin spread across his face. It starts dealing damage over time in a large area, making the demonic beasts scream and thrash around. A silver-haired youth stepped in his way, telling him to move since his arts couldn't destroy them. He believed even a once-in-a-century talent couldn't go beyond level 5. He confidently told him, "You're no match for me. Just watch." But then, the sphere of holy power in his hand just crumbled away. Kim Yisak chuckled, advising him to target multiple areas with his attacks. The youth spun around, frustrated, asking if he knew anything about the monster's crazy regeneration. Yisak's laughter drowned out his words. Crossing his arms, he mocked, "Kid, you don't know a thing. Those are just decoys." He looked over the ruins, wondering where the core was. Blue divine power flowed from his palm, sweeping through the room. There it is. He locked onto a tiny, glowing bug. The silver-haired guy frowned. Seriously, just a bug? Yusak didn't hesitate, stabbing it with a pin. Dark energy burst out, knocking the youth to the ground. Yusak grinned, holding up the bug's remains. It slowly poisons humans. At the same time, the other students dropped, bodies twitching. The silver-haired youth gasped, remembering the enemy's warning. That skeleton wants to destroy the holy nation. Yusak's smile was wicked, and these students are its future. While priests barked orders in the chaos, Yusak watched calmly, until a golden light swept through the hall. His eyes went wide. Wait, purifying them all at once. Dark energy hovered around. The shadowy figure whispered, Master, this is our chance. Yusak grinned, you're a genius. Pope Julio Barrett raised his staff. A brilliant light filled the room, soaking up the toxins. Yusak and the youth stared, shocked. The Pope smiled kindly. Don't worry about the poison. Useless old fools, Kim Yusak muttered, his plan in ruins. A heavy stomp shook the ground. A massive wolf demon appeared. You dare defy the great king? It roared desperate. I'll drag you to the grave with me. Yusak's red eyes gleamed. An invisible force suddenly slammed into the beast, knocking it back. The wolf was stunned by the sheer power. As it was thrown back, it caught Yusak's voice dripping with disdain, like it was no big deal. During the cleanup, a silver-haired youth couldn't take his eyes off Yusak. Yusak had just driven away a demon with nothing but a look. The youth clenched his fists, thinking, no way. He grabbed a student passing by, saying that only the Pope should have that kind of power. Meanwhile, news about the Skeleton King spread like wildfire, causing chaos. At a high council meeting, Pope Julio addressed an issue with the holy water vessel, saying they were investigating. A patriarch questioned if it was due to outsiders. Only partly, the truth was revealed. The holy dragon's barrier was losing its strength. Over at the Joshua mansion, Kim Yusak read the paper, noting the invasion had weakened the barrier. Since the dragon is linked to the royals, the papacy dodged any blame. Smart kid. My grandson reads so well. A surprised voice said, as his uncle clapped without sincerity. Congrats on your ordination, nephew, Reliashwa said with a smile. Our Isaac can finally read the Skeleton King's cursed letter. The door flew open, and Blue Cardinal Eliashwa walked in, looking serious. Good, you're both here. Isaac, could you step out for a bit? We need to chat in private. As Kim Yusak exited, Eli jumped right in. He activated Divine Art Level 3, sealing the room in absolute silence. Relly questioned if the soundproofing was really necessary. Go looked puzzled too. Is this about Isaac? Eli's expression turned serious. During the ordination, I suspect Isaac was marked by an evil god. He let that sink in. It was no ordinary event. That symbol was unprecedented. Only the Pope and the Cardinal of Gold witnessed it, and the Pope even tried to kill him. Unless it was an evil god, why else would he do that? Go mumbled. If it wasn't an evil god. Suddenly he had a thought. Could it be a symbol of the Golden Faith? The Golden Faith? Relly exclaimed. Go explained. They're all about purity. They wouldn't ignore the Ashwa family summoning one of their gods. Eli agreed. It might even be a god they've never summoned before. Isaac definitely did it. Relly insisted. But Go shot him down. No way. Use a holy relic to lure Shuri. Eli instructed. Go, look into the papal family. If things go well, Shuri gets a reward, and Isaac will be closely monitored until his internship kicks off. Eli tightened his grip, thinking if Isaac messes up, it's back to the trial of faith. They all had a sudden vision of a creepy dark priest. Betrayal, exile. We can't let that happen, no matter what. Eli said through clenched teeth, you'll start your internship soon. Relly was rambling about the past when Isaac cut him off, saying it sounded like military service. A trainee whispered seriously, give it your all. This evaluation decides your future. Oh right, Isaac responded. Go grinned and asked if Isaac was interested in the ritual of sacrifice. Isaac smirked darkly, saying he was, especially when it came to the Skeleton King's followers. I'm thrilled to see your faith growing. Let me explain the ritual. Go started a long-winded explanation, losing himself in his own beliefs. Isaac looked bored, thinking Go seemed really happy. He quietly told the demon next to him that those low-level gods better start praying because he's going to tear them apart. Go completely misunderstood and laughed. Isaac wants to handle things himself. That fighting spirit is impressive. The team with the highest score gets the honor of execution. Good luck, Shuri. When he heard group project, Isaac froze. His face turned pale with fear. Go gave him a reassuring pat on the shoulder. I hope you get what you're aiming for. Yes, uncle, Isaac replied stiffly. With no other options, he flashed a bright smile. I'll take out the other teams and then rescue my subordinates. Seeing that innocent smile, Go felt relieved. How could a kid like this become a dark priest? Out of nowhere, a guy asked. By the way, Isaac, which god appeared to you during the ordination? Isaac froze. In his mind, a dark priest yelled. Destruction. An unpleasant symbol, Isaac finally said. Made me want to puke. The men turned pale. An evil god, Go whispered. They quickly backed off. It's fine, faith isn't something I care about. Isaac shrugged. When he heard the cardinal wanted to meet, he frowned. What's that guy want now? Isaac Ashwa, Raya called out, staring at the defiant boy. Suddenly, the door burst open. Kina Barrett stood there, eyes sharp. I have something to say to you. Kina Barrett stood there, eyes sharp. I've got something to tell you. Raya and the brown-haired guy watched nervously as Kina got closer. Kina grabbed Isaac's hand. Leaning in, she said, I thought you were useless, Isaac. I'm serious. Isaac clenched his teeth. Are you nuts? You looking for a fight? Kina grinned. I know you've been hiding for a decade, training hard to keep your skills sharp. The consecration ceremony showed you have incredible talent. Isaac looked horrified. I'm starting to get scared. This guy really is nuts. Kina reached out his hand. Train with me under my grandpa. We'll jump straight into the pro scene. Take my hand, Isaac. We'll take down the Skeleton King in front of everyone and lead this empire together. The brown-haired guy was shocked. Is this the papal family's new way of bullying? No, he seems too serious. The offer's too good to be true. Isaac slapped Kina's hand away. Get lost. Kina was stunned. But the brown-haired guy just chuckled. Yep, he's always been a lunatic. Kina tried to push the offer again, but Isaac shut him down. I don't care. He pointed at the brown-haired guy. If you really want to bring something along, take him. He's on a whole different level than you. The brown-haired dude was fuming quietly. Kina lost his cool. You've got insane talent, enough to scare off a demon with just a look. A shadowy figure whispered to Isaac. I bet this guy just wants to learn my technique. Makes me want to teach it even less. Isaac shoved Kina away. Get out of here. Just thinking about the Pope's lessons makes me nauseous. Kina was stunned. Did you just say my grandpa is so gross he makes you want to puke? Absolutely. I felt like chopping his head off right then. A hand suddenly covered Isaac's mouth. The force of the arrival made Raya and the others stumble. My grandson is occupied. An authoritative voice boomed. Eliashua, the blue cardinal, lifted the boy onto his shoulder. Stop hanging around him. Kina shouted as Isaac was taken away. If you hang out with him, that trash's nature will rub off on you. Eli growled, tightening his hold. Left behind, Kina could only stand there, completely shocked. Draped over his shoulder, Kim Yisak harbored a venomous vow. Those Ashwa scum, he thought, I'll wipe out your entire family. Up next was a new challenge, the pentagonal test. This ordeal was overseen by cardinals from the 4 great faiths, white, gold, blue, and Kim. Yisak steeled himself. I have to pass this test and become a priest, no matter what it takes. Putting on his trainee uniform, he asked, Are my teammates here? He quickly realized that groups were formed based on family ties, designed to spark factional conflict. Nearby, Shuri Ashwa was bragging loudly about assembling a team of friends. Yisak smirked as he pushed the door open. I'll whip them into shape, then go save my crew. He grinned, sensing a presence. He's here. But instead, a voice commanded the crowd. Tie that guy up. Before Yisak could react, he was surrounded. We heard you're the one who bullied Shuri. 2 ringleaders sneered. Think of this as a little game. You'll die if you tell Shuri. Yisak crossed his arms. Trouble. A teenager held out a baby rattle, mocking. Consider this a social gathering. The group erupted in mocking laughter. They say he's still a baby, so it must be true. The rattle smacked right into the teenager's face. The blue-haired leader was shocked as his friend hit the ground, bleeding all over. The group freaked out, yelling, What the heck? This guy's nuts. Yisak calmly picked up the toy, saying, What's important is that we get closer. He grinned wickedly as the rattle pulsed with dark energy. So let's all get really close, okay? Amidst the panicked screams, Yisak held up the rattle like it was some kind of holy punishment tool. Shuri and Ashwa just stared, unable to believe what they were seeing. Isaac was perched on top of a human pyramid. Ashwa, confused, asked, Isaac, is this what you call a social gathering? The people crushed at the bottom cried out, Shuri, help us! He's your brother! Shuri blushed and stammered, Thanks for hanging out with my little brother. Then he shouted in frustration, What are you thinking? Unity is the goal. Unity? Yisak replied, acting all innocent. Can't you see them making a pyramid? That's unity right there. They're only giving in because of your power, you maniac! Shuri yelled. Yisak just ignored him and handed over a piece of paper. Whatever. Check this out. Shuri glanced at the list, completely stunned. Yisak pointed out that these guys have been leeching off you for 7 years. The purple-haired guy protested, saying their family has nothing to offer. Yisak interrupted, eyes glowing red, asking if he's really sure about that. He pointed out that their limbs and organs are still in good shape. With a cold smile, Yisak said he doesn't want anything special, just a fair trade. He insisted they work together diligently and loyally, flashing a savage grin. Got it? A shaky voice replied. Understood. With that, the social gathering ended, and the thugs scattered like a disturbed beehive. A brown-haired young man chased after Yisak, worried about failing the assessment since unity is key. Yisak reassured him, saying he has a plan and to follow him. Yisak eagerly opened a large cabinet. Inside, they found a candidate tied up and gagged, eyes wide with fear. Tada! Yisak exclaimed. The brown-haired guy grabbed Yisak by the collar, calling him crazy. He pointed out that the tied-up guy is a teammate, their uncle's son, and mentioned a letter. Yisak calmly responded. I hereby withdraw from the position of spy, the letter said, leaving them frozen. Yisak removed the gag. The brown-haired man knelt before the traitor, asking if it was Nigel. The captive broke down in tears, apologizing. He said he had no choice but to sabotage the Ashwa team with unreasonable demands, knowing Shuri would agree to them. Then the final bombshell dropped. Nigel had ordered them to attack Isaac as a twisted welcome. Yisak's eyes flashed with a deadly intent. Yisak realized that attacking him wasn't enough for Nigel. Now, Nigel's trying to take out his subordinates. It's time for Yisak to teach him a lesson. A few days later, a shout echoed through a lavish mansion. You can't handle it anymore? Nigel Suffet was yelling at one of his subordinates. What's so difficult about being a spy? Why is everyone quitting? We just had a social event. The subordinate was shaking. I couldn't deal with it. Nigel, fuming, dismissed him with a wave. Whatever. Just get out of my sight. A female subordinate tried to calm him. Don't worry. The Ishwa team still has 3 members loyal to us. If they switch sides, the team is finished. Nigel chewed on his nails, frustrated. That kid is really getting under my skin. I should have taken him out ages ago. Even Nigel's father showed interest in Yiziak, which only made Nigel more irritated. Invite him to my house? Don't make me laugh. Nigel jumped up, declaring today was the day everything would change. He walked forward confidently, convinced the Asura team was about to be shown the door. All the candidates gathered in the Pentagon of Unity. As the supervisor droned on about the importance of teamwork, Yiziak stifled a yawn. But when he caught that the first criterion was voting, he froze in place. Nigel stood there with his arms crossed. The rule was brutal. If even one person voted against keeping the team, the entire team was done for. Nigel had it all figured out. The spies he planted in the green team would guarantee their downfall. Yiziak caught on to the scheme as Nigel gave a sly grin. The supervisor spoke up, ready to reveal the results. Her eyes locked onto the list. Green team. Nigel, full of confidence, announced that the team would be unanimously maintained. The supervisor confirmed, saying they had passed the Pentagon of Unity test. Yiziak turned around, grinning victoriously. A panicked voice called out from behind. Isaac, wait for me. His teammate caught up, asking how they managed a unanimous pass. Yiziak reminded him about the Cardinal of Gold who wanted to meet him. He said he demanded a golden elixir first, and after getting it, he used it to strike a deal. The teammate was shocked. You gave it to them before the vote? Yiziak paused, with a sinister grin. No worries. I trust my crew. His teammate felt a flicker of hope. Could he finally be turning into a real cleric? But desperate screams shattered that hope. The bullies were squirming on the ground. We did everything you wanted, they pleaded, crawling and begging for an antidote. Yiziak played dumb. Antidote? Never heard of it. He gave a thumbs up. I trust they won't betray me. Was it poison? His teammate cried out in despair. Nah, I gave them a genuine golden elixir, Yiziak said calmly. It's 93% flour, a bit of laxative, and a speck of gold dust. Time for them to pay for draining Shuri dry. Please, we passed your test, the bullies begged. Alright, I'll keep my word. Now, where did I put it? Yiziak cheerfully held up a package. Ah, here it is. His teammate froze. This lunatic, that's a used diaper. As one of the bullies crawled toward it, Shuri Ashwa screamed in horror. Suddenly, Nigel Seffet burst through the door. Give me back my subordinates, you jerk! I don't know how you bribed them. But then his subordinates morphed into demons, turning on their former boss. Shuri rushed to stop them, while Yiziak cursed the interference. Yiziak glanced down at Nigel, who looked completely shocked. I heard you said humans crave immense power in critical moments. Nigel clenched his jaw. You're mistaken. Survival is their main concern. Nobody can escape death. Yiziak grinned, his red eyes glowing ominously. Nigel started sweating nervously. This can't be happening. The intense aura overwhelmed him. Are those really human eyes? Over at the Holy See, a high-ranking cleric was at his desk. Come in. 7 days just to meet an apprentice? Annoying. The aide entered hesitantly. Your Eminence, Isaac refuses to come. He also said to send a massive chunk of gold next time. The Cardinal of Gold exploded in anger. A deadly aura filled the room. Bring that fool to me immediately. Meanwhile, Nigel Seffet was storming down the hallway, fuming. He stopped when he saw a group of strangers. Why are you hanging around the dormitory? The group's leader replied nervously, cursing his luck for encountering the House of Red. Yiziak showed up. Why are you late? I need supplies for the tea party. The servants quickly played along, stumbling over their excuses. Nigel froze, realizing he was caught in yet another act. As he turned to leave, Nigel unleashed a wave of hellfire, engulfing everything. Someone screaming out of pure desperation. Nigel stands over the charred remains, glaring at Yiziak. I've got a message for you. Nigel Seffet sneers, his aura tinged with divine power. How about a little faith trial? Shuri Ashwa is freaking out. No way. He'll end up burned at the stake, and worst case scenario, the whole family gets wiped out. Nigel adjusts his red sash. I've got something that reacts the moment you touch it. Use this. A cold voice suddenly commands from the shadows. It's Isaac Ashwa. Cardinal Barrett looms over Nigel. You ignored my summons just to play games? The Cardinal's face contorts with anger. Do you think I'm a joke? He grabs Nigel by the collar. Do you take me for a fool? Nigel freezes. Cardinal Barrett, I didn't expect anyone from the House of Red to mess with my servants. Nigel mutters, glancing at Kim Yisak. Damn, he's with Barrett? I apologize, Your Eminence, Kim Yisak says, placing a hand on his chest, acting all innocent. Young Master Nigel here wouldn't let me associate with the House of Gold, so I couldn't reply in time. Nigel's jaw hits the floor. When did I ever say that? He thought, trying to fix the mess. Why would a cardinal call a trainee? That's against the rules. Kim Yisak quickly covered his mouth and murmured something to the cardinal, then grinned. Well, this is getting interesting. The cardinal shot a cold glare at Nigel. Third son of the House of Red, it seems you've got too much time on your hands. I've ignored your antics out of respect for your father, but no more. No, wait, that's not it, Barrett declared. I'll be giving your team extra duties from the Sanctized. Nigel groaned in despair. Then the cardinal told Isaac, come to my quarters. Your Eminence, I'm sorry, Kim Yisak replied smoothly, but I need to meet the Cardinal of Red first. He's called for me too. That obvious lie left Nigel stunned. The Cardinal of Red summoned you? Barrett asked, skeptical. That's right, Yisak replied cheerfully. Nigel started sweating. I never told him about the summons. How does he know? Barrett's going to think less of me. I need to escape this situation. In a panic, Nigel threw an arm around Yisak's shoulder. Exactly. I came here to get Isaac myself. I'll take him. The cardinal shot Nigel a look so cold it made him shiver. You have other plans? Fine, go, Barrett said, waving him off. As he walked away, he grumbled. But since you've troubled the House of Gold, expect more work starting tomorrow. Nigel was silently fuming. He tried to calm down, but when he turned around, Kim Yisak was gone. Where'd that guy go? Nigel shouted. A nearby candidate pointed down the hall, saying, he went to sleep. Claims he needs to sleep early to grow taller. Nigel clenched his jaw. It's only 2 in the afternoon. He banged on the door, but inside Kim Yisak was sound asleep, totally ignoring the racket. 3 days later, the only noise in the hall was the squeak of a mop. Nigel Suffet scrubbed the floor, muttering, Isaac Ashwa, I'll get you for this. He collapsed, yelling, how is it fair to clean for 18 hours a day? All he could do was complain to his dad through the communication orb about his own failures. I need to bring that kid to my father. Nigel decided. I'll catch him in the prayer room. 6 hours ticked by. He was about to lose it when a teammate barged in asking, what are you doing? We still have work to do. As Nigel was pulled away, he shouted, wait, I need to see Isaac. But then he stopped in his tracks. Off in the distance, Kim Yisak was watching, grinning and waving as his rival was dragged away in frustration. Yisak chuckled. Another candidate walked up, teasing, that's harsh. Did you come just to mess with him? It's entertaining. Yisak replied. The shadowy figure asked why they needed the Cardinal of Red. Yisak explained, because Cardinal Barrett will never grant us the king rank. The talent ranking stretched from the irreplaceable king down to the useless skeleton. The shadow cursed. If Barrett gives us skeleton rank, we're done for. He just wants me gone. Then his companion dropped a bombshell. Your mom was once engaged to Cardinal Barrett. Yisak froze, realizing his dad had stolen the Cardinal's bride-to-be. He winced as his shadowy companion peeked out from a paper bag. Team up with the Cardinal of Red to keep Barrett in check, his friend suggested. The plan was straightforward. Help Barrett's group pass the Red Faction's test to form a silent alliance. Yeah, this could work, Yisak thought. Suddenly, a bloody hand clamped over him. His teammate. He turned, totally confused. Wait, what did you just say? Isaac sat alone in the quiet prayer room. In this grand chamber, the Cardinal of Gold heard a knock and a loud entry. Suddenly, the door burst into flames. Yisak stepped out from the smoke. Hello, kidnapper. How's life treating you? He sneered. You pretend to be classy, yet you send people to abduct me. You insolent brat. We need to talk. Oh, I'm sure. Yisak interrupted. You call me here because I've been ignoring you, said Isaac Joshua. The Cardinal, with a serious tone, said, I want to adopt you into the Golden family. Yisak was taken aback. Adopted? His anger flared up. Is this some game? A plot to take down the Joshua family? No tricks. The Cardinal assured. Leave the Joshuas. Join the Barretts. He continued. Yisak grew suspicious. Is this because that fake skeleton king called me a saint? He brushed it off. What do I get if I become your son? The Cardinal smirked. A brat trying to negotiate? We'll give you everything the Joshua family can't. Yisak laughed with disdain. The Joshua family lacks nothing, he said. I hear they're trying to keep you locked up. Yisak tensed up. The Cardinal's voice echoed as an image of a kneeling acolyte appeared. The Vatican's all about restraint, but the Golden family? Not so much. They're backing whatever you want to do. Yisak squinted. Not good enough. Unless you make me the next head of the Barrett family. The Cardinal hesitated. You were aiming for sainthood, and now you want the papacy too? Joining my faction would be smart. I'm with the Vatican no matter what. Offer territory, gold, tax breaks, and status. Yisak finally nodded. I'll think about it. Great. Let's get started right away. Hold on. Don't let the Joshua family know yet. Okay. Yisak smirked. I'll keep it to myself. Down the hall, another candidate froze, overhearing it all. He yelled. The Cardinal's shadow loomed over him. He crumpled, shaking, then scrambled to his feet. I didn't hear anything, he shrieked, running away. The Cardinal watched him leave, unfazed, then walked off coldly. Yisak's opinion didn't matter. I only said I'd think about it, Yisak argued. Never said I'd join. Isaac replied with a smug grin. Even if I die, I won't join the papal family. Even if you die? The Cardinal pushed. Exactly. The Cardinal clenches his teeth, furious at the boy's defiance. You're just like your mother, he sneers. From how you look to how you talk. He threatens that one word from him could excommunicate Isaac and ruin his future. He grabs Isaac by the collar, growling. You know this, yet you still dare to speak like that? Isaac, unfazed, just grins. Then I'll make a country that doesn't need priests or popes. Why have 2 leaders? It'll be my country, no matter what. The Cardinal is taken aback, stuttering. You? What are you? Isaac's mood shifts to cheerful. To beat the Skeleton King, you need guts like this, right? He smiles casually. Let's pretend I never heard your adoption offer. It's better for you too. As the Cardinal restrains him, Isaac leans in, whispering. But thanks to you, I'm even more curious now. What happened at the investiture ceremony? What made them want to adopt the direct heir of a rival family? The question hits the Cardinal like a sledgehammer. Isaac stepped back with a victorious grin, thinking about how the Empire's people must be buzzing with curiosity. Maybe. Meanwhile, over at the Joshua mansion, someone couldn't believe their ears. He actually passed the 5-point unison. Unbelievable. Eli Yeshua shouted in frustration. Why on earth did Isaac pull that off? He was supposed to fail. He turned away, grumbling under his breath. Damn it. Seems like my faith isn't as strong as I thought. He dropped to his knees, feeling utterly defeated. Lifting the sacred chalice, he began to pray. He praised God, his Lord, before his anger surged again. Get out, my grandson. Just get out. Benjamin Joshua, the second son, stood there, baffled by the scene. Rely, what went down with the family while I was gone? He let out a sarcastic chuckle. Since when did they start using the Vatican's faith to throw curses? When someone asked if Isaac was causing trouble, Rely Yeshua jumped to his defense. The kid's super nice, innocent, polite, and smart. He tried to explain, even as their father kept muttering curses. I think Dad's just overly worried about his grandson. It's great that a kid with potential for inheritance has shown up, Benjamin thought, but something about it makes me uneasy. Eli still couldn't wrap his head around it. Why hadn't the blessing worked? Rely, watching him, secretly thought it seemed more like a curse. Still, Rely acknowledged that the child now held immense importance for their grandfather. Just then, Leah Joshua walked in. Hey, family head uncle, she greeted. She asked with curiosity. But how did he pass the unison? Her question was met with silence. Eli, with a worried tone, said, the papal family is showing too much interest in Isaac. Rely was anxious, thinking, he's too exceptional for his investiture to be postponed. A tense and stifling atmosphere enveloped the three men. Benjamin suddenly spotted an envelope. Father, who sent that letter? Eli sighed heavily. It's from your fourth brother, he said, looking at his sons coldly. It belongs to your older brother. Rely was taken aback. Noel? He sent a letter? The letter's arrogant tone cut into the patriarch's pride like a dagger. Eli growled in frustration. This is why we need to re-educate Isaac. If you don't think Isaac is up to it, Rely, then you'll be the next patriarch. But, the boy passed the harmony test. Benjamin tried to calm him. Maybe there's still a chance. The mechanical bird in Eli's hands suddenly squawked. Nonsense. Hope my ass. It turned into the fire spirit Shillik. Eli asked calmly. What's up, Shillik? Shillik was fuming, accusing someone of using a rattle drum to bully other kids. Benjamin sighed and said, that's just Isaac being Isaac. Rely was stunned. The kid even poisoned and blackmailed his teammates to pass the test. As Eli tried to keep his cool, Shuri Yeshua burst in. Cardinal Barrett wants to adopt Isaac. The room went dead silent. Benjamin quickly defended. Father, Isaac is a Yeshua. He wouldn't leave us. Shuri stammered, revealing Isaac's response. Rely grabbed Shuri, shouting, what did he do to trick Isaac? Nearby, servants whispered that money would fix everything. Eli's angry voice echoed. His grandfather is right here, and they dare to take my kin? The patriarch's murderous intent filled the room. A treasure chest creaked open, revealing gold inside. Onlookers gasped, all from the Barrett family. A candidate murmured, all this just for Isaac? Isaac thought. So the rumors about his connection to the Pope are true. He eyed the gold, thinking about compensation and hush money, his mind racing with plans. Then a candidate raised a banner for Joshua Isaac of the Azure faith. Isaac was paralyzed. Gold is nice and all, but what's this? Why? A messenger handed him a letter. Did the patriarch send this? That miserly old man? Isaac was sweating bullets as he opened it. Inside was a picture of Eli Yeshua, making a heart symbol with a caption. You're one of us. Isaac recoiled in horror. Why are they doing this to me? Suddenly, a figure appeared, startling everyone around. Isaac jerked back. He went pale, trembling as he saw the matriarch next to her. The matriarch too? What? Panic set in. Damn it, Melissa. Do you know how hard I've tried to avoid you? He grabbed two candidates, looking for a way out. A brown-haired candidate shook Isaac. Wow, it looks so real. That video is from the communication orb, right? Isaac punched him right in the face. You jerk. You scared the hell out of me, he snarled. I thought she was actually here. An authoritative voice boomed from the orb. You must be Isaac. Melissa Yeshua's projection smiled. I heard you've grown quickly. So you've really beaten the Skeleton King's curse. I'm impressed. Isaac exhaled. Good thing it's just a projection. If she met me in person, she'd know I'm the Skeleton King. I heard you were recently captured by his forces, Melissa said, her gaze icy and intense. You must have been somewhere else. A woman with green hair called out. Isaac! Kim Yusak froze. No way. Can she really sense it through the orb? The woman turned to a young guy nearby, clearly hostile. Why do I feel Isaac's power coming from you? Kim Yusak put it together. It's because I swallowed the Skeleton King's finger a decade ago. He snapped back to reality as Melissa and Leah suddenly appeared right there. Melissa grinned at the young guy who had swallowed the finger. I heard from Leah. Isaac can't show up here anyway. Kim Yusak clenched his teeth. Nearby, Nigel Sefik was grumbling to his buddy about the Saintess being around. Melissa walked right up to him. I'm interested in you, third son of House Red. As she laid out his failures, an unseen force slammed Nigel to the ground. While Nigel was still processing, Leah stuck her tongue out at a shocked Kim Yusak. Melissa turned to him. Anyway, I've got a special reward ready for you. Kim Yusak's eyes sparkled with excitement. A gift? Cash? But the reward turned out to be a nightmare. His ultimate technique, the one that even took down the Skeleton King. The boy was stunned, horrified by the invaluable gift. Nigel, feeling humiliated, roared as his teammates dragged him away. The green-haired woman observed the crowd, her gaze hardening. This won't do. Suddenly, Melissa's voice cut through, addressing a kneeling applicant. She questioned if he really thought she would tolerate him poisoning his teammates. Molek, a spy and the son of a disgraced count, spoke up. He insisted that Kim Yusak's rights should be revoked. He put on a sinister expression, then switched to fake tears, accusing Kim Yusak of giving them poison to pass the harmony test. The accusation echoed through the hall. Molek sobbed, playing to the crowd. A saint candidate using poison? Melissa looked genuinely confused and horrified by the accusation, while Kim Yusak stood behind her, unfazed. In the crowd, Nigel Sefik whispered, Perfect. Get him out, and I'll add you to my team right away. The green-haired woman called out to Kim Yusak, making him flinch. Melissa's demeanor changed instantly. Did he really think poison alone would be enough? She asked. Growled, leaving Molek confused. This won't boost your spiritual power. You really messed up. Molek quickly grabbed her hand. Wait, Saintess. Kim Yusak really gave us a beating. Melissa turned to Yusak with a lesson. Just hitting them won't work. Next time, aim to break their bones. She was about to show how it's done, but Leah stopped her. No, please. You'll end up killing the kid. Molek shouted. Leah reached out to the frightened spy. Need a hand? I can break them cleanly in one go. Her smile was terrifyingly bright. As Moleka's scream echoed, Yusak intervened. No need. I'll take care of it. Melissa watched quietly as he leaned toward the trembling spy. You should have listened when I warned you. Yusak grabbed his collar. From now on, you're my shield and servant. Molek muttered under his breath. The Joshua family is full of crazies. In a sunlit room inside a grand building, Yusak scratched his head, puzzled. Kim Yusak, do you want to lead the family? Yeah, sure. Melissa Shwa pressed further. What if you succeed? I'll get rid of the Saintesses. Molek let out a scream, but Yusak covered the spy's mouth with his hand. The boy confidently announced, I'm going to take down the Skeleton King. He then turned to the matriarch and said, Grandma, you should quit being a saintess too. Leah was shocked, while Melissa just contemplated his boldness. She then gave a mysterious smile and said, No. I committed a sin that no one should ever commit. Flashback. Young Leah is holding a wooden sword, listening to Melissa talk about a rare chance to defeat the Skeleton King. But I couldn't do it, Melissa admitted, gently patting the child's head. Back in the present, she concluded. Yet God didn't forgive me. The Joshua family is cursed because of me. That's the burden I have to carry. What sin did you commit? Yusak asked. Melissa just smiled in response. Leah quickly jumped to her defense. I'm sure she had her reasons. Melissa stood up and handed over a box. Yusak, this is why I wanted to see you. Inside was the Saintess's rosary. Yusak instantly recognized its importance. It's the only one in existence. Suddenly, a silver-haired man appeared, smirking as if questioning why she handed over the artifact. I stored my power in it because I heard your attack spells were too weak, he explained with a wink. Use it, or you won't make it. I'll head to the Holy Kingdom soon to teach you how to take down the Skeleton King. Get lost, Yusak barked. Don't ever show your face here again. And just like that, the vision disappeared. I should head out too, Melissa said before leaving the room. Now alone, Yusak jumped when Leah suddenly appeared behind him. She gave him a thorough look. Yusak, be honest. You've got a manticore, right? He froze, breaking into a cold sweat. How did she figure it out? Even Melissa didn't catch that. He thought about silencing her until she muttered. Could I have been mistaken? Yusak took the chance. What's in there is the manticore from that building outside. He pretended to be embarrassed. Oh, right. The manticore. That's it. Holding the manticore, he lied. I forgot I couldn't absorb it right away. Tried breaking the seal with a spell, but it didn't work. Leah purchased it and unclasped her necklace. This can break the seal, she said. Yusak was stunned, accepting the artifact while celebrating inside. Incredible. She not only knows about manticores but also how to break the seal. Leah smiled warmly. I get that you're trying to revive the family techniques. She kept pushing for answers, asking what the plan was after taking out the Saintesses. Yusak's eyes lit up like he just hit the jackpot. He said he wanted to be a rich, jobless guy, making Leah crack up. Melissa Shwa laughed heartily and waved goodbye, saying she'd see him when his internship wrapped up. Overwhelmed by her presence, Yuzio thought to himself that she was definitely not your average person. Her escort stood firmly by her side and urged, My lady, let's head back. He led her to the grand carriage but paused, lowering his voice with concern. He mentioned that the necklace was key to unlocking the family's secret arts. I know, Melissa replied sharply as she stepped inside. The night felt tense. That necklace was an heirloom, and the direct family line wanted it. Melissa smiled knowingly and said if someone could take it from the boy, he wasn't as talented as she thought. When he expressed concern about Isaac becoming the family head, she shrugged it off, saying it was better than him heading to the Holy See. Just moments before, Yuziak had boldly announced his plan to eliminate the Saintesses and defeat the Skeleton King, which made Leah laugh sarcastically. Yeah, sure. Go for it, Isaac. But in reality, Yuziak was just drooling over the treasure, his eyes practically turning into dollar signs. The scene then shifted to an old mansion, drenched in heavy rain. My lord, young Master Goel, it's been a while. A cheerful voice echoed through the air. My lord, young Master Goel, long time no see. A joyful voice echoed. Goel Ashwa greeted the old lady with a frosty tone. How's Joshua doing? Still the same useless mess? Goel chuckled to himself. Hypocrites. Honestly, I'm scared I'll start caring. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed. A gut feeling hit him. Something went down at the investiture ceremony. A disturbing image popped into his head. The priest responsible for Isaac was found dead in the monster forest. Bad enough to silence a witness, he muttered. And the Barrett family wants to adopt Isaac? Have they lost it? He clenched his jaw. Too many weird things happening, and digging deeper could be deadly. I need a break. Stay out. He slammed the door shut. Alone in the darkness, he scoffed. Attached? Me? Who gave the Joshua family rights to Cardinal Barrett? He admitted he once got too close but now felt no connection in this cursed house. Determined to uncover the truth, Goel dove into the family's secret archives. Goel sifted through the documents. Isaac Joshua, the chosen one. Finally, he found it. Here it is. Isaac Joshua, the mark of the god he picked. Realization hit him hard, and he froze. Everything clicked. A divine light burst in Goel's mind. It's all with me. The greatest god? He slammed the notebook shut. So that's the reason? That's why the papal family did all this. Goel dashed out. This wasn't just about the Holy See anymore. It was about the Barrett family's survival. He clenched his fist. No, this was about survival for the entire empire. Somewhere else, a trainee uniform was tossed aside in a heap of treasures. King Jessic wondered aloud if this money was enough to find a weapon to destroy the binding orb. The shadowy figure pointed at a glowing stone. The issue is the anti-demon stone. It's completely immune to all energy. Kim Jessic shouted in frustration. They turned my subordinate's binding orb into an anti-demon stone? Those crazy bastards. He sighed, sitting on the bed. Leah said this should break the seal. He examined the blue pendant. He'd never seen anything like it before. As the objects made contact, he exclaimed that it was opening. Dark energies erupted from the mana core. Eat, the shadow entity commanded as it lunged. Dark magic filled the room as the subordinate devoured the core. Overjoyed, Kim Jessic felt the mana was enough to boost his rank. He could now cast higher-level spells. He erupted into maniacal laughter, intoxicated by the power, and the shadow joined in his roar. The laughter suddenly stopped. He looked at his hand, now just bare white bone. What is this? He shouted in shock. Silence filled the room as he collapsed onto the bed, worn out, lifting his skeletal hand. This cursed skeleton again, he muttered through clenched teeth. The Skeleton King's curse, which flips life and death, was back. My body is blessed in so many ways. It won't be consumed easily, he assured himself. But the sudden surge of mana had messed up the balance between divine power and the curse. Praying would take too long, and relics were a waste. No choice, he thought. I'll use the pentagon. The red challenge. A forbidden test to massively boost divine power. With a chuckle, he wrapped his hand in bandages. Just gotta keep it hidden until then. Hey Isaac. Another candidate rushed in, looking frantic. What are you doing? This is bad. Kim Jessic froze, but the boy was suspicious. Why were you laughing alone? Creepy. And why is your hand covered? Are you hurt? Kim stammered, but the boy jumped forward. Let me see, he said, tearing off the bandages. Bones? Are those bones? Master, erase his memory, the shadow shouted. Too risky. The boy just stood there, shocked. Is it possible? Is your twisted morality because of this decaying body? Kim Jessic noticed the pity in the boy's eyes and blinked. You should have mentioned it. Everyone thinks you're evil because of this. The boy remembered the Joshua family's history. Talent always came with flaws, just like that ancestor. Or should I just end him? Kim pondered. The boy grabbed him, insisting, tell Grandpa. He can help you. You'll die young otherwise. Kim Jessic played along, determined to keep his identity secret. Don't tell Grandpa or the uncles. He clasped his bony hands, feigning innocence. I don't want to worry them. Besides, the Pentagon matters more, he declared grandly. I want to take down the Skeleton King's minions myself before I go. The other boy was speechless, tears welling up. Kim Jessic turned to leave, dropping a tempting line. Don't worry. I won't die so easily. The new friend took the bait. There's a way to survive. Tell me. Sensing the opportunity, Kim Jessic turned back with a sinister grin. His red eyes gleamed. I need you to deliver something to the Cardinal of the Red Faction. 20 days later, a furious shout echoed through the Great Hall. Isaac, you devil. Exhausted candidates voiced their complaints. One nearly died from a bathroom bomb, another discovered poison gas in their pillow, and a third had poisoned food. Meanwhile, the mastermind Kim Jessic innocently munched on bread, wondering, don't they like my training plan? Enraged, a candidate waved a target list. These are ridiculous ways to die. Jessic calmly replied, those are your objectives. He stood up and gestured towards a pile of large sacks. Put these on, he instructed. The group was shocked to find they were heavy sandbags. We're priests, not knights. They protested. You want us to train physically? Jessic explained they needed to gear up for the upcoming Pentagon test. Someone pointed out, the next test is intelligence. Oh, he realized. Casually, he admitted, while putting on weighted gloves, I switched the order. The next test is the Red Pentagon, a physical one. He raised his fist with excitement. Our project is going to be different. The group was left speechless. Stop chatting. Jessic commanded, grab a sandbag. We're running 50 laps around the field. A brown-haired candidate growled. This is nonsense. How can you change the order? And 50 laps? You're insane. Jessic waved a scroll around, then corrected himself with a chilling grin. 100 laps, he growled, teeth clenched. If we don't come in first, you'll regret it. His voice boomed from afar. Run, you slackers! After the drill, a worn-out candidate tossed aside his gear. Forget it, man. We don't need to push ourselves this hard. Someone sighed in the lounge. 2 kings are enough. We've got one already. And the blue pentagon will definitely give us the next. Jessic yanked him by the collar. Are you serious? We need at least 5. Friends restrained a blonde boy who yelled. Red and yellow won't give us a king. Plus, the next test is yellow. Why train so hard? Another chimed in. The order is an imperial tradition. Who said you could mess with it? Right then, a candidate burst in, out of breath. Breaking news. The next test is the Red Pentagon. The group was shocked. The Red Cardinal had spoken with the Yellow Cardinal and switched up the horror set. The Red Pentagon means one-on-one combat. If we mess this up, the whole program's a bust. Everyone looked at Kim Jessic. Alright, the next test is set. Jessic, arms crossed and grinning wickedly, asked, can we kick off training now? A few days later, at the Royal Training Center, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Nizer Zeepet muttered, damn it, can't believe Dad actually listened to Isaac. Nearby, his father, Leon Zeepet, pondered aloud. Isaac promised something interesting. Now it's a team battle. Nizer, unfazed by the change, smirked. Why stress over the blue team led by Shuri Joshua? He was sure the Red House, experts in combat, wouldn't lose to such a weak team. Charge! Nizer rallied his crew, charging into the arena. We'll take them down in no time. But as they entered, their confident grins vanished. In the audience, Red Cardinal Leon Zeepet frowned. What? Across from them, the blue team appeared. With Kim Jesak was none other than Kina Byrat. Jesak casually explained. My cupbearer wasn't feeling well. He pointed at Kina with a grin. Luckily, I found a stand-in. It's just training, so no big deal, right? Nizer Zeepet froze, his expression unreadable. Amidst the crowd's whispers, Kina Byrat stepped forward, exuding the aura of a top-tier priest. Leon Zeepet turned to the Golden Cardinal, saying, This has gone way too far. Why did you put Kina on the blue team? He asked, noticing the Cardinal looked just as confused. Flashback. Kim Jesak proposed a deal to Kina. If I handle the small fry, will you teach me a powerful technique? Back in the present, Nizer Zeepet stood there, feeling utterly betrayed. This is cheating, he shouted. She's not a trainee. Why is someone of her level getting involved? Kina replied coolly. I turned down the promotion. I gave up my privileges to stay a trainee, just like Isaac Joshua. The entire stadium went silent. Kina glanced at the referee asking, So, what's your decision? The referee, sweating, announced. Kina Byrat is still officially a low-ranking priest. She hasn't taken the Pentagon test, so there's no rule against her participation. Ridiculous, Nizer shouted, while Kim Jesak smirked behind him. Nizer clenched his teeth. Damn it, our team can't beat Kina, and we still have to deal with Isaac. We're doomed. Captain Shuri Joshua from the blue team was visibly nervous. If it's a one-on-one match between captains, we might actually have a shot at winning. Jesak noticed Shuri's unease. He smirked and teased. What's up? Need a bathroom break? I told you to go before we started, he added with a chuckle. Shuri wasn't amused. You should be the captain. We only got this far because of you. In a burst of desperation, Shuri grabbed Jesak by the collar. Class president, skipping grades, top scores, all that harmony stuff. It was all you, not me. Jesak calmly removed Shuri's hands. I might teach well, but not everyone can keep up. You did. He glanced at the opposing team. Nizer's no pushover, but if you're right, taking down that redhead shouldn't be too tough. Jesak suddenly lit up with a mischievous grin, interrupting Shuri. Oh, by the way, his expression turned sinister. If you lose, I'll be the first to stab you, you bastard. Shuri was taken aback. Huh, got it, the loudspeaker announced. 5 minutes until the start. Both teams, get ready for battle. In the stands, a girl with a green ribbon watched nervously. It was young Master Isaac. Next to her, a silver-haired man frowned. Hina is with them. But this situation isn't great for either Isaac or Shuri. Hina is with them. But this situation is bad for both Isaac and Shuri. He shot a fierce glare at those house red jerks. They'd already unleashed their destruction spell. On the field, a kid-sized Jesak grinned mischievously, as if he was pulling on invisible chains. He muttered to himself, Hey, not yet. Just wait. A purple aura wrapped around his team, and a guy in the stands gasped. Is that Azure's holy spell? The girl confirmed. Yeah, it's the spirit uplift spell. Isaac asked me to teach it to him. They were horrified as the blue team charged forward like a pack of wild animals. How can that be spirit uplift? Someone questioned. It's just supposed to boost morale, not turn them into monsters. Jesak smirked, revealing his secret. It's spirit uplift with a twist, herbal doping. He shouted the name, beastification. He looked over his troops, thinking, I've prepared them for this. Let's make it count. Massive magic circles lit up in the center of the arena. Jesak grinned slyly, wondering, has it started? A dazzling pink light burst from the formation, energy reaching its peak. A terrifying power surged from the ground. The crowd erupted in cheers. Oh, that's... A gigantic statue rose up, and a voice boomed. The guardian deity of House Red, the god of justice. A member of the red team shouted. Pray for the red god's blessing. Nearby, one of Kim Jesak's teammates clasped his hands, determined. We have to win, he urged. Out of nowhere, Shuri Joshua dashed forward like a ghost, slamming into the statue's chest. The statue shattered, sending debris raining down on the stunned blue team. Kim Jesak put on an innocent expression. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. The statue's head blew apart. A teammate shook Jesak vigorously. Isaac, haven't you kicked that habit yet? Stop getting so physical. A member of the red team yelled out. Isaac Joshua just beheaded the red god statue. An opponent charged at him, grabbing his collar in anger. Kina Barrett shouted. Isaac Joshua, how did you break a god statue? Her shock turned to curiosity as she clung to him, eager to know more. What spell was that? Teach me, she insisted. Jesak gave her a cold look. So what? In the stands, a supporter prayed with a smile. Aside from the gold god, all others are worthless. Oh gods, save this one too. An opponent grabbed Jesak, laughing. Isaac, you troublemaker. You've pushed the limits of this training ground. His teammate nudged him. You need to apologize, Isaac. I'm really sorry, he mumbled. Above, two cardinals were watching Leon closely. Sepet grinned wickedly. A troublesome, unpredictable child. It'll be fun to break him. The blonde cardinal shot back. Isn't the real issue with the red family? You let a statue get wrecked by a rookie. Maybe check your faith first. I'm not laying a finger on Isaac. The air is thick with tension, like a storm's about to break. Leon Sepet swallowed his anger. Starting a heresy trial over trainees would be overkill. Suddenly, a voice sliced through the tension. Proceed with the Pentagon. Nizer Sepet winced at the mental command. This is an order, Nizer. He glanced up at his father's cold, unyielding gaze from the balcony. The harsh command followed, wrapped in dark energy. Cripple Isaac Joshua, the referee announced. The rules for Red's Pentagon are straightforward. Find the real necklace among the fakes. First team to succeed wins. Yusak's teammate muttered. The captain's choice of holder is permanent. It's a big deal. Sepet motivated his crew. 3 ways to find it. First, capture the captain and make him confess. Second, use deduction. Third, overpower the enemy and grab all the necklaces. Distribute them, the referee instructed. Nizer noticed his team's anxiety. It's just the Azure family. Shuri Joshua was shaking. I want to step down as captain. Yusak yanked him by the collar. What are you doing? Hand out the necklaces. Nizer sneered, saying Shuri is weak and easy to handle. The only real threat is Kina. The red team scoffed in agreement, dismissing them as nothing more than monster hunters. Fools. The referee raised his hand and signaled the start. The red team charged forward, but the blue team froze in terror. Kim Yusak had already lunged ahead, laughing like a maniac. He relished the thought, finally, a test where I can legally beat up these annoying priests. Shuri Joshua stammered, is that really a human face? Nizer shouted, unaware of the danger. Don't worry, their honor code stops them from attacking. Yusak taunted them with a grin. Come on, trainee priests. He swung a massive spiked flail and bellowed, bring out your captain. Just one attack sent the red team flying. A priestess stared in shock, wondering, what was that? I thought their code. Yusak stepped forward, demanding, bring out your captain. He licked his weapon and threatened, do that and you live. Another voice from the blue team echoed the demand. Sepet scrambled back as his teammates fell, pleading for help. A blue commander shouted, hold your ground. Don't retreat. Kina Barrett seized the opportunity and charged. Stop them, a red member shouted. Another warned, it's a trick. Nizer, watch out. Nizer watched Kina approach with a smirk. Just as I thought, you're incredible, Kina, he said, raising his voice. But you're too predictable. I can see right through you. Suddenly, a magical vortex enveloped Kina. A duplication spell? She realized. Nizer pointed and commanded, capture her. The red team charged forward, but a powerful binding spell slammed down, freezing them in place. Kina clicked her tongue. Saved, but still stuck in Nizer's vortex. An invisible force erupted, knocking Nizer to the ground. He scrambled to his feet, eyes wild and smile crazed. Get them! The blue team, eyes blazing with berserk energy, tore through their opponents. Nizer dodged and shouted, it's just a beastification trick, a minor boost. In another corner, Shuri Joshua trembled as he was cornered. Found you, Shuri. Nizer roared, his fists glowing red. I'll take an arm as a trophy. In the stands, a woman screamed. Watch out! That spell is real! Shuri was sweating, gritting his teeth. Damn it! Yusak's voice echoed in his mind. It's okay, Shuri. Just listen. Flashback. Nizer will challenge you to a duel, Yusak had warned. He's always underestimated you. Back to the present, Shuri's gaze hardened. Nizer laughed, striking. It's over, fool. Shuri's eyes flared blue as energy erupted, deflecting the attack. Shuri! Relai shouted from the stands. Yusak just smiled, looking all smug. Yep, that's right. Shuri grabbed Nizer by the collar. Prove you haven't lost your edge. You're the fool. Nizer froze, confused. Huh! Shuri flipped him over his shoulder, slamming him hard onto the arena floor. The ground cracked like a spider web on impact. Nizer lay still in the debris, eyes blank. Shuri roared, still furious. Do you know why the Azure technique is forbidden on humans? He panted over Nizer. Because it only works on demons? No. Shuri broke the silence. It's because the human body can't handle that power. The arena fell silent, except for their heavy breathing. Shuri clenched his teeth. From the stands, Relai shouted. Never. Shuri finished yelling. Underestimate Azure. He stood tall, regaining his dignity. The crowd watched in shock. Only Kina Barrett narrowed her eyes. He wasn't this strong before. A strange energy surrounded Shuri. Yusak crossed his arms with a smirk. Finish him off, but Shuri paused, unsure. Now, the necklace. Hey, Yusak's voice echoed in his head. Do it right. Finish him. All right, I'll do it. Nizer begged from the ground. Shuri grabbed his collar. Nizer, spill it. Where's the necklace? Nizer looked confused. No. Nizer Sepet sneers, keeping up his arrogant act. He taunts. You really think a future heir would spill the beans after this kind of grilling? Shuri Joshua, in frustration, yanks at his hair and yells. Confess, you jerk. It's your only shot at getting out of here alive. Then, his voice drops to a menacing growl. Shut up. As the heir, I've mastered every cruel punishment imaginable. Shuri raises his foot, ready to strike his fallen opponent. Nizer's confidence crumbles. Wait. Hold on. Please wait. A sickening crunch fills the air. Nizer barely registers the intense pain before the blow lands. What was that awful noise? A spectator cries out in horror. The crowd buzzes with outrage as Shuri grits his teeth, continuing his brutal display. Hidden away, Kim Yusak crosses his arms, a chilling smile on his face as Nizer's screams echo through the arena. In the stands, a red-haired man winces, feeling the pain himself. Shuri's voice cuts through like a curse. I told you to confess! Nizer's teammates can't take it anymore. They shout and rush at Shuri, calling him a bastard. Kina Barrett steps in their way. No, she says coldly. None of you are going anywhere. She taps her foot, unleashing a massive circle of holy power. The enemy's purge spell kicks in, trapping the red team in paralyzing beams of light. A blinding explosion follows, wiping them out instantly. Lying on the floor, Nizer realizes the truth. Those sneaky bastards faked getting caught. Shuri looks down, ready to grab the necklace. Among the fallen, Kim Yisak stands tall. The losers are horrified as they realize he orchestrated everything. Yisak grins, feeling like he's got the world in his hands. A terrified opponent yells, accusing him of doing all this just to make Nizer confess, but insists Nizer will never talk. Yisak feigns innocence, asking what they're on about. Then, with a cold tone, he reminds them they all know where the necklace is. Yisak's elder ring starts glowing. Panic grips Shuri Joshua. Hey, wait. I'll tell you where it is, he blurts out, but it's too late. Let's begin, Yisak shouts, swinging his spiked mace and draining power from everyone around. Moments later, he holds up a red gemstone necklace. Found it. Team Azure wins, he declares, his voice echoing over the defeated. Kim Yisak holds up his prize, while his teammates stare in awe at his display of power. The crowd went wild, cheering for the faith of Azure. In the stands, Raya clenched his fist in thought. Well done, Isaac. Shuri, a voice echoed, praising the youngest priest representing the Empire. The Crown Prince, Chabli Alkfrikella, made his entrance. He announced that the winners deserved a fitting reward. Raya quickly bowed in respect. Greetings, son of the Empire. Your nephews are impressive, he said. Chabli gave a warm smile. Raya suggested, how about priestly uniforms for them? Chabli agreed and added, when the tailor comes, may I join them? Raya hesitated. My prince, they're just apprentices. Why? Chabli replied. Think of it as a small gift. Chabli placed a hand on Raya's shoulder, his voice turning serious. Tell your youngest nephew to leave the Golden Pentagon. He leaned in closer, whispering a chilling warning. The Pope wants Isaac dead. Keep that in mind. Raya was momentarily stunned. Meanwhile, in the waiting area, a servant called out for Kim Yisak. Back in the stands, Raya bowed as the prince departed. Despite the looming danger, his resolve stayed strong. He believed Isaac would be alright, remembering his nephew's confident smile. Elsewhere, the buzz among the contestants was all about the Crown Prince gifting them clothes. While most were thrilled, Kim Yisak lounged on the throne, looking unimpressed. He called out to Kina Barrett. Hey, aren't you heading home? Kina just took a sip of her tea and smirked. The test's done. I don't need you anymore, she said. Suddenly, her servant burst in, urging, my lady, you have to leave. The Patriarch is searching for you. No, she replied, setting her teacup down with a loud clatter. Kina looked straight at the servant and blatantly lied. You were the one who told me to switch to House Azure. The butler and maid were left speechless. When did I say that? He stammered. Last night, Kina shot back. Kim Yisak jumped in, snapping at the butler. Who gave you the authority to decide she'd join the Azure priests? The butler was cornered, standing there sweating bullets. Anyway, I've accepted their offer, so I'm staying, Kina announced. Tell my father I won't be home for a while. The Azure team then helped shoo the servants away. Once things calmed down, Kina eyed Yisak. Yesterday, he definitely cast a spell on Shuri. What kind of power was that? Meanwhile, Yisak was lost in thought. The Crown Prince handed over some clothes, basically marking his territory. Even after the servant left, Yisak wasn't thrilled about keeping her around. No thanks. Get out, he said flatly. But Kina wasn't having it. She dropped to the floor, whining like a kid. Make me leave. Drag me out yourself. I've already used you. Go on. When she kept pushing him to honor his promise, Yisak just grinned. Alright, I'm calling it off. I've got a disciple way more obedient than you. He gestured toward Shuri Joshua, who was sitting nearby. Obviously, I'm talking about Shuri. Everyone paused, a bit confused. Him? You think he's better than me? Kina stomped her foot, her pride taking a hit. Shuri jumped up. Why are you dragging me into this? Depends on how you perform. Yisak shrugged. While Kina and poor Shuri were caught in their drama, the vibe in the Sanctus ballroom was totally different. Students whispered, amazed by the extravagant banquet for the winners. Relai raised his wine glass, full of skepticism. I can't believe Yisak's team took first place. How did the Holy See even score this? You must be happy Azure won, Your Eminence. Cardinal Leon Sepet approached with a greeting that had layers. Long time no see, Sir Relai. I hear you're close to hitting level 9. Relai didn't appreciate the backhanded compliment. Impressive for your age, but I bet the Azure Patriarch is stressed, Leon added. Leaning in, he grabbed Relai's hand. The only heir has a ticking clock, and even without that, isn't the role too much for you? The Cardinal twisted the knife further. After all, you can't have kids. Relai's expression darkened. They know about the Joshua family's curse. He forced a calm look. It's fine. I don't plan on becoming Patriarch. His thoughts were interrupted as Leon moved toward his nephew. As long as he doesn't harm Isaac. Leon loomed over the boy, who was happily eating. Isaac's teammate shook his shoulder. Damn it, why interrupt me while I'm... He swallowed and looked up, annoyed. Yes, sir? Leon narrowed his eyes. What's this interesting thing you want to show me? Isaac blinked innocently. Oh, you haven't seen it yet? He gave a provocative smile. I was the one who crushed your son. Did you enjoy the show? One of Yisak's teammates, panicking, slapped a hand over his mouth. Why provoke the Crimson family like that? Yisak just shrugged it off. Who cares? Leon Sepet gave a sly grin, eyes gleaming. I really expected more from the Azure family. Seems like you've picked up some intriguing tricks. He squinted suspiciously. I can feel dark magic on you. Kim Yisak laughed it off. Maybe you forgot, sir, but I did eat a piece of the Skeleton King when I was a kid. He kept going. If wrecking your son wasn't thrilling enough, should I spice things up at the Golden Pentagon? His teammates were floored. One nervously asked, Are you seriously planning to take on the Gold Cardinal's son next? Another just held his head in disbelief. Kim grinned, revealing his true intention. I want to see the demons answer the Skeleton King's call. Hand over the keys to their prison. Leon Sepet's expression turned grim. He started to leave, saying, I'll give you the keys if you come back in one piece. But can you really pull it off? He tossed a final curse over his shoulder. You'll all disappear in the golden pentagon. Kim scowled, muttering, what nonsense is that guy spouting now? Suddenly, a team member burst in with urgent news. Guys, we've got a mission from the golden pentagon. It's an expedition. Leon Sepet chimed in from the doorway, dripping with sarcasm. Aren't you dying to know where you're headed? He dropped the bombshell. It's Crashiandia, the Mystic Empire. One teammate jumped up, alarmed. They want us to go to a place that's always gunning for priests? Right next to demon territory? Are they out of their minds? Another teammate shouted in panic. That's where a high-ranking demon devoured priests 14 years ago. Amidst the uproar, Cardinal Leon spoke calmly. How unfortunate. I could use my authority to change the location. His teammates quickly urged. Isaac, you've got to convince him. Kim Yesek looked up with wide, innocent eyes. Really? You'll change the location for us, right? Meanwhile, over at the Azure Mansion, a messenger rushed in, out of breath. Brother, bad news. They want them to head to the land of mages to rescue kidnapped knights. This is an S-rank mission. They're sending everyone to their doom. Calm down. Another person interjected. Father's already gone to file a formal complaint. The guy in the vest said through clenched teeth. Those jerks in the holy capital are dead set on taking out Isaac. Dad's gonna make sure they change the test. They can't just assign a mission that messes with diplomacy. Relai just smirked. It's a reminder for us not to get too cocky. Man, I don't want Shuri to die there either. The guy in the vest admitted, worried. Relax. Even Isaac, if he's got any sense. Suddenly, another messenger rushed in. Bad news? Back at the scene, Leon asked. Yell out to Master Isaac. Just say you want to live. Kim Yesek replied coldly. No. Behind his hand, a wicked grin spread across his face. Kim looked up with a wild expression. I think it'll be fun. Why should I change it? At the Azure Mansion, the messenger announced that he accepted the mission. Relai and the others were shocked. Their destination was Blackfield, a barren, deadly land of demons. From the ruins of a demonic fortress, a voice echoed. So you mean? The demoness Ash's voice was icy. That you failed to kill the Saintess. Her subordinate bowed low. I sincerely apologize, Lady Ash. The subordinate bowed deeply. I sincerely apologize, Lady Ash. Forget it. The main goal is to create chaos over there. Just seeing the king's power and sneaking demonic artifacts into the Holy Empire is a huge win. The subordinate shivered. Your Majesty is unbelievably powerful. Ash grinned wickedly, recalling how even a tiny bit of that power was terrifying. Lady, the subordinate reported. During the investiture ceremony, I felt his power. The great skeleton kings. Ash jumped up from her throne, shocked. You felt the skeleton king's power in that wild kid who consumed part of our king? Exactly. He was invested and is now in training. Ash's lips curled into a dark smile. It finally revealed itself. Yes. He'll soon join the Golden Azure Trials, where young priests and demons hunt each other. Ash pondered with glee. What a perfect chance. Imagine how strong we'd get if we directly consumed a piece of it. Her eyes gleamed with madness. What does the child of Azure taste like? I can't hold back anymore. Meanwhile, at the academy, whispers spread. Rumors flew fast. The Azure team's mission was a death wish. They had to enter the Mystic Empire and rescue a holy knight. An Azure trainee clenched his teeth. The Gold family really wants us gone. Everyone thinks we're done for. The worst part, a brown-haired teammate said, pacing around, is that the holy knights are just ignoring us. Once we cross the border, we're easy prey for every demon and bandit out there. The blonde boy from Ash frowned. Those jerks. We're doomed. The brown-haired teammate snapped at him. Why won't anyone join us? It's your fault. Don't you see people riding their wills? 14 years ago, Uncle Riel's entire Azure team got wiped out doing this. Meanwhile, Kim Musak casually picked his ear, thinking, cheap trick by the old cardinal. Refuse and suffer. Accept and die. But then a sly smile appeared. If we pull this off, it's a gold mine for mana cores. His teammate grabbed him by the collar. We still have a shot. We must recruit the first holy knights no matter what. Unfortunately, a smug voice interrupted. Count Malik stepped up. The first holy knights have chosen the gold team, along with my son and his friends. The count clicked his tongue. I shouldn't have sent them to Azure just for some old glory. Yasak smirked, saying, You're short-sighted, Count. Once we succeed, you'll be left out. His teammate was anxious, urging, Isaac, if not the first, then at least get the second or third. Yasak pondered. Holy knights, huh? His eyes sparkled as he wondered. Wow, where did those beauties come from? Misunderstanding his intent, his teammate encouraged. Great! Go sign up the second holy knights. Yasak sprinted off but came to a halt in front of an official. The official was stunned by his request. Yasak simply gave a bright smile and a confident thumbs up. A little later, Yasak returned, exhaling in relief. The Azure team picked the fourth holy knights. The team was paralyzed with shock. A gray-haired teammate approached, cheerful and clueless, saying, Hey, I've got good news. In a flashback, Yasak grinned. I signed the strongest ones. You mad genius. The fourth holy knights were seen as outcasts, pack mules, and messengers. Yet, their skills were superior to the royal knights, and they held a deep-seated grudge against the clergy. Yasak was immediately summoned by the family patriarch, a powerful and intimidating figure who demanded, Explain yourself. Yasak forced a smile, sensing the anger. The dark presence beside him whispered warnings about the man's fury. Yasak decided to go along with it, thinking, If I refuse, I'll disgrace the Joshua family. The patriarch was furious, his anger palpable. You, of all people, dare talk about honor? He accused Yasak of lying, saying, Why would a dark magic user speak of honor? He continued. Do you think I didn't notice? I've ignored it, but now I can't trust you anymore. Feeling trapped, Yasak doubled down. I despise the Skeleton King. I want him dead. The dark entity was shocked by the obvious lie. Yasak spun a sob story about losing his parents, family shame, and failing to defeat the Bone King. With tears in his eyes, he shouted about the disgrace that kept him up at night. The patriarch's demeanor softened a bit. I'll take down the fake Skeleton King, Yasak declared, his eyes full of determination. I only used this power to investigate him, he claimed, swearing vengeance so passionately that even the dark entity thought he might be losing it. While the patriarch was deep in thought, Yasak secretly reveled in his real plan. Protect the Joshua family, then take it all. If we live modestly, he insisted, the Joshua family will end up in disgrace. The patriarch gave a sly smile. I've always said you don't need to sacrifice yourself for the family, but it looks like you really are one of us. Kim Yasak returned the smile. The mission can fail, the patriarch said as he turned away. As long as you and your team come back safely, I'll officially name you my successor. Yasak bowed respectfully as the patriarch walked away. But once the patriarch was gone, Yasak's smile twisted into a devious grin. His plan was working perfectly. A few days later, the journey kicked off on a path outside the capital. We'll meet the knights in this town, Yasak told his worn-out team. One teammate dropped to the ground, panting. We have to survive and get back, no matter what. A shadowy figure hovered near Yasak. Master, I've looked into the demon from 14 years ago. She's with the Western Army, might be someone you know. A vision of a female demon appeared. She had already taken out other trainees. Yasak clicked his tongue in annoyance. Those bastards think they can break my rules? Never mind. Let's go show them who's boss. He brushed off the entity's warning about his still recovering powers. His team followed him, tense and silent. In the dark forest, the female demon licked her lips. Found them, she whispered, her eyes locked on the boy named Joshua. Over at the royal castle, Crown Prince Shabla's aide lowered the report. Is this for real? Yasak picked the pack mule paladins? He didn't even glance at the knights you sent, the aide confirmed. Maybe his judgment is off, Shabla mused. Actually, your highness, he might have a sharp eye. Shabla gave a sly grin. The captain I sent, Silent, is a half-elf. Sure, he's weak against demons, but he would have been a solid ally. His eyes sparkled with intrigue. Yet he went for the pack mules, a knight order made up entirely of half-demons. The aide cautioned about the knight's unpredictable nature, but Shabla just pondered. Meanwhile, at the Azure team's meeting spot, a fist slammed onto the table. 5 hours, Commander Derek shouted. Are they trying to provoke us? One knight joked about a prank, while another pointed out that the Azure house was usually on time. Filthy clerics, Derek spat. Hello, Sir Derek, came a youthful voice, belonging to the commander of the pack mules. Derek spun around to see Kim Yasak, arms crossed and looking casual. We're late, huh? I heard your team is always on time. Derek growled. Do you even know what time it is? Yasak let out a deep sigh. Bandits blocked us, and I ended up with a broken arm. He leaned closer, eyes gleaming with a sinister edge. Someone set them up. But you think you're too good for us, huh? Yasak turned away from the knights. There's nothing left for us here. We should just head back. Are you out of your mind? A teammate whispered urgently. Don't you need us? Derek snapped back. If you were planning to turn back, why did you wait 5 hours? He demanded. You're too well equipped for just a simple escort. Yasak shot back. He grinned, seeing through Derek's plan. You're planning to use us as bait to track down your missing comrades, aren't you? Derek lost his cool. Shut up! He lunged forward. Did that jerk Hollock tell you? Hollock? Yasak's teammate was taken aback. That's fourth uncle's alias, he realized. Cornered, Derek let dark energy surge around his sword. We can't get into Crossandia without you guys, so I'll drag you along, even if I have to chop off your legs. He charged with terrifying speed. Hey! Yasak's voice cut through the chaos. His eyes flared crimson. Sheath your sword! It was an absolute command. Derek froze in midair, his body caught by an unseen force. Above them, a massive, majestic phantom of the Skeleton King appeared. The phantom of the Skeleton King appeared. A dark presence looms ominously behind Kim Yasak. Derek is frozen in place, overwhelmed by the pressure. His mind races. Can I really defy its orders? But it's just a whisper. Yasak grins to himself, thinking. Demons naturally follow the strong. That's why I picked them. Feeling powerless, Derek growls and reluctantly puts his sword away. Let's get moving, Yasak says cheerfully. How can we team up with them? His teammates shout. You just tick them off. Yasak just shrugs. We need each other now. They'll join us. Behind them, Derek declares the mission. Rescue all the captives. Take down every demon involved. Yasak glances back, saying, I don't care if we save your friends or not. Derek is taken aback. You picked us because you knew we had people to save. What are you talking about? Yasak replies, pretending not to know. Inside, he's smug. Of course I knew. One of the female teammates steps forward. What are you doing? Do you have a plan? Yasak echoes. A plan? Suddenly, the knight wrapped in bandages yells. Don't trust demons. They'll turn on us. Dark energy radiates from him. Yasak asks coldly. Do you know why they keep taking on these pointless missions? The knight collapses. His hand transforms, claws extending. With a fierce roar, he went full beast mode and charged. The creature grabbed the girl with gray hair by the collar, its eyes wild and bloodshot. I knew it! Shouted the brown-haired teammate. We can't trust them. Wake up! Yasak punched the monster right in the face. The knight stumbled back, his demonic form starting to fade. He blinked, looking dazed. Sorry, I've never transformed that fast before. It felt like something was squeezing my brain. We're close to Crossandia, the silver-haired knight suggested. That might be messing with you. I feel weird too, another chimed in. The bandaged knight looked at Yasak with admiration. I turned back to human just because you hit me. You're incredible. Naturally, Yasak replied with a grin. As the knight celebrated, Yasak and his dark entity shared a secret chuckle. I made it happen. Yasak picked up his gear. If everyone's set, let's move out. He stopped, noticing a still sparrow in his bag. What on earth is this? It's pretending to be dead, the dark entity remarked. Yasak smirked, holding a scroll. Quite the performer. Should we play along? The bird muttered. The blood lord is harsh, sending me to this awful priest. Yasak blinked. One of the great demon kings sent you? The sparrow jumped, startled. From a distance, the shadowy figure reported. Master, the barrier's in place. Yasak recognized the name, the blood lord, a former subordinate of his. He squeezed the bird tightly. Information? I'll spill it. It squeaked. The demon queen you're up against? She wrecked your investiture ceremony. She snuck in the device and ordered the hit on Ash. Yasak listened closely. The blood lord would rather face execution than confront the demoness named Ash. He slammed the scroll down in frustration. The blood lord thinks the current skeleton king is a fake, the bird shrieked. He got arrested for shouting it to everyone. What a naive fool. Anyway, I heard you absorbed a piece of the great skeleton king. Ash is probably waiting for you. Yasak waved his hand, and the bird transformed into a small demon, fleeing while shouting, Don't die! Our lord would be really upset. A teammate with wavy hair ran up, out of breath. Where have you been? We searched everywhere. He gave a thumbs up. I'm proud of you for ordering food from the tavern for us. The teammate pointed to a group of strangers. We've prepared to assist the priest in your time of need, one said cheerfully. Yasak was stunned. The meal on the table was actually the other priest's. He thought she'd be waiting, but Yasak chuckled to himself. The prey came right to him. A seemingly innocent girl with a basket stepped forward. The team exchanged confused looks. He's overdoing it, one muttered. Just ignore him, another suggested. Suddenly Yasak let out a growl, kicking off his performance. Hey you! Kim Yasak shouted, pointing at the girl. Too salty, and I can't stand your breathing. Hold your breath, he said, nailing the spoiled rich kid act and scaring the serving girls. An escort knight snapped. Why make our young master repeat himself? The gray-haired girl cursed to herself. Are these guys nuts? Why back him up? She decided to change tactics. I should deal with these annoying guys first, she thought. She offered the food to the knights instead. The knight declined. We're hired by him. We don't eat his food. Feeling trapped, the girl growled. Eat. Kim Yasak jumped in. Hey, why don't you try eating it yourself? He grinned slyly. How do we know you didn't poison it? The girl froze in place. Before she could respond, Kim Yasak's teammate intervened. That's enough. Why start trouble with her? The brown-haired friend grabbed the soup, determined to prove her innocence. They all gulped down the food. Instantly, they collapsed, leaving the others in shock and horror. You guys, Kim Yasak said, standing up with a cold demeanor. This is easier, he thought. I was going to knock them out anyway, watching them fall. Leave them, he instructed the dark entity. They need to learn a lesson. The entity hesitated. Master, this poison transforms holy power into dark magic. Kim Yasak was taken aback, then grinned. Are you sure? It turns that repulsive holy power into magnificent dark magic. He laughed. I can create a dark magic farm right here in the Holy Empire. The serving girl laughed wickedly, dark energy swirling around her. Helpless brat. Kim Yasak smirked. Helpless. They're just mana batteries now. She revealed her true form, a horned demoness with an eye patch. If you want them to live, follow me. I'll give you the antidote. This witch, a knight hissed. Before she could move, a beam of holy light hit her. She screamed, her arrogance disappearing. Kim Yasak, wielding a massive holy relic, charged forward. The powerful impact sent her flying. Injured, she retreated into the forest, taunting. That's right. Chase me, brat. The knights were ready to chase after him, but Kim Yasak stopped them. No, I'll handle this myself. He glanced at his unconscious comrades. I can't leave them defenseless. Transfer mana to keep them stable. The knights were shocked. Young Master Isaac will handle the priests. Kim Yasak nodded. Please do. He turned away, pulling up his hood with a determined look. I'll have something to collect later. He disappeared into the night. Under the full moon, Demon Ash sneered. Brave fool, coming here alone? She grinned, thinking she had him cornered. A fool, huh? Kim Yasak retorted. You talk about devouring humans without knowing who I am. His eyes glowed red. He commanded with authority. Kneel. Ash felt a chill run down her spine. An unseen force drove her to her knees. Behind Kim Yasak, a spectral image of a skeletal king appeared. Ash was shaking. This demonic power. Her body shook. Why does this kid have the king's power? Seeing the black and red aura, fury ignited within her. That bastard must have consumed part of the king. Hold on, my king, she vowed. I'll tear him apart. Ash charged, her power swelling. And set you free. A burst of sacred blue energy shot out, stopping her in her tracks. Ash froze. Her power just vanished. From that blue light, a massive skeletal beast appeared, its presence overwhelming. It unleashed a freezing attack, obliterating everything in its way. Through the dust, Kim Yasak coldly remarked. Fool. Dark energy surged from him. Let me show you who your king is. Under the moonlight, the forest went completely silent. The dark entity praised. Excellent, master. A 5th-tier spell with the power of the 7th circle. Yasak grinned. Mixing sacred and dark power is genius. Maybe that's why the gods didn't want to create a human like me. Nearby, Ash shivered on the ground, murmuring, My king, my king! Yusak cruelly grabbed the demoness by the chin, making her look at him. I've made a terrible mistake, she whimpered. Let me give you the antidote. No need, he said, releasing her. Bring the kidnapped paladins here. You have 1 minute. I need proof for a perfect score. He smiled darkly. Proof that I defeated a demon. 2 days later, somewhere else, a brown-haired man anxiously messed with his hair. Damn it, where are you, Isaac? His scarred teammate tried to calm him down, saying they had tracking devices and that young Master Isaac wouldn't go down easily. But he wasn't convinced. Something was off. The mages had been searching nonstop, which was unusual for them. The scarred guy hesitated, mentioning there was blood where Isaac had been. But that didn't necessarily mean he was dead. I'm back. The aides froze as Yuziak appeared at the door. Young master, are you okay? Without a word, he tossed the blood-stained bag onto the floor. Here's the antidote. The brown-haired aide opened the bag and screamed at the sight of a severed human head inside. That? Yuziak asked innocently, looking small and childlike. It's the kidnapper's head, proof of our perfect score. Commander Derek rushed over, asking about the missing paladins. Too heavy, Yuziak said. I hid them in the bushes. Yuziak lazily pointed outside. Go get them. A breathless paladin burst in. Commander, the missing comrades have returned. Outside, everyone was celebrating. Inside, the aides stared at Yuziak in shock. So, the kidnapper's head. That's right, the boy said, sitting cross-legged on a chair. I went in alone and brought it back. You went into the mage's territory alone? That's insane. Yuziak just smiled, ready to put on a show. So, get this, he spun this wild story about a kidnapping, using the Pope's name to scare the enemy, rescuing the hostages, and even taking down a demon guard. The scarred aide raised his glass, saying he believed him. Meanwhile, the brown-haired aide still seemed worried, thinking it was all too reckless. Going solo? Yusak put a hand on his chest, pretending to be sincere. He said there was no other option. Fighting the mages directly would have led to casualties, and as a protector of the faith, he couldn't let that happen. The scarred aide's eyes filled with admiration. You're truly a man of faith, he said. The brown-haired teammate was about to curse but got cut off. Watch your mouth, someone said, trying to calm him down. At least you're back safe. The mages were worried. Kim Yusak just smirked. Those guys worried about a simple priest like me? Then 2 mages in dark robes walked in. We came because we thought demons got you, not to be insulted, they said. Yusak crossed his arms and called them liars, accusing them of just looking for manticores. The male mage grinned and asked for cooperation, mentioning reports of a demon around. He hadn't seen one yet, but he could sense a manticore nearby. Yusak yawned, saying, Must be one of yours. Come on, how could a newbie like me take down a demon? But Halak was sure there was one here, the female mage said, looking puzzled. The brown-haired subordinate flinched at the mention. Halak? Sounds like my fourth uncle, he mused, shaking his head. Just a coincidence. Yusak got up, declaring, I'm going to rest. He walked out, ignoring the subordinate who shouted, Hey, answer me properly, you jerk. Leaving the chaos behind, Yusak made his way to a secluded wooden shack in the forest. He swung the door open. His red eyes glowed. Let's do this. The demoness, Ash, trembled on the floor. It's time. 2 days earlier, Yusak had cornered her, saying, Proof I took down the demons. He accused her of consuming the Azure apprentices. Wasn't that you? Ash was filled with dread. Someone like you couldn't defeat Raya, Yusak sneered. Bring me a head for the Holy See, or I'll take yours. Back in the present, Yusak sat on a crate, checking out his spoils. You actually brought the culprit's head. You passed. Ash shivered. You knew it was her all along. My sister. Did you think I wouldn't notice? Family energy is similar, Yusak remarked. Raya's enemy is dead. He leaned in. So, tell me about the demon hierarchy and the gods. Spill it. It's been 150 years since I self-destructed, yet the gods remain silent, Yusak mused. The seal is vacant. They should be after me. Why haven't they uncovered the truth? His grin grew wider. Another soul has taken my place. A high-ranking being, the Skeleton King, a god. Ash trembled in fear. Yes, your majesty. Yusak perched on her back. Go back to the demons. Be my eyes and ears. Outside, the knights cried tears of gratitude. Thank you, young Master Isaac. You saved us. You're truly one of the Azure, Commander Derek shouted. Yusak pretended to be humble, while Derek was deep in thought. His eyes suddenly lit up. Pack mules, that's the solution. Derek turned sharply. Young Master Isaac. Derek knelt down. First-class Knight Derek and these pack mules will follow your every command. The entire 4th Holy Knight Order bowed in perfect sync. Unexpected, Yusak thought, calculating behind his surprised expression. Excellent soldiers for free. Intel, connections, mobility. Gaining all this just by saving 11 people is quite the deal. Kim Yusak's train of thought was interrupted. He noticed a child staring at him. Derek grinned. You don't recognize him, do you, young master? You'll be in for a surprise. The kid stepped up and introduced himself. Hey, I'm Hyperius, the young prince of the Arcane Empire. Yusak froze in his tracks. What the? It suddenly clicked. So that's why the mages were all hyped up. One of their own got snagged. What a lucky break, Hyperius said with a bright smile. I thought everyone was a jerk, but you saved my life. Compared to those jerks at Sanctus Seeds who throw apprentices to their doom, you're a real hero. His eyes lit up. You're truly dedicated. Please let me repay you, big bro. Yusak grinned, a plan forming in his mind. Oh really? He teased, giving the boy's cheek a playful pinch. You think you can help me out? Meanwhile, Your Eminence, the Azure team has entered Chrysandia. A brown-haired cardinal was informed, not even glancing up from his desk. I thought the beasts would stop them. Apparently Kim Yusak went in solo. The cardinal paused, then smirked. He can't handle those beasts. Even we gave up on that. The subordinate grinned. Exactly, we've made sure they won't come back. The cardinal mused. The Azure Patriarch plans to use the mages to take them out. What if the royal family gets involved? The subordinate asked. They wouldn't dare mess with a contested area like Chrysandia. The cardinal gave a strict order. If he somehow pulls it off, make sure he never makes it back to Hela. He grinned, imagining the downfall of the Azure family. Meanwhile, in Chrysandia, Yusak was laughing like a madman. I can't wait to rub this in his face. He pushed Hyperius forward, saying, meet our secret weapon against the Holy See, the youngest prince of the Arcane Empire. His teammates looked horrified. Yusak asked, what's with the shocked faces? A brown-haired teammate shouted, you maniac, who introduces a prince from an enemy nation like that? Hyperius just laughed. Ahaha. Sorry for the surprise, he said. Is this a kidnapping? The teammate asked, suspecting the truth was even worse. Yusak gave a wicked smile. Now the Holy See is in trouble. Yusak explained, politics is all about leverage. Saving the prince means the Arcane Empire owes us big time. Hyperius called him a brilliant strategist. The teammate held his head in despair. He's lost it too. You want us to announce we saved him and came back as heroes. Keep it under wraps for now. Yusak motioned for quiet. The gold faction has definitely set traps to mess with us. Now, what if the prince falls into one of those traps? You're incredible, Hyperius shouted. I'd walk through fire for you. Yusak rubbed his hands, his red eyes gleaming with mischief. Time to mess with those gold guys. But that puts the prince in danger, his teammate argued. If he gets hurt, both the Holy Nation and the Arcane Empire will start digging. Yusak grinned, feeling victorious. Exactly. Just think about how the gold faction will react. Cardinal Barrett won't leave any trace. No worries, Yusak said with a wink. He's got people on the inside. His teammate went pale. Then he shouted, kicking off his risky move. Boom. You're spot on, big bro. Hyperius cheered, ignoring his frozen teammate. Others whispered among themselves. Has he lost it? Boom. A blonde kid dashed to the railing. What's going on? In the distance, a thick column of black smoke rose from the forest, right where the mages were camped. Kim Yusak laughed at his teammate's horrified expression. First strike wins. Those mages think they can take my mana cores? He pulled down his mask, eyes flashing, and jumped off the balcony. His brown-haired teammate yelled, calling him a lunatic. Chaos broke out at the mage camp. Supplies were wrecked. The ambush was a total success. An old mage coughed hard. Azure apprentices? They hit first? Attack those priests. A female mage shouted. Wait. Kim Yusak stepped out from the shadows with a grin. Now. He shoved Hyperius forward, and the little prince shouted. You bastards! The mages froze in shock. The crown prince? They stared, utterly confused. Your Highness, why are you with them? Come here. Kim Yusak pressed his sword to the boy's neck. If you care about this kid's life, he grinned like a madman. Hand it over. Didn't you hear me? Watching from above, a teammate whispered. God, please punish this bastard. The Joshua family was famous for their code, choosing death over dishonor, yet their descendant was laughing wildly. You wouldn't mind if his head flew off, would you? Yusak taunted. The mages were utterly bewildered. Hyperius was strong enough to take down adults. They thought he must be under control. We have to help him. Hey, descendant of Joshua, calm down, Yusak's teammate shouted, trying to intervene. An old mage stepped forward. Let's talk. Talk my ass, Yusak roared. I told you to hand everything over. A young mage reached out. Your Highness, take my hand. I'll help you. Hyperius slapped the hand away. Idiots! Why aren't you saving me? He hit the mage, pretending to be furious. You call yourselves mages of the great Arcane Empire? Useless. I command you. Yusak lifted the kid onto his shoulder, and they both yelled together. Drop everything and get out. The old mage got down on one knee, saying, You are the future of the Empire. We must comply. Feeling defeated, he gave in, saying, I'll give you everything. Just let the prince go. Manticores, manticores, manticores. Yusak's mind repeated, tuning out the dark voice telling him to chill. All right, Yusak smirked. Since you're being honest, I'll let it go. But I'm definitely reporting your scheme to the Empire. The mage began to protest, but Yusak interrupted. Hunting demons with weapons meant for priests? Are you trying to return with the prince's body? The mage spat out. Bastard. Prince Hyperius waved them off, saying, What are you waiting for? Get out of here. That night, crazed laughter filled the inn. A pile of crystals spilled all over the floor. Kim Yusak rolled around joyfully in the sea of valuable manticores. Hyperius watched, impressed. My brother really knows what's valuable. I never thought anyone from the Holy Nation would spot the worth of arcane manticores. Leaning in with excitement, he asked, What do you want as a reward? I'll make the Joshua family wealthy. Ever thought about switching sides to the Empire? Cut it out, you two maniacs, shouted their newly awakened teammate. He turned to Yusak, trying to keep a straight face. Isaac, there's something I need to tell you. Ha! Wipe the drool off your face first. Yusak muttered, still half asleep. Ignoring the jab, the teammate pressed on. Are you seriously going to tell the patriarch our fourth uncle was involved in this? Of course, Yusak replied. I need to get rid of all the competition. If you do this without proof, you're a dead man, his teammate warned. Yusak just smirked. Proof? That old mage called us Joshua's descendants. He knew who we were because we have such distinctive looks. What? Yusak kicked him. You're ugly as sin. Who looks at you and thinks of Joshua? Someone tipped off that old man. The teammate froze. No way. Unless someone from Joshua's side spilled the beans. Wake up, Yusak said, shaking him. His teammate stopped, horror slowly dawning on his face. Azure, gold, the crown, Yusak listed. They might all have been betrayed. At Sanctities, a skeptical voice echoed. What did you just say? The Azure trainees are coming back alive, a subordinate reported. And they rescued the kidnapped victims too. The brown-haired cardinal clenched his teeth. What were those mages doing? How did that brat make it out alive? Hey sir, the prince from the Arcane Empire was among those we rescued. Who are we talking about? It's young Prince Hiberius Britannia. The messenger bowed and said Isaac Joshua wants a full investigation. The cardinal was furious. So, that's the game the kid wants to play. With the prince involved, he's now looking at attempted murder charges. Another subordinate rushed in with urgency. Your Eminence, the Joshua Patriarch just showed up at Barrett. He's demanding to see his fourth son and causing a huge scene. Meanwhile, over in the capital, Kim Yusak was laughing his head off. He had successfully enraged his grandfather by framing his fourth uncle. Delicious, master. A woman knelt before him, thanking him for avenging her brother who died 14 years ago. Yusak just shrugged it off. No big deal, just a minor issue. How are the others reacting? They're reacting just like the Patriarch. Elsewhere, Lord Ghoul was yelling. That lunatic tried to kill his own nephew? And not Isaac? Relly pointed out that Isaac is also his nephew. Their hair colors are different. Just shut up. At the same time, Lord Benjamin, the financial manager, was burning the trader's inheritance papers. Everything's going back to society. Back in the square, Yusak was deep in thought. All the Joshua descendants gather for the new year. That makes me uneasy. The fourth lord is out to get you, the woman warned. No worries, I'm not planning on dying, Yusak replied with a pause. Weird. There should be chaos somewhere, but it's too quiet. They'll show up soon. A piece of paper drifted away in the breeze. Found it, Yusak exclaimed. The ground split open, revealing a glowing summoning circle. The woman gasped. A holy summoning spell! Yusak was pulled into the light and landed with a knowing smile. In a rush, are we? He teased Leon Sepet. The red-haired cardinal used a summoning spell to grab him. You promised to show me something entertaining, Yusak smirked. Looks like my little arcane prince is doing just fine. Leon clenched his teeth. He lifted the boy's chin. What were you thinking, dragging the little prince into this? Leon growled. Yusak replied nonchalantly. What's the problem? I did it to help you. Leon scoffed. Help? In a flashback, Leon admitted. I liked it at first. It was a rare opportunity to extort them. He believed the Pope and the traitor Joshua were behind it all. A wicked grin spread as he imagined using Yusak to crush both the Gold and Azure families. Enough to earn the right to challenge the 14 demons. Maybe even more. Jumping back to the present, Leon sneered. Is this how the so-called Holy Empire does interrogations? Right in front of him, little Prince Hyperius was screaming, kicking, and thrashing around. You call yourselves an empire? You act like savages, he shouted, defending his brother Isaac and bad-mouthing his captors. In Leon's memory, a paladin yelled, move aside. I'm going to kill this bastard. But Leon just thought, that kid. He set up this interrogation to scare the Gold faction. He realized Yusak's plan was to avoid the Joshua family suffering, so he handed over the stubborn prince to make the Gold faction panic. Back in the present, Leon growled at the smirking Yusak. You little punk. How dare you use us like this? The woman with the green ribbon stepped forward, weapon aimed at Leon. You think you'll get away with this, Isaac? Yusak grinned, pretending to be concerned. I'm really annoyed seeing my people in. What? The dark entity inside him mocked. You're not annoyed. You love their pain. Leon was stunned. He narrowed his eyes, a chilling thought crossing his mind. Something's off. His face twisted into a crazed grin. Nobody's ever figured that out about me. An unseen force sent the woman flying backward. She hit the ground coughing, as Leon slowly approached. Did the Azure Patriarch spill the beans? He laughed cruelly. Making an apprentice vanish is a piece of cake. If you're done playing, pay the cardinal. Sepet, Yusak said calmly. Huh. Leon swung, unleashing a wave of deadly intent. Does your family only teach quicker ways to meet your end? Run, young master! The woman shouted. Yusak stood his ground, raising a hand to effortlessly block the attack. The woman was stunned. Yusak looked up at Leon, smiling, as he held out a golden card with a rose design. Thanks, Cardinal. This is more than enough payment. Leon leaned in, his smile probing for answers. Tell me, Isaac, did you really take down that beast? Trade secret, Your Eminence, Yusak shot back. It's only natural. Your family struggles with monsters, but the Azure faith doesn't. That's why your son lost. Leon's smile turned into a mask of rage. Insolent bastard, he muttered, then stormed off. Yusak waved goodbye as the woman hurried over. Are you alright, young master? So many psychos end up as Red Clan patriarchs. Yusak pondered as he watched the enemy retreat. The girl glanced at the item in his hand, curious. What's that? A pass to Sanctus C's prison? Yusak asked, looking serious. I can use this to meet my retainers. Meanwhile, at the Golden Pentagon Oversight Committee, the crowd was buzzing with excitement. Who's getting the king title this time? Obviously the gold team. A man scoffed, sipping his wine. Red Faith already lost to Azure. Oh, here they come. The sound of footsteps filled the air. Yusak brought his team into the limelight. The Azure Faith. It's Isaac Joshua. One of the Azure teammates was screaming internally. Damn Isaac Joshua. I've nearly died so many times because of him. Smile. Yusak ordered coldly. Or else. The team forced awkward smiles as murmurs spread through the crowd. Yusak glanced back. The gold team, their eternal rivals, walked proudly into the arena. Two members shot disdainful looks. Insolent Azure lot. They were brimming with confidence, remembering how they retrieved the Empire's lost relic with help from a girl named Kina. Nearby, another team openly mocked the Azure group. Use your heads, you idiots. The moderator broke the tension, instructing everyone to stand. The Emperor himself will present the results. The grand doors swung open, welcoming the Emperor and the Crown Prince. The crowd went wild. The Emperor's presence made this year's Pentagon legendary. The gold team strutted around, thinking the Emperor was there to celebrate their treasure. As the ceremony kicked off, everyone in the arena was on edge. The white team brought back the lost books, and Kim Yusak's teammate listened closely. The red team recovered a holy sword, crafted by the genius Artie. The ancient sword sparkled, leaving everyone in awe. But the gold team just smirked, waiting for their moment. Finally, their prize was unveiled. It was a stunning royal necklace, missing for centuries. The brown-haired Azure member was stunned. It was the heirloom stolen by barbarians. No wonder the Emperor showed up. Truly astonishing, the Emperor thought. This was taken during my grandfather's reign. The gold team was all smiles. One of them mocked their rivals, saying, "That's the difference between us and you useless Azure folks." Yusak's teammates clenched their jaws. And then, the moderator announced the Azure team. They had rescued an entire squad of paladins kidnapped in crazy India. The gold team scoffed, calling it a minor achievement. But their smugness faded as the list went on. They also took down the beast that had been terrorizing our apprentices for 14 years and healed Hellas' decade-old wound. The gold team whispered that a royal treasure still held more value. But the moderator wasn't done yet. They didn't just stop there. They also rescued the crown prince of the Arcane Empire, Hyberius from Britannia, leaving the gold team in shock. The moderator then detailed the ransom demands, the return of a stolen artifact and the removal of the arcane transit tax. They agreed to our conditions. As these words echoed, Kim Yusak folded his arms with a grin. The Emperor rested a hand on his son's shoulder. The results are mind-blowing. You've brought both honor and advantage to the Empire. He spoke to the apprentices, saying royal treasures bring glory. But to him, the lives of their people are far more valuable. This declaration left the other teams in shock. The Azure members stood there, slowly realizing their victory. As the Emperor wrapped up his speech, a gold team member nervously cleared his throat, sensing the conclusion. The crowd buzzed with whispers about Azure's unprecedented achievement. A cleric remarked that saving lives truly embodied faith, surpassing material wealth. A young guy with silver hair clenches his fists tightly. There's no way Isaac didn't plan this, he mutters under his breath. He realizes it was all part of the plan. Bringing the citizens back was a masterstroke by Kim Yusak. Up on the balcony, the Emperor raises his voice. He announces the results, praising a team that overcame challenges to save lives. Yusak's teammates burst into cheers, while he keeps a mysterious smile. The Golden Pentagon is awarded. Team Azure gets ready. Later, in the quiet hallway of the Azure dorm, the clan leader walks, deep in thought. I only told him to come back alive, he muses. Isaac really pulled off the impossible. A rare smile crosses his face as he envisions the bright future the boy will bring. He places his hand on the door. The Azure clan leader approaches Kim Yusak's room, but before he can enter, a bold voice shouts from inside. Successor? Kim Yusak stands on a chair, confidently guiding his teammates. Just do this, he says, crossing his arms with a pleased grin, and Grandpa will be completely won over. He boasts that the throne is practically his, ignoring his teammates' shocked expressions. He noticed the sudden silence and turned around. Why did everyone just stop talking? Right behind him stood the clan head, his voice as cold as ice. Isaac, it looks like regular discipline isn't going to cut it. Kim Yusak started sweating bullets. A scream pierced the air, followed by the sound of divine retribution. Later, fuming in his room, Kim Yusak yelled, "What did I do wrong?" The dark entity next to him said, "You said those things right in front of him?" Kim Yusak clenched his teeth, but then his eyes lit up with an idea. There's a way. Spotting a silver-haired man outside, Kim Yusak dashed out. "Uncle?" He hugged the man tightly, looking up with tears in his eyes. "Isaac?" The uncle was confused, then his expression turned deadly. "Who made you cry?" "I'll deal with him. I think Grandpa hates me," Kim Yusak sobbed. "Maybe I should just leave this house." Raya knelt down in a panic. "What happened?" Kim Yusak whimpered that he was being sent home just for asking for wine. Raya was shocked, painfully reminded of losing his brother 10 years ago. Determined to protect his only nephew, he gently held the boy's face, not noticing Kim Yusak's irritation. Kim Yusak lamented his shattered dream of becoming a priest and taking down the Skeleton King alongside his uncle. Raya totally fell for the trap. "Don't worry, Isaac. I'll handle everything," his uncle assured him. Raya pounded his chest, saying, "Forget the Pentagon, it's a piece of cake." Raya stormed off, determined to demand justice. Kim Yusak watched him leave with a smug grin. The following day at Sanctus Sada's prison, the guard captain blocked the entrance, saying, "You have to wait 14 days. Kim Yusak just enjoyed the power of the token he held, thinking, "Planning to let me see them after their heads have rolled? No. But 1 week, the captain insisted, clearly panicking. 10 days. 5. Please. 3. Kim Yusak pretended to leave. "Tomorrow. No sooner?" the captain yelled. "Good. That'll work," Kim Yusak said, patting the captain on the shoulder. The dark entity asked, "Weren't you here to meet them now?" Kim Yusak smirked. "Tomorrow's better." The host announced the final Pentagon test. Mission, defeat a few monsters. His teammates erupted in cheers, but Kim Yusak felt embarrassed. "Easy as pie," a teammate shouted, thinking Kim Yusak had some inside help. Kim Yusak just stood there, his face darkening at how absurd this all was. In the arena, The monsters were just two skinny skeletons. Out of nowhere, the skeletons got super hyped, realizing, "It's our king!" Cheers erupted. "The king's here to save us!" Kim Yasak froze, fracture aside. Cold sweat dripped as the irony hit him hard. From the stands, Relai gave a thumbs up, clueless that he'd just thrown his nephew into a nightmare. Memories rushed back. Skeletons were weak, foolish, the bottom tier of the demon world, summoned by clerics and nobles just for slaughter and laughs. Even worse were his own memories. Dying and coming back over and over, stuck at level 1. Rage exploded. Through Yasak's eyes, the skeleton king roared. "You dare summon these souls before me? Our king is here!" The skeletons cheered. His teammates joined the celebration, but Yasak froze at the spell he needed. Turn undead. Rage flared. "I've died 1,000,000 times to that. You want me to use it on these kids?" But ignoring his turmoil, the skeletons rushed to hug their king, crushing him under their weight. "Isaac!" Two teammates ran over, worried. "So heavy," Yasak wheezed. "Are they attacking him?" One teammate wondered. "Nah, seems like they're celebrating." Yasak was in a panic, thinking, "I need to be cautious. I'll just drain their mana." But the operator crushed his plan. "You have to use turn undead to turn them into dust." Feeling trapped, Yasak cursed the priests under his breath. In the stands, a smug knight cheered, clueless that he just pushed the boy into a nightmare. The crowd buzzed about how this was the easiest test ever, which only deepened Yasak's despair. He ran around frantically, helpless against his own dancing subordinates. Finally, he made up his mind. "I'll go with a basic attack. Sorry, my children, but it's better than the alternative." The skeletons watched him eagerly, waiting. Yasak gathered his holy power, but then froze. He knelt down, whispering, "I can't." His teammates were shocked. "Why can't you do something so simple?" they asked. "I can't." Yasak trembled, and the skeletons, confused, tilted their heads. Losing his grip on reality, Yasak shouted, "I'm human now, not a skeleton. Fire will hurt me." The knights in the stands frowned. "What did he say? Human, not a..." Realizing his slip-up, Yasak froze as speculation spread like wildfire. "Is he seeing those skeletons as humans?" one asked. "Maybe he wants to save those demonized souls." Seeing an opportunity, Yasak put on his best saintly face, showering the Azure family with praise. His teammate Turilin was baffled, holding his head. "These guys are nuts. He'd never do something so selfless." Running out of patience, Turilin charged ahead. "Step aside, Isaac. Let me handle this." "Stop!" Yasak shouted, landing a powerful punch that floored his teammate. Clenching his teeth, he declared, "I won't let them perish through turn undead." A fierce ball of holy energy formed in his hand. The energy exploded, and turn undead bathed the arena in a blinding light. Yasak struggled to control it. "I'll use it, but I'll keep them safe." The crowd was in awe. "I've never seen turn undead used like this." Inside the arena, the skeletons reached for the light, mesmerized. "No idea what it is, but it's stunning." Amidst the chaos, Yasak shouted into the void, "Shadow Lich, protect the children." A massive shadow emerged, wrapping the skeletons in darkness to shield them from the holy light. In the stands, shock turned to confusion. "What on earth is that?" Yasak flashed a sly grin. An Azure team member collapsed in disbelief, realizing Yasak had taken them all out in one move. The paladins were celebrating, thinking the boy had hit bishop rank. But Yasak was fuming, determined to take down the corrupt clerics. Meanwhile, the Azure clan was pondering the Red Cardinal's scheme to trick Yasak into summoning an evil god. If only he'd summon a mid-tier god, he muttered to himself. He warned Goel and Rylai that the god who picked Kim Yasak was even worse than any evil god. This revelation left them both speechless. Goel anxiously asked if Kim Yasak would summon a disaster-level god. The clan had buried his face in his hands, but then pulled himself together. "Our top priority is to bring Kim Yasak back for re-education." Suddenly, a messenger rushed in. "Clan leader, I've returned from meeting young Master Isaac. He's heading to Sanctius prison." All three of them jumped up. Rylai stammered, "How can he get into the Red Faith's prison?" When they heard the Red Cardinal had given Isaac a token, the Azure clan leader clenched his fist. "Damn it!" His eyes flared red, scaring Goel and Rylai. He shouted, "Does he think I can't counter those cheap tricks? We're heading to Sanctius prison." Meanwhile, Kim Jae-sok and his shadowy companion trudged toward the prison, looking worn out. Jae-sok shivered from the cold. "I had to use that gross undead transformation spell, but hey, it worked." He held up a rope, eyes gleaming with determination. "I did all this for the reward. It dispels dark aura," he thought with a smirk. "It'll hide my magic when we go in. No one around, right?" The dark entity confirmed it was clear. Jae-sok snaps his fingers, then appear. An army of skeletons rose, cheering at the sight of him. But Jae-sok coldly pointed at the Shadow Lich. "Send them back." The skeletons froze, shocked. They clung to his cloak, pleading. Jae-sok shouted, "You'll be exposed if you stay here." He ordered the entity to make sure his minions got home safely. Once silence returned, he turned back. "Now let's head inside." Suddenly, he stopped. Something was clinging to his chest. A tiny skeleton. Jae-sok cursed under his breath. Its magic was too faint to notice. A squad of guards showed up. "Isaac Joshua, it's time." Jae-sok went pale. "After everything, this little one will be doomed if caught." He tucked the stowaway deep into his cloak. "Hold on tight. Don't peek out." The massive gate creaked open, and Jae-sok walked in with a confident grin. In his mind, he reviewed the details. A level 9 demon locked away for half a century. A true demon of pure blood who had once bowed to clerics to protect the Skeleton King's remains. Jae-sok's gaze intensified. "So, it's really you, Bloodlord Shabnak." The dark figure used binoculars to scout, yet still couldn't spot the target. Jae-sok frowned, clearly annoyed. A white-haired guard captain approached, saying, "You should be thankful for this chance." "Yeah, whatever. Move along," Jae-sok retorted, flashing his ID. Another guard stepped up, suspicious. "We need to search you." He reached out to Jae-sok. Jae-sok's eyes glowed red. "Touch me and you're dead." The guards froze, immobilized by his deadly aura. "This power," one guard gasped. "I can't move. Touching me means war with the Joshua family," Jae-sok shouted, pretending to be insane. He threatened to bite his tongue and end it all. "Think my uncle will just let this go?" Behind him, the terrifying aura of Man Bilao loomed. The guards, terrified, whispered among themselves. Finally, the captain relented. "Let him through. He has the token." "Understood. Follow me," the guard said, bowing. "Should have done that sooner," Jae-sok mumbled to himself. They walked down the chilly prison hallway, stopping in front of a massive door. "We're here," the guard announced. "Beyond this door is the demon. Be careful, its dark aura might stop your heart. Just open it." The heavy iron door creaked open, sending a shiver through the air. Instantly, a whirlwind of dark energy burst out, leaving the guards and Kim Yasak stunned. Behind the bar stood Shabnak, a giant with countless glowing yellow eyes, roaring as his chains clattered. "What's up with him? He was quiet until now," one guard said, panicking. The demon's magical pressure made the air feel like lead. The dark-haired guard pointed out. "See? His power is terrifying. You should leave now," he advised. But Kim Yasak, instead of being scared, grinned. "You bastard, you're still as tempting as ever," he said, smiling in the face of the dark aura. "This guy is nuts," the guards thought, looking at him in disbelief. Kim realized. "He thinks the clerics forced me here." Next to him, the dark entity was freaking out. Shabnak roared in anger, triggered by a painful memory of his master being forced to kneel. "How dare you make my master bow?" Shabnak let out a roar that could shake the earth. "Get more men! We can't let him die before execution day," the captain ordered. Kim saw his chance, but all eyes were still on him. "I need a better moment," he thought. Suddenly, the chains lit up with holy power, burning Shabnak's skin. "Damn, it's the Pope's power. He'll die before I can rescue him." Kim hesitated. "If I use magic now, they'll notice." A tiny skeleton quietly peeked out from his cloak. "Master, let me talk to him," it said. "You clever little guy," Kim thought. Kim mentally commanded. "Go give him the stone to break the chains." The boy nervously clenched his fists, while the white-haired guard misread the situation. "I really respect the Red family," he said. Kim just smiled mysteriously. "No." Then his demeanor changed, eyes sparkling. "I'm stalling for time. The Red family is the best." Meanwhile, the skeleton dashed toward the cell, holding the crystal tightly. Kim kept up his act. "I almost wet myself seeing that demon, but you handled it well," he said. "In our household, you'd be knight commanders." The guards looked confused. Kim lowered his voice, pretending to share a secret. "I'm here on the clan leader's orders. It's an internal test. My mission is to wound a powerful demon." The guards were left speechless. Who in their right mind would give such a task to a kid? Meanwhile, a tiny skeleton gave Shabnak a high five. The guard just shrugged, thinking, "That family's always been nuts." Mission accomplished. Kim boldly grabbed the blushing guard's hand and asked if he wanted to join the Azure family. "Are you recruiting us?" Suddenly, Kim staggered, holding his head. "Maybe this mission's too much for me." The guards hurried to help him. "You shouldn't have done this. Let us take you home." From the shadows of the cell, Shabnak whispered, "Thank you, my lord." As they led him away, Kim flashed a triumphant smile. "My king, we're almost there." "You can do it," the captain encouraged. But just as they stepped outside, a voice called out, "Wait." A red-haired cleric blocked their way. "You must pass a test before leaving. Let us see the token you carry." Kim froze. "The one the cardinal gave me?" The cleric sneered. "That token tests your faith. Do you think he gave it to you for no reason? Does it change color?" Kim asked, trying to sound calm, but inside he was freaking out that it might have turned pitch black. Next to him, the shadowy figure let out a sharp breath. Sweat trickled down the boy's neck as he worried about being found out. "Hand over the token," the cleric demanded. Kim refused. "Why? Scared it turned red?" the cleric taunted. "Get lost. It hasn't changed." Kim snapped back, yelling, "You're just going to take it and blame me for losing it, right? You're planning to steal it and pin it on me to take our money." The guards were left speechless, as Kim Yasak pressed on. "This is your turf. How can I trust you?" The red-haired cleric was furious, feeling deeply insulted. Man, how dare you question my family's honor?" He clenched his teeth, veins bulging in his fist. "Fine. I don't need your token." Feeling trapped, the cleric unleashed a terrifying burst of energy, leaving both Kim Yasak and the dark figure stunned. A massive statue appeared behind him. "There's a better way," the cleric said with a crazed grin. "The judgment altar. A sacred relic to test one's faith." Kim Yasak turned pale. "A judgment altar of destiny? To hunt down heretics and demons?" He couldn't wrap his head around his opponent's recklessness. Seriously, is this guy nuts? Using that against another noble? The cleric chuckled with delight. "If you truly believe, the goddess will cry. But if you're a heretic, she'll be shocked." The guards mocked Kim Yasak. "Go on, prove you're innocent. Why should I play along with your nonsense?" Yasak shot back, ice in his voice. "Unless you want to be disowned, step up." "Shut it." Yasak stood his ground. "Do you really think my family will just let this go?" Before he could finish, someone grabbed him from behind. "Hey!" Yasak got dragged forward and forced down on his knees in front of the stone figure. A beam of light pinned him in place. "Don't worry," the cleric whispered with a creepy grin. "It'll be over soon." I can't move, Yasak realized, panic setting in. I can't even run. The cleric spread his arms wide. Open your eyes, statue. He was ready to claim victory, but instead, a dark red tear slid down the statue's cheek. The cleric froze. Blood tears? That's only supposed to happen for cardinals. He stared in disbelief. No way. There's no chance he has faith. Yasak was just as shocked until the dark entity's voice pierced his mind, telling him to hide his emotions. It had figured out the truth. The altar wasn't measuring the boy's faith in the goddess. Instead, it was gauging the tiny skeleton's unwavering loyalty to its king. The guards started feeling uneasy, whispering among themselves about the potential wrath of the Aza family. The cleric, shaking with anger, turned on Yasak, demanding to know what he'd done. Yasak quickly played the victim, saying his family would hear about this. Suddenly, the statue's eyes lit up with a menacing red glow. The dark entity yelled for them to leave. Dark energy burst forth as the statue's eyes slowly opened. A shadowy hand pushed Yasak away, just in time to save him from the explosion. Too close, the entity scolded. You should have let the skeleton be the last to leave, Yasak muttered, his heart racing. Completely misunderstanding the situation, the cleric pointed frantically at the statue, asking if they saw it. The goddess had opened her eyes. The guards looked confused. They hadn't seen anything. You scared the hell out of me, Yasak thought, while the shadow entity realized the illusion was visible only to its target. As the guards started questioning their judgment, the priests began to panic. Yasak watched like he was just catching a movie. Oh, so the altar's having second thoughts? Better get back inside, he said. The priest shouted, clearly desperate. Trying to rig the results, huh? Yasak shot back. He gave a little pat to the small skeleton tucked under his cloak. Nice job, kiddo. He threw a mocking smile at the priest. Pathetic, the priest snapped. Get up there while I'm still being nice. He lunged for Yasak, but a strong hand stopped him midair. The Azure family patriarch was there, eyes sharp as ever. I figured something like this might happen, he said, tightening his grip on the guy who dared to touch his nephew. Are you nuts, kid? Bilal Joshua jumped in. Things will go south if Dad hurts that kid. Kim Yasak seized the moment, tugging on his uncle's sleeve, and faked a whimper. Uncle, Nizer hit me. The Azure patriarch lost it. You wanna die, you bastard? He crossed his arms. I'll have a word with the Red Cardinal. I'll handle the complaint, Bilal Joshua replied, staying cool. He's just pretending, Bilal added, kicking the guy on the ground, even as a young man tried to stop him, looking panicked. That idiot's really in for it, shouted a brown-haired guy nearby. Kim Yasak, munching on popcorn, sat close by. Let's head home, the brown-haired guy insisted. Staying here will just make things worse, Yasak replied. What? Like some kind of heresy trial? Yeah, I've already been through one, Yasak said, turning to his uncle. Nizer dragged out this creepy statue and made me kneel before it. Patriarch Azure and Bilal were on edge. So you're about to get burned at the stake, the brown-haired guy whispered, clearly panicked. Yasak just smirked. Are you serious? Bilal growled. You'll pay for this. The priest quickly stepped in. Listen, Bilal, we tested him. Young Master Isaac passed with flying colors. Patriarch Azure hesitated for a moment. Cardinal Leon Sepit showed up with a smug grin. I've never seen such beautiful blood tears. I heard some noise. Didn't expect it to be you, Patriarch Azure, he said. Azure pointed a finger at him. You bastard! How dare you challenge my nephew? Leon remained unfazed. His interest in meeting a servant of the Skeleton King is suspicious. I think it's completely justified. Azure roared at the shocked priests. Your third son used the judgment of faith on Isaac. He turned back to Leon and asked, You really want to start a war? Leon froze on the spot. Realizing he was trapped, Leon crossed his arms and said, All right, I apologize. You'll get compensated. Just give back the token I gave you. Sure thing. I don't want it for another second, Azure replied ice cold. He turned away, muttering to himself. Giving Isaac something so ridiculous. Your nephew asked for it himself, Leon shouted back. Out of earshot, Azure thought. Those bastards used the judgment altar on him. A triumphant grin appeared. And he actually made the statue cry blood. Azure handed the token to Yizak, saying, Sorry for doubting your faith. If the statue really cried blood, this token would definitely. The token morphed into a dark, ghostly card. An illusion flickered, showing Yizak crucified, screaming in despair, before the token shattered. Leon Sepet reappeared with a mocking grin. Suddenly, an invisible force sent Azure flying. Leon grinned as the ancient token shattered into pieces. What did you just do? You destroyed the first Pope's token, he said. Azure roared, standing up with fiery eyes. I have nothing left to give you back, you bastard. At the Sepet estate, word spread about the statue's blood tears. Leon Sepet rubbed his forehead in frustration. By accident, he turned Kim Yizak into the top saint candidate. Are you really going to challenge him again after everyone saw what happened? Leon snapped. Leon Sepet jumped up, pointing at the trembling young man nearby. Are you trying to wreck your own reputation? You're supposed to be the future patriarch, yet you can't even handle this. The young man turned pale, sweating bullets. Don't you get it? Only by becoming Pope can we survive. Neon started ranting, but Leon cut him off. Enough. This is a hassle. We've lost the token to measure faith, but it's not a big deal. Leon smiled slyly. This sacrificial ceremony is our chance. No, I swear I saw it. The red-haired youth yelled, still haunted by the illusion. He turned to his father. Dad, is the participant list set in stone? Leon announced coldly that Kim Yizak and the Azure team were on the list. No, the young man begged. Let me join as Isaac's servant. Leon Sepet, with an average demeanor, was strongly against it. Are you out of your mind? He shouted. Why would a red-haired person do something so degrading? The young man stood his ground. If there's no proof, we have to find it ourselves. Leon totally crushed it, breaking the impossible. But guess what? Someone else stepped up. Ken is gonna be his servant now. The son was left speechless, completely floored by the news. Meanwhile, Kenna was getting ready for her new gig, while the Joshua family head sat in his mansion, grinning like he had a secret. A family member asked if that's why he broke it. The patriarch spilled the beans about setting up another test of faith for Kim Yizak, blaming the whole blood tear incident on Yizak's recent run-in with a woman named Melissa. And oh yeah, he confessed to swiping the testing device from the Red family. At least we don't have to stress about some evil god picking him. One of them sighed, saying, "He is an evil god. Isn't that worse?" Another chimed in. High scores bring gods to the ceremony, and the Red Cardinal's definitely waiting for that. Joshua clenched his jaw, reading a taunting message from the Black Cardinal. He glanced over at Goel. "Tell Shuri he's gonna be Yizak's servant." They couldn't risk Yizak summoning a god. On the day of the Colosseum ceremony, the halls were filled with shouting. Shuri was losing it, clutching his head in despair as the red-haired heir and Kenna went at each other, both fighting for the servant spot. Kim Yizak stood there, coldly thinking how easy it would be to crush their skulls. Next to him, a shadowy figure grumbled about flatterers and unveiled the sacrifice, which was a massive demon in chains. Both of them shouted, claiming to be the servant. Shuri roared, threatening violence to restore order. He tried to calm Yizak, but got a chilling response instead. "That's the day my servant will be freed," Yizak said, leaving Shuri frozen. Maybe the rumors about Yizak being an evil god were true. Shuri grabbed his shoulder, questioning why everyone was so eager to serve him. Kenna was looking for training. The Red Heir said it was their duty. "Stop fighting," Yizak snapped. "I don't need any of you." He pointed at Shuri, saying, "You, the coat rack." Shuri was furious. "Damn it, why me?" The Colosseum was buzzing. Priests were debating about the new saint as candidates in pristine white robes filed in. "It's Lady Kenna," a young noble exclaimed. "It's my first time seeing her." Cardinal Leon's faction scoffed at the idea of her being a saint candidate. "The prophecy says the saint comes from the Red family," a red priest shouted. Arguments about the holy mark broke out until a shout silenced everyone. "The priests are here." Kim Yizak stepped out from the shadows. Following him were Kenna and the others. The red-haired heir looks tense, clearly under pressure. Suddenly, the crowd gasps in shock. Yizak is riding on the red-haired guy's back, while Kenna shields him from the sun with a leaf. Shuri follows behind, smirking to himself. He thinks, "This guy's definitely picking the most brutal evil god, cause he totally fits the bill." The stands go completely silent. Leon lets out a furious roar, watching his kin get humiliated in front of everyone. The Azure Patriarch frowns, but White Cardinal Seraphine finds the whole scene hilarious. She turns to the Gold Cardinal, teasing, "Didn't expect Nazer and Kenna to pull that stunt. I thought you were tough on your kid. You don't seem to mind, do you?" The Gold Cardinal watches Kenna, his eyes filled with ambition. "Being a servant is just a step to becoming Pope. No way I'm letting Yizak take that spot." If everything goes as planned, Yizak is strong enough to pick the most powerful gods. Kenna sticking by him is a genius move. Seraphine taunts, "Why so quiet, Gold faction? Plotting something again?" "Nothing," the Gold Cardinal replies coolly. "Just making Kenna Pope." A Red Cardinal interrupts. "Anyway, Yizak's not picking a deity today." He smirked, realizing he had forgotten to put his name on the summoning list for part 2, so he just added it himself. Gold Cardinal and the Azure Patriarch were stunned. The Red Cardinal chimed in, eager to see which evil god would be summoned. Gold Cardinal shouted, calling him a madman. Down in the arena, a man declared that the execution was about to begin. Crimson energy erupted at the center of the stage. As the smoke settled, a massive figure emerged, shackled in chains. "It's a great demon!" The audience shouted in panic. The creature let out a roar, releasing a wave of dark energy that swept over the arena. "It's that strong even while chained?" a girl in the crowd exclaimed. Shuri, Kenna, and the red-haired boy were in disbelief. If this was just a subordinate, how powerful was the skeleton? The demon thrashed around, its power threatening to rip the fabric of space. Yizak held onto the ribbon tightly, whispering a name he knew well. "Shavnak," he said, eyes filled with determination. "I will save you. Thanks for watching, catch you later. Bye."